So welcome to your full e-commerce Google Ads course. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to scale an e-commerce brand using Google Ads and YouTube Ads from zero all the way up to where we're spending $300,000 per month for some of our clients here at Demand Capture. By the end of the video, you'll go from knowing absolutely nothing about Google Ads for e-commerce, or maybe you just know like the basics of Google Ads, but you don't know how to apply it properly to a highly scaling top of funnel, cold traffic e-commerce store. So it'll take you from there all the way to someone who can get to 7 and even 8 figures per year with Google Ads, like we've done for some of our clients. Like I said, it's not gonna be like full basics. We're just gonna go straight into mindset, what you need to know, a few things about KPIs, but more of an advanced way of understanding it when it comes to e-commerce, which is kind of what you really need to know, which isn't taught on YouTube from like the basic guys. And then we get into exactly what you need to run any advertising, let alone it being Google, your offer, your unit economics, the funnel structure, that type of stuff. We get into how to leverage AI to write your Google Ads for you, so you get 8+% click-through rates. We also cover conversion tracking, really simple setup for that. Then we actually get into the campaigns themselves. We cover search, we cover shopping, both branded and non-branded. We also cover PMAX and YouTube right at the end, which is like the big player, which is our specialty here at Demand Capture. So it's about 4 hours long. It could have been 8 hours, but that would have just been a massive amount of fluffs and just kind of like really taking our time to show you how to set up all the campaigns and stuff. But if you really just want results, and you only got 4 hours to kill, or you have like an hour here, hour there, just bookmark this video, like it, come back to it, go section by section because there's timestamps in the description as well, and you'll be able to go to the part which is relevant to where you are in terms of setting up your Google Ads, or if you already do have Google Ads set up, but they're not quite getting the sales that you want them to, and you just want a systematic checklist to go through to make sure that your Google Ads for your store are set up correctly, then this video is for you. So sit back, relax, enjoy it. By the end of this video, you'll be an expert in Google Ads for e-commerce, and I hope to see your store scaling from 7 figures, 8 figures, even 9 figures per year, with Google being one of your major traffic sources for that, like it is for our clients.
So before we cover anything to do with keyword research, before we cover anything to do with conversion tracking, copy, or any of the specific campaign stuff, we first need to cover some of the fundamentals that comes with e-commerce Google Ads. None of the rest of this free course is going to matter unless you understand all of the stuff I'm going to cover in this first section. Think of this more as like a mindset you need going into running Google Ads for your e-commerce brand. And the hot take of it really is this: Google Ads isn't some magic bullet which will fix bad marketing and save your brand. If you're struggling to scale your brand, it's not because you aren't running Google Ads. I don't want you to go through this and think, oh, Google Ads is going to be the magic fix which is going to scale my brand and acquire all these new customers. Like, yes, it can help you achieve that, but it is for those brands who already have their marketing dialed in, they have product market fit, they have customers or people that are out there who are already searching for all their products, and they just need to put their ad in front of the demand that's already there, capture that demand, and then convert that into new customers away from your competitors. If you don't have product market fit, if you don't have an angle, if you don't have a proven product, an angle, and messaging for your brand, go back to Meta, refine your offer, test your offer there, and ensure your marketing messaging is converting before you even think about scaling with Google. You can get your basic Google stuff set up, and this course will teach you how to do that. But if you're looking to scale on Google, then you need to have everything else dialed in from the conversion side of things. You can have the best ads, the best click-through rate, the best search intent. You could be bidding on keywords that none of your competitors have found. But if your page isn't converting because it isn't resonating with the audience that you are looking to target for, then it's just going to be wasted ad spend. That said, if you have an already winning offer and you want to take things to the next level, which means more customers, more market share, more domination, more revenue, and ultimately a high value exit for your brand, then this guide is for you. And Google Ads is just one part of the larger marketing ecosystem you need to be building within your e-commerce brand. Think about it like this. It's not about, is Google Ads better than Meta Ads? Is it better than Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, organic, whatever? It's about how you apply basic fundamental marketing principles to the Google channel specifically. So it's understanding marketing as a whole and then the channel of Google as a whole, combining those two and maximizing your marketing efficiency ratio. So how much money you're putting into marketing versus how much you're getting out. And at the end of the day, that's the only metric that matters. That's what this course is about. That's what Ecom Google Ads is about. That's how you should be thinking about it. Anyone else who tells you otherwise, where they get so fixated on the campaign structure and the keywords and the copy and this new thing, like that doesn't matter. It really is about combining branded direct response principles and marketing principles for any brand, any business, specifically ecom, to the Google Ads channel. So with that in mind, here's how Google Ads fits into your overall marketing strategy. The way to think about it is that you need to think of Google as 4 ad platforms in one. So you've got the traditional search ads, which most people think is all that Google has to offer, but it really is just like 1/4 of the Google marketing channel, where it captures high intent traffic looking for solutions to problems that they're already facing. So they could be searching stuff on the product level, so they're searching strictly for the product. That's really easy to get conversions from and where most of your marketing will start on Google. You can go further down into branded search terms. People are looking for reviews, your brand specifically, that type of stuff. Or you can move to the more unaware side of the audience awareness level, where they're searching for solutions that your product solves. So it's not directly to the product, they're just more problem aware. And search ads is really good for covering that spectrum of the audience awareness levels that you have. Then there's shopping ads, which is actually 60 to 80% of all e-commerce Google ads. Most brands don't run shopping ads correctly, but they are the best ads and the highest converting ads that you can have on the Google channel because it shows your products directly in Google search results and it gives the customers all the information they would need to make an informed decision. The click-through rate is higher, the buying intent is higher, they get to see the image, the product title, the pricing, the offer, the reviews, all in one thing. And if you're able to get the first prime position and stand out compared to your competitors, which we'll get into in a second, then it makes it really easy to get people who are searching for that product in the first place just to click on the shopping ad, buy it 2 minutes later, and you now have a new customer completely from cold. So there's search, there's shopping, then there's YouTube ads. And it's not just YouTube ads that show up right at the start of like a desktop horizontal video. You also have YouTube Shorts as well, where it leverages direct response via video, similar to an Instagram placement or a Facebook placement, to drive the initial top of funnel search volume, but then also sales in its own right. And then finally, you have display ads, which is used for remarketing, but you can also use display for cold traffic expansion at scale. This is like you're already spending a lot of money on Google already. You really want to tap out your account structure and you want to fully build it out. This is where display comes in. And for 90% of you who are watching this video, you should only focus on search, shopping, and then YouTube. Display only really comes relevant when you're spending tens of thousands per day and you need more reach. Until then, just stick to the core free. So the formula for scaling on Google is this. Your marketing boils down to your marketing message times the volume that you're sending out, so the amount of traffic that you're pushing, that equals growth. If you have a bad marketing message, scaling won't save you. Spending more money on ads won't save you if the message isn't resonating with the market. If you have a great message, but then low volume, you're not spending enough and your growth will be capped there. Google Ads allows you to scale both reach and intent-driven conversions efficiently if used correctly, if you combine those two. And this guide and this course isn't for someone looking for a magic hack to fix their brand, as I said at the start. If you're struggling to scale your brand, I can't save you. But what I'm going to cover in this section and for the rest of the course is for those who already have a proven product market fit, they have a converting offer and they want to scale faster, better, more profitably, more revenue, more cold customers, dominate their competitors and acquire as many customers as possible for their product. The goal really here for this whole course is to make Google Ads work as a dominant acquisition channel in your marketing ecosystem for your e-commerce brand. And with that in mind, the first Google Ads basic, which you need to understand when it comes to running Google Ads for your e-commerce brand, is that it's a comparative shopping platform. Google works differently from Meta, TikTok, or any other social media ads. When people search on Google, they see your product next to your competitors' products. This means that what makes you stand out on Google isn't your ad per se, but it's everything that goes into the ad. So it's the pricing and promotions, your offer, which is discounts, free shipping, reviews, deals to attract buyers. It's high quality images, so it's crisp, professional photos that make people click, whether it be the actual product itself, custom assets, lifestyle pictures, branding assets, all that type of stuff. Then there's matching the ad copy with the search intent. So your ad copy should fit exactly to what people are searching for, which we'll get into in the keyword research section. And then finally, it's about fast, simple landing pages. So you can have the best ads, but that's only to drive the click. The ad doesn't do the selling. The ad just drives the click. The landing page and your website does the selling. So the fewer steps there is to buy, the better. The better the funnel, the more conversions, and the better your ads will work. The biggest mistake that brand owners make when it comes to running Google Ads for their brand is treating Google like Meta. They get their Meta guy or they get their full stack agency or their Google guy to run it on 2019, 2018 principles, thinking it's all just search. And if you find the right keywords and if you say this magic word or you do this little targeting trick here, that's what's going to make Google Ads work. But treating Google like Meta is the biggest mistake that you can make when running Google Ads for your brand. Google is about answering a shopper's question, not forcing an ad into their feed mostly. You do that on YouTube and display, but with search and shopping, it's much more of an intimate understanding of the customer's journey and how people buy using search intent. Google isn't better than Meta, it's just a different ad platform. And if you don't adapt how you market your brand on Google, you'll just get crushed by your competitors who understand how to leverage Google's comparative nature. And in the following sections, I'm going to show you how to win on Google by using what actually matters, which is your pricing, your offer, your product, your search intent, and your product feed structure. Another thing you need to understand when it comes to Google Ads for e-com in particular is that you need to be able to capture the demand that you're already generating from the rest of your marketing. So if you run Meta ads, but you don't run Google ads, you are paying to create demand, and then you're letting your competitors capture the sale on Google side. So here's what happens. People see your Meta ad, so that creates product level awareness in them. Then later, they don't buy from your initial ad, they search for it on Google, but then they buy from a competitor. So you paid for that traffic, but then your competitor got the sale. How does that work? It doesn't, and you're basically wasting all of your Meta ad budget, but you're not capturing that on the other end because you've got a leaky pipe in your marketing by not having Google, which is where most buying journeys continue or start. So the solution to this is to run Google Ads alongside Meta so you don't lose customers who are already looking for your product. You already catch people who aren't on Facebook, aren't on Instagram, but they're looking for stuff on Google. But if they are on Facebook, they see a Facebook ad, then they go to Google, search for that product, or they search for your brand, and you're not there, the competitor is, they were going to buy anyway. You just need to make sure they're buying from you, who generated that demand and channeled that demand that was already in them to buy. Otherwise, your competitors are going to get that sale. Another thing you need to understand is that people start their shopping journey on Google, not just on Meta. Not everyone finds products through ads. Many people start searching for something that they want, either through a friend telling them about a product, so they Google it, or they see it on TikTok organic, where there's no TikTok shop feed there, so they go to Google to compare different options, or they go on Amazon for that. They look for a product because they're facing a problem and they're looking for a solution for it, where they Google the best product for their need. And if done right, Google Ads should make up around 20 to 30% of your e-commerce revenue. If you look at your Shopify dashboard, your Triple Whale, your North Beam, whatever, and you don't see your Google being at least 20 to 30% of your total revenue, then there's a lot of room that you can utilize Google for your marketing. And if you don't run Google Ads, competitors, Amazons, or resellers will steal those sales that you're generating from Meta in the first place. And lastly, people want to buy direct from brands nowadays. Amazon isn't what it used to be. Customers want to buy directly from brands because people are losing trust in Amazon. There's low quality resellers. Most shoppers want to buy directly from brands for better customer service, authentic products, and exclusive deals and perks. And if you aren't running Google Ads, people are searching for your product might end up buying from Amazon instead, buying from a competitor. So running Google Ads ensures that customers buy from you, not anyone else. Hope that makes sense. Next, it's about understanding where Google Ads sits in the e-commerce paid acquisition system for 2025. Google Ads is different from Meta and TikTok because it captures people already looking for a solution, already looking for that product. So instead of interrupting people, Google answers their search intent. Meta and TikTok creates the demand, Google then captures that demand, but it also can create demand, which we'll get into later in the course. And then you have your email, SMS, aftercart, back-end stuff to retain the customers to buy again and increase their lifetime value, making your cost to acquire a customer more efficient. Google isn't just like an extra channel you can just add on. It really is the complementary piece to all of your marketing that turns your traffic into customers. And if you don't have Google Ads right, then you'll find that all of your marketing efforts kind of just fall at the wayside. They aren't as efficient as they could be unless Google is set up correctly to be able to complement the rest of your marketing system for your e-com brand. So what is the best way to set up Google Ads then? The best way we found after scaling numerous brands on Google Ads is using the cold customer magnet. So a great Google Ads strategy follows how customers actually purchase stuff from the internet, from complete discovery of the product to purchasing it. And you can think of it in a traditional top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel structure, where top of funnel, you're getting their attention and you're generating that demand. So this is done in Google via YouTube ads, non-brand search ads, display ads. And the goal here is to find new people who might be interested in your product. The second stage is middle of funnel, where you help them decide and you're capturing the demand that's already been generated. The demand is there, you just need to put your ad in front of them so they buy from you instead of anyone else. This is done through Performance Max. So you show your product across Google's ecosystem, done through shopping ads, so it appears at the top of the Google search, above the search ads, above the organic stuff, which is again why most of the revenue generated in e-com in Google Ads is done through shopping. And then you also do this through dynamic search ads, which automatically target searches related to your product. And the goal here is to make sure your product is visible when people are looking for that product in the first place. And then lastly, you've got bottom of funnel. So this is about conversion, and this is just converting the demand that's already there and expanding your profit. We have branded search campaigns, branded shopping campaigns, and dynamic retargeting set up within the Google Merchant Center. And here the goal is to convert high intent visitors into buyers and maximizing revenue. If you're missing one of these steps, you're losing money essentially. And here's just a quick visual to be able to understand that more. So at the top, you've got demand gen, which is about YouTube Shorts, YouTube InStream, and Google Display. That then leads itself to landing pages, which contain advertorials, listicles, VSLs, quiz funnels. And that's all just at the top of funnel stuff. Middle of funnel, you've got cold search, so prospecting search, Performance Max, which is search, shopping, discovery, and display. And then you've got prospecting shopping there as well. That all then leads to the product page, where they can add to cart and go to the sale. If they fall off the add to cart, then they get dynamically retargeted back to the homepage or the product page. And if they already are aware of your brand, branded search and branded shopping takes them to the homepage, or which they can buy from you again. And it's all just one full cold customer magnet approach, where if you set this up correctly, you're getting everyone everywhere who is at all interested in your product whatsoever. The people who have card in hand ready to buy but they're not aware of your brand, the people who are aware of your brand but want to buy from you again, and people who have no idea who you are, no idea that they wanted that product, but you're able to advertise to them still through the Google channel, because again, it's 4 different things instead of just search or just shopping or just YouTube. Once you combine all of these aspects together, it creates one foolproof cold customer magnet Google Ads system, which gets you a 3 to 5x return for every dollar that you put into it. So now that you've seen all the different campaigns, I just want to quickly break down what the campaigns do. Predominantly for e-commerce, you'll be using Performance Max, standard shopping, non-brand search, brand search campaigns, not listed here, but branded shopping campaigns as well, YouTube ads, and dynamic remarketing. Performance Max will be your big spender, followed by shopping. Combining the two will be able to cover the shopping placement completely, so you're winning every single auction in your first place for your product category. Non-branded search is for high intent search queries, but also problem statements, investigative statements, that type of stuff. Your branded search and branded shopping to be able to capture people who are already aware of your brand, but you get them for cheap and you make sure that your competitors aren't bidding on your keywords. You use YouTube ads at the top of funnel to generate the search volume in the first place, but then also capture that through its own particular funnel, as well as them searching on Google natively. And then you have dynamic remarketing to tie this all together, where anyone who lands on your homepage, anyone who lands on your add to cart, anyone who lands on your product page, they get remarketed across Google until they buy. And the last section for Google Ads basics when it comes to e-commerce is understanding the 3 stages of Google Ads growth. So every single Google Ads strategy goes through 3 stages. Every single big brand has had to go through this stage when it comes to advertising on Google to create a mature Google Ads account. Phase 1 is about foundation and testing first, which lasts around 30 to 60 days, where you launch your branded search campaigns, your branded shopping campaigns, and your prospecting shopping campaign. You set up conversion tracking analytics, and you're using manual bidding to control ad spend. Here, you're waiting for at least 1 conversion per day for over the 30-day period before you consider swapping to smart bidding, Performance Max, YouTube, that type of stuff. Phase 2 lasts around 4 months, between 2 to 6 months, where you shift your bidding strategy to max conversions or TROAS bidding based on your product margins and your break-even ROAS. You remove any low-performing keywords which didn't work in the initial test. You start retargeting and audience segmentation, and you're launching your YouTube and PMax campaigns. And then lastly, you've got phase 3, which is around scaling and expansion. This is about after 6 months or so, where you're increasing your budget, as you already have been over this time, on your high-performing campaigns. You expand into new search and shopping keywords as you get more data, using our keyword research method, which we'll cover next. And you're using Performance Max to scale while keeping control. Here, if you do have extra spend and you want to build out your Google Ad account fully, you can then launch cold search campaigns, display campaigns, that type of stuff. But really, it takes around 1 to 4 months to fully build out a Google Ad system for e-commerce, which covers 90% of all the inventory that you'll be bidding on. You'll very quickly be able to see results in terms of what's working, what's not. So you scale the winners, you kill off the losers, and then you're able to scale from there. How do you scale an e-commerce brand with Google Ads in 2025? In this video, I'm going to cover our core philosophy and proven systems for scaling Google Ads from 6 figures a year to 7 and even 8 figures a year without sacrificing ROAS and your profit. So if you're an e-commerce brand who wants to scale on Google Ads, but you're not quite sure how to think about it, and you need a core philosophy and understanding of how we go about scaling our brands that we work with, watch this video until the end. I'm going to give you 7 areas that you need to be thinking about, which will give you a core understanding of how we think about using Google Ads to scale e-commerce brands in 2025. So you can make more sales, acquire new customers, dominate your competitors, all the good stuff that we're looking for when it comes to marketing and Google Ads and that type of stuff. First thing I'd like to say is that Google Ads is an engine, not necessarily a magic wand. It will not fix a broken e-commerce brand, nor will it create demand where none exists. I love this quote from Eugene Schwartz: advertising cannot create demand, it can only channel and direct demand that already exists. But if structured properly, Google Ads can efficiently capture demand and scale cold customer acquisition profitably. The goal is not just revenue, it's not just sales. It's about acquiring customers efficiently whilst ensuring your paid marketing ecosystem is working as a whole. And the framework that I'm going to outline is the key principles behind scaling Google Ads effectively for e-com brands. First principle is around scaling at break even and the role of Google Ads in your brand. Do not think about Google Ads as a single engine of growth for your business. At scale, it should account for around 20 to 30% of your revenue at most. If it is driving more than that, then it's a good problem to have, but the problem is not that Google is overperforming, even though it might be, it is that your other channels are underperforming, and so you have room to scale. Think of Google in your brand primarily as the demand capture platform. Google works best when you have all the other sources of your marketing dialed in. So Meta's generating demand, TikTok's generating demand, you've got your email list going, natural product demand that's already there, affiliates, influencers, organic, all that type of stuff. Saying that, Google does gather new customers and convert them, and has access to a customer pool that you can't get on any other platforms. So with that being said, if you're looking to scale profitably with Google Ads, you need to understand two things: your break-even ROAS and your new customer acquisition costs, even on Google. Instead of focusing on high ROAS in isolation, the goal is to scale up to the point where acquisition is break-even or slightly profitable on first purchase. And this is even for products that have high AOV, because if you think that it's just about sending that one product to that one customer one time, then your LTV to CAC ratio is a bit off. And you're only focusing on lowering your CAC, but your LTV side of that ratio is being ignored. People always focus on CAC. How can we get our CAC lower? How can we get our CAC lower? No, not necessarily. That's a good place to start, but the other place to think about when it comes to how much you can spend on marketing, how much you can spend to acquire a customer, is how much that customer is worth to you over a lifetime. So they may spend $100 with you now, but in 12 months' time, how many more times are they buying from you? You have their details already, you can remarket to them, you can email them, you can release new products, you can sell to them again. Then that helps expand your LTV to CAC ratio. So instead of focusing on how can we lower our marketing CAC, the CAC's too high, that type of stuff, how about just focus on increasing your AOV on first order and making your customers worth more, so you're selling more of them, so you're getting them to buy more over time. That means that you can keep your CAC the same or even increase your CAC and your CAC be increasing, but your customers are worth more. Therefore, the LTV to CAC ratio makes sense for your brand and you can still be profitable. The person that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins. And you can think of that in two ways. You can just spend a lot to acquire a customer and the customer be worth the same compared to everyone else, but just because you and your competitor are bidding and being in the auction for the same customer doesn't necessarily mean that that particular customer is worth the same to both of you. You can have an entirely different backend, which makes your customers worth more than your competitors make them worth. Therefore, you're able to spend more to acquire them because they are worth more to you because you have the backend to sell them more over a lifetime horizon. This is why I recommend to scale all your marketing efforts on the front end at break even with a backend that can sustain that level of scale, because then you can just dominate your competitors, take up all the auction, all the bidding, spend double that they can to acquire a customer, because your customers, even though they might be the same person, are worth 3 times more than your competitors. That's how to think about it. If your Google account is hitting break even and acquiring new customer scales, that is a win. That is a win. That is a win. Get that in your mind. It is critical to look at blended metrics, your total revenue relative to your total ad spend, which is MER. And if your blended marketing efficiency is strong, individual campaign ROAS matters less and you can spend more. The CPCs matters less, the CPMs matter less. Really, it just boils down to how much do you need to spend to acquire a customer and how much is that customer worth to you over their lifetime. If you can, on the back end, make their lifetime 3x, 4x, 5x what it is now, you can spend 2x, 3x more to acquire that customer, knowing the ratio will stay the same. And that's the key. That's like the core part of our philosophy when it comes to Google Ads. We work closely with all of our ecom brand clients around, yes, getting the CAC to be as efficient as possible, but what can we do to increase your margin and increase your lifetime value? Because that's what actually makes marketing work in the first place. It's not just you run Google Ads, I'm just a PPC agency, I'm just a marketing agency, I run your ads, media buying, blah, blah, blah. It's how can we make this marketing actually work, and for it to work, the numbers need to make sense. And for the numbers to make sense, especially with the rising CPMs, which are always going to increase because there's always going to be more people bidding, and the clicks getting higher and the budget being tighter, we just need to make our customers worth more. And how can we do that? And that's a conversation most agencies aren't even willing to have because they can't have it, because they don't even think about this type of stuff. This is part of our core philosophy when it comes to Google Ads at demand capture. And really, sometimes your ROAS is just too damn high and you need to scale. So following the break-even ROAS and break-even CPA scaling philosophy will maximize your Google Ads for your brand. And ultimately, your brand as a whole will be healthier. You can spend more to acquire a customer because your customer's worth more, and you're at break even, and that makes sense and it's fine. Second thing, which is a bit more Google Ads specific, is around structuring first but scaling later, because Google rewards structure. Poorly structured accounts will not scale, no matter how much money is spent. Before increasing spend, the following foundational elements need to be in place. First, you need to have your branded search campaign. This protects brand traffic and ensures competitors cannot steal the demand that you've been generating on your brand name. You'd be surprised how many people try and bid on their competitors. I don't recommend doing that in its own campaign specifically, but you need a brand search campaign to be able to protect other people from doing that. And that basically makes their campaigns inefficient. If everyone was running brand protection, then competitor search just wouldn't work. Competitor search only works if the other brand doesn't have brand protection set up correctly. That's why I think it's a waste of time to run competitor campaigns, personally. You need your shopping campaigns, the biggest placement, the highest revenue generating placement on Google Ads for e-commerce brands, covers both branded and non-branded search demand efficiently. And then you need a performance max campaign in there to kind of hold the whole thing together, which captures new customers at scale, but must be controlled properly because of its black box nature. Only once these are established should you add YouTube and cold search campaigns. Additionally, campaign segmentation is absolutely crucial. You need to have a clear distinction between branded and non-branded traffic and prospecting campaigns and retargeting campaigns. If you don't split your campaigns, spend will be inefficient and scaling will be unstable. Google will always try and convert on the easiest to convert customer because it wants to show you that it's getting a return, therefore you spend more money on the platform. So if you have branded terms in your prospecting campaign, it's only going to show the auction to and spend money on the people that are already going to go convert in the first place. And it's not going to push spend to the terms and placements which all your cold customers are hiding. So all your budget's going to be wasted on people that were going to convert anyway. That's why you need to segment them into specific branded campaigns where you have a budget for that, but the rest of your actual budget, the 80-90% of your budget, which should be on cold customers and cold traffic, is on cold traffic. And if you don't segment your prospecting and brand protection campaigns, your ROAS might look high, but it will be branded traffic. So you need to segment your campaigns with proper structure. The third point is around Google's automation. You need to trust it, but you also need to control it. Google's machine learning is really powerful. It's getting quite scary how efficient these campaigns can be run if they're set up correctly. And most of the times they're not through other people who set them up. But most brands fail with it because they either try to micromanage it or give it too much freedom. So they either control and tinker Google Ads way too much and you don't let it do what it does best, or you give it too much freedom and it just wastes your ad spend on terms that are never going to convert in the first place. The key to scaling on Google Ads for ecom is knowing where to let Google optimize and where to set clear constraints to keep performance efficient. So this is where you should fully trust Google's automation. You should be broad wherever possible in terms of broad keywords, broad audience targeting, no audience signals, as much as you can. Where you're letting Google optimize without restricting it to preset audiences, preset understanding of what keywords are going to be. Instead, let the creative do the targeting because Google will know who to push that creative to because it's taking your assets, your brand, your conversion data that's already on the account level and pushing it to that inventory first. Broad with your keywords because you're able to discover keywords that you weren't able to intuit at the start, and you'll be able to understand over a broad period of time of testing of the keywords that actually convert. Then you can have a flywheel effect of putting that into your copy, into your landing pages, into your shopping titles, that type of stuff. And for some campaigns, you want automated bidding, so target ROAS, target CPA if it makes sense on the right ones. Google adjusts bids in real time more efficiently than you can do on a manual bidding strategy. You should use these campaigns which aren't standard shopping campaigns for the most part and definitely not branded search. You want absolute target impression share on your branded search campaigns. The areas that you want to maintain control, negative keyword scripts. So using automation scripts to filter out low intent and irrelevant searches automatically. There are just some keywords that aren't going to convert for you. You can just filter those out. You also still want to do manual pruning with search term reports. So even with automation, checking search terms daily, refining negatives is essential to avoid wasted ad spend. You want to optimize your landing page. Obviously, Google can't fix bad conversion rates and isn't in control of that. If engagement metrics are weak, so you have a high bounce rate, low session duration, the landing page needs work. It needs to be more congruent with the ad and also needs to be conversion focused. And then lastly, around any budgeting or scaling decisions, Google will always suggest to spend more because it wants you to give it more money, but you scale based on performance, not based on its recommendation. Any other automated recommendations, you need to turn these off immediately. And the most scalable accounts embrace automation, but they don't overcomplicate things. The fewer restrictions you impose, the better Google can do its job. And when in doubt, default to let Google taking the wheel, but keep your foot near the brake just in case something goes wrong. Next is around thinking about scaling. It's more of a process, not necessarily an event that just happens. You don't just go, all right, we're scaling. Scaling does not happen overnight. It's a process of increasing spend whilst also maintaining efficiency. And there are daily, weekly, and monthly actions that you need to do to be able to scale and ease into that scale. So daily actions, reviewing search terms and adding negative keywords to your campaigns. You also need to monitor your impression share and adjust bids accordingly so you hit that 50 to 60% target sweet spot for all your campaigns. Weekly actions, scale winning campaigns based on your KPIs that you set, so your break-even ROAS, break-even CPA, and your budget, that type of stuff. Optimize landing pages based on session duration and conversion performance. A/B test new ad copy and landing pages weekly, and do your weekly GMC optimizations, making sure everything is perfect. And if you're monthly, increase your budgets if new customer acquisition and blended ROAS are stable, and do a full account review to plug any holes, any disapprovals, any things that you might have missed on your daily and weekly actions. And as you can see, scaling happens in steps. If KPIs remain stable at high levels of spend, then you can scale further. However, if performance declines, you can optimize before increasing your budget further. The answer isn't always just to increase budget and push past it. The fact that you aren't profitable means that something is leaking and you need to fix it before you're able to scale more. Short one here, but you still need to be efficient whilst you're scaling with Google Ads. Most advertisers think scaling is just simply spending more, as I just said. In reality, it's about spending better. When it comes to marketing spend, it's about where can you put your best next dollar? And that comes from efficient thinking. And with Google Ads specifically, it comes from smart use of target ROAS, target CPA bidding, cutting poor performing SKUs because not all products that you sell are going to be scalable. You've got to 80-20 it. There's going to be that one product that just works on Google, which is going to be your main revenue driver. You already know what your hero product is. It's a hero product for a reason. It's going to scale. Not all your products need to be advertised. And then lastly, in terms of efficiency, cutting spend on branding campaigns. Most brands overspend on brand. If you cut it to around maximum 10% of monthly spend, if it's anything more than that, you're way overspending. We usually like to find it between the 3 and 8% range. The goal is to increase acquisition without increasing waste. The second to last part of the philosophy is about expanding beyond search and shopping. True scale does not come from Google search and shopping alone, because that's just based on the search volume that's native to your products in the first place. The largest e-commerce brands understand that YouTube, display, demand gen campaigns play a crucial role in generating demand and search volume, then capturing it with other campaigns. You can actually generate search interest and demand on Google through Google, and you can do that just with your product, which is just fascinating when you really think about it. Like, you're generating your own demand, but then you have the campaigns in the back end and the middle of the funnel to be able to capture that. It's amazing. Google works best when it has demand to capture. So just create that demand on Google as well, and you're able to capture that demand, get that sale, and you follow them throughout the whole marketing funnel. If search volume is stagnant on your products or on the queries that you're bidding on, new channels must be introduced to drive volume. YouTube ads are particularly important for this because it expands audience reach beyond the search volume limits. It feeds PMAX and shopping campaigns with new intent signals, and it captures demand before competitors bid on it. Plus, your competitors aren't bidding on there, the CPMs are really cheap. It's a blue ocean for ecom brands right now, YouTube ads. Scaling Google ads requires a full funnel approach, and brands relying just on search and shopping will hit a ceiling eventually. In fact, for most of our audits, brands are only relying on search, and they're not doing a particularly good job on it. So if you're one of those brands, get shopping up. But then once you've capped out on search, shopping, performance max, introduce YouTube, introduce demand gen, and you're able to scale past the search volume limit that you've hit. And then the last part is around testing, iterating, and automating everything. The best performing accounts are always evolving. We A/B test all of our search campaigns and product feeds weekly. So new headlines, new descriptions, new CTAs. We also suggest our clients do this with the landing pages, different layouts, messaging flows, so you gather enough data to continually optimize on your performance of your ads. Conversion rate optimization is severely underutilized when it comes to Google ads. But you can also do like account level optimization, which is just the ads, the split testing, that type of stuff. Most accounts only have one search ad in there per ad group. We have multiple because we're trying to beat our control. And you're never going to get the perfect ad done the first time. You always want to be testing it and trying to beat your control. The hubris to think that you have the best ad written right away without even testing it, it's just a no-go really. So you need to be testing your stuff. And then lastly, the use of AI and automation for all of this. Negative keyword scripts, bid adjustments, reporting tools, all that type of stuff. Most advertisers don't test enough. Most don't even test at all. And even a small increase in conversion rate, click-through rate can drive significant revenue growth for you. And make it so you can spend more to acquire that customer, therefore defeating your competition. I'll leave you with this when it comes to Google ads and scaling e-com brands. It's not about finding a single winning formula. It's not about a magic campaign. It's a whole holistic approach. It's about constant iteration. It's about full attention to your ad account. And that's why you need specialists in your ad account to be able to scale your brand on Google. You can't just set it, build it, release it, and forget it. It takes daily inputs, weekly optimizations, monthly changes, fine-tuning things, understanding the core philosophy behind it. You can't just throw out some search campaigns, throw out some shopping campaigns with default titles and think that you're going to make loads of sales. Of course you're not. You need to have people who really understand Google and know it to its full potential to be able to scale your ecom brand with the platform and have it work within your marketing ecosystem when it comes to scaling your ecom brand, acquiring new customers. So that's our philosophy behind Google Ads when it comes to scaling ecom brands. If you want access to the document that I'm reading from, it's part of our full Google Ads course. It covers everything that you need to know about Google Ads to scale your e-commerce brand. Conversion tracking, copy, search campaigns, shopping campaigns, YouTube campaigns, PMAX campaigns. It's got swipe files, GMC optimizations, automation scripts, anti-Google Merchant Center suspension stuff, YouTube ad swipe file, Google Ad swipe file. Literally got everything you need to be able to launch and scale Google Ads profitably for your e-commerce brand. If you want that, the first link is in the description. These are the only 9 things you need to focus on when it comes to scaling your e-commerce brand on Google Ads. And I'm going to show you exactly what they are so you can scale your brand and make a ton more sales. I'm going to write on the board everything we do for our brands at Demand Capture. And because I know it works for them and gets results like this and this, then I know it will work for you regardless of what products you have, your industry, your location. All you need to do is focus on these 9 things for your Google Ads, for your e-commerce brand. And I know that you'll make a ton more sales and scale your brand to high 6 figures, 7 figures, even 8 figures. So the first thing you need to focus on is your offer. So when it comes to any sort of advertising campaign at all, the offer is always king. This is a crown. And you know because of the purple Bible that this is true, but most people forget this when it comes to even their Google ads. Just because it's primarily search, just because it's primarily shopping, your product still needs to have a really good offer on it to get people to go from curious to converting. This is especially true for Google ads as well, because Google is a comparative shopping platform. This means that when people are searching for your product or the problem that they're trying to solve through your product, they're seeing all
all of your competitors' ads at the same time. Say you type in Sharpie pen, you're going to see hundreds of Sharpie pens. Say you type in running shoes, you're going to see a whole bunch of running shoes. All else being equal, the best offer is going to get the click, and then that landing page is going to have that offer there as well, and you're going to get the conversion. So it's especially important with your Google ads that you have a banger offer. There's some really easy basics when it comes to offers with Google ads. The first one is shipping thresholds. Real key to this one, and I got this from Maxwell Copy, is saying on us when it comes to shipping. This makes the potential customer feel as if they've already got it and that you're giving it to them, even though you kind of are. It's just a better way of framing it. You can also play around with buy one, get one, buy two, get one, percentages off. If you have a high AOV, like above $100 or so, then you can do dollar amount off as well. So like $50 off. You just want to make sure your offer is everywhere on your ads. Lastly, you can bundle a whole bunch of shit together. This not only is a really good offer to differentiate yourself from your competitors and make that really apparent that you're adding all this free value compared to what your competitors are offering, but it also increases your AOV, which means you can advertise more, which is good. Now, the next thing to focus on is your landing page. So if you're running ads, right, you've got this ad, the board's wet, so I can't write too well, but you've got the ad, and that leads to the landing page. So the ad gets the click. And then once you got the click, the conversion, which is what you're optimizing for, hasn't happened yet. So you need this landing page, your product page, whatever, to do the conversion for you. When conversions aren't happening, people are like, oh, well, my ads aren't working. It's like, yeah, your advertising isn't working, but the ads might be working really well. The search impression share could be really high. You're dominating the competition. You're getting a lot of clicks. Cost is good. CPCs are good. But if you take a look at your average session duration, people are bouncing off the page because the page isn't relevant to what they're looking to buy. So they're clicking on the ad and they're like, yeah, cool, I want this, but the page isn't actually doing anything at all. So you need to make sure that your landing page not only converts, but is congruent with the ad itself. Because if it's not, then you're going to lose a lot of money here. Now, the next thing, and you may have noticed we haven't even gotten to the ads yet properly, is unit economics. Really boring, but absolutely important. If you don't have margin to scale, then you can't scale. If your profit margin is really low and you're not able to take some of that margin into advertising, then you aren't able to scale. The more margin you have and the better your unit economics, then the better you can actually scale. However, most people focus on the COGS and try and get them down. And I say this is probably not the best thing to do. The best thing for you to do is to increase your AOV, because this has more leverage. You can pull more of the lever here and increase this infinite compared to getting your COGS down to as low as possible without harming the actual quality of the product and the deal with your manufacturer and all that type of stuff. Good unit economics with advertising, especially with Google ads, is really just around increasing your AOV as much as possible. This comes back to the offer. This also comes back to bundles. You can also take into account LTV into this as well. If you have a product with good LTV, then you know that your NCPA can be a certain point, knowing that you'll make it up in the cohort analysis later on. So the LTV will come into play. You've acquired that customer now, so you can get second purchase, third purchase, and so on. So you might be able to go break even or even negative at like a 0.8, knowing you can make it up in those next 12 months and you know what your break even is to scale. This is like super surface level, but we go into mega detail with every single one of our clients to make sure that this is correct, because you need this to work to even run Google ads in the first place. There's no point running marketing unless you can actually scale. So make sure that you can scale first. Right, next thing you need to focus on is, again, this is before we're getting into the Google ads, your goals and KPIs. This gets to unit economics a bit, but you just want to understand what your break-even new customer ROAS is, your break-even new customer CPA. Once you've got this dialed in, you know that you can spend up to this ROAS and up to this CPA, knowing that you're first order profitable. 99% of the time with e-commerce, Google ads, you're going to be optimizing around purchase, not like add to carts or clicks or whatever. Understanding how your LTV plays into this. Do you want to go for an LTV play, or do you just want to be first order profitable? This distinction is probably going to be the first or second choice for you when it comes to your Google ads. So you can feel comfortable knowing what your break-even is, going just a bit lower than it for an LTV play, because you know you just want to acquire customers, sell them other stuff on the back end. Or if you're trying to be first order profitable, this is going to be different. You need to adhere to these so you know that you can scale your bids and your budgeting in line with those goals and KPIs. You can get into goals and KPIs when it comes to the campaigns, so that's its own campaign stuff on a higher level before you even get to the Google ads. You need to make sure that you've got your good goals and KPIs done first. However, there are some KPIs that you want to focus on, and I'll show you them now. The first one is the amount of conversions that you're actually getting. The next one is your conversion rate. Next is your CTR, your click-through rate. Next is your CPC, so your cost per click. The fifth one, and this is really important, is your impression share. How much of the share of the impressions do you get for your search terms? This is really important to understand in terms of how you're competing with your competitors. They have a higher impression share than you. They're probably spending more, their ads are better, they're getting more conversions, they're making Google way happier. So if this is low, these will all be bad. Your CPC will be high, your click-through rate will be low, your conversion rate will be low, the number of conversions will be really low. So this is really important. And then lastly, most people don't think about this, is your average session duration. This measures how long on average people are spending on your page. This basically measures the congruence between your ad and your landing page. Important to realize. As like a sixth metric to measure. But I would focus on impression share, then CPC, then CTR, then conversion rate, and the actual number of conversions themselves. So we covered the first four, and that was before we even got into the Google Ads in the first place. Now we're actually going to do the Google Ads. First thing you need to set up is proper conversion tracking. Most Google Ads agencies and freelancers actually mess this up, which is just shocking to me. And even if they get it right, most agencies just start here. They don't even focus on the unit economics, your goals, your KPIs, your landing page, your offer, any of that stuff, which is really important to actually get your Google Ads working. So you can have the best conversion tracking, of the best ads, the best budget, the best campaign strategy, but if you don't have the previous four stuff, then this isn't going to work. I'm just saying that now because we're only now getting to the Google Ads, and I want to just let you know why. So conversion tracking, make sure that it's enhanced, and then make sure that it's set up correctly. If you want a full guide on how to set this up, I've got a video, which I'll link somewhere on screen here, which you can click to go set that up. It takes you like 5 minutes to do. So I won't go into full detail here, but you just want to make sure that this is done first, otherwise your campaigns are going to be running blind. Google's not going to be able to optimize your campaigns, it's not going to work very well, it's just going to be really shit. So make sure your conversion tracking is done. So after your conversion tracking, you then got your campaign structure. Campaign structure, I've also got a video on my channel going through the best one for 2025 for e-commerce. I'll just go through it quickly here. Top of funnel, you've got your YouTube Shorts and your statics. This is run through demand gen campaigns. Then for the middle of funnel, you've got a couple of things. You've got cold search, you've got competitor search if it works well. You've got your PMAX campaigns and your cold shopping campaigns. And then for the bottom of funnel, you've got branded search, branded shopping, and dynamic remarketing. If you're just starting out on Google Ads, you want to start at the bottom of the funnel, make sure you're getting enough conversions, and pick one of the middle of funnel campaigns to run. Most likely for e-commerce, it's going to be shopping and PMAX. Run these if it makes sense, and only go to these once you've got smart bidding enabled, which is around 1 conversion per day for 30 days. YouTube Shorts, you take your meta winners at around $50 per day into YouTube Short campaigns. Same thing with statics, and you run these completely broad. So the creative does the targeting. With these ones, they're cold campaigns. You want to exclude all your customer lists from these, and you want to make these as cold as possible. So non-branded terms, exclude all of these, especially around the PMAX. Exclude your brand from PMAX. This is where the branded stuff comes in. This campaign structure allows you to see clearly where your cold conversions are coming from, when your branded conversions are coming from. These will be really cheap because you split these out. You'll be most efficient in terms of your marketing spend here, and you're generating a lot of demand and getting ahead of your competitors with really cheap CPMs, really cheap CPCs, and really cheap conversions with these and these, just by taking your meta winners at $50 a day and putting them into here with broad. That's the best campaign structure. Now I won't go to the board for this one because it's pretty easy to explain, but the seventh one is around your targeting. So you can get into basic stuff like demographics and location. This will be taken care of through Google just targeting the country that you're targeting. But you really want to understand your audience to a deep level so the creatives, your offer, your landing page makes sense. And you've probably naturally done this before, but you just want to remind yourself to do this with your Google Ads as well. Understanding their language that they use, the psychographics, the problems, the pains, the goals, the desires that they're having, why they buy and why they buy specifically from you. And this is the thing that people forget about Google Ads, especially when it comes to e-commerce. When people are searching for your product, they're seeing all of your competitors' ads at the same time, which means that you need to stand out. And the best way to stand out is through resonance. Well, it's actually your offer. Like if it was really cheap and people would just buy it, all else being equal. But given your margins and given that you want to make a profit, you need to stand out in different ways. And the best way to do that is through connection, resonance with your audience who are searching for it. Getting in their shoes, getting in their head and thinking, what type of person will be searching for this product? What pain are they in? What problem are they trying to solve? What desire are they trying to fulfill? What goal are they trying to achieve through my product? And as we get to the second to last point, writing ads which are congruent to that person. So before you even create the ads in the first place, whether it be your YouTube Shorts, whether it be your searches, whether it be your shopping campaigns in terms of the product titles and descriptions, understanding your audience first will get your advertising way further, and this is especially true on Google Ads for all the reasons I've just shared. Speaking of creative, let's go back to the board. So number 8 is the creative, and when it comes to creative, there are 3 things to focus on with Google Ads. First one is the search campaigns, next is the shopping campaigns, and then you've got the YouTube campaigns. So with search, it's going to be your headlines, your images, descriptions, call outs, site links, your snippets, all that stuff. But the main things to focus on are your headlines, your images, and your descriptions. If you combine all of these, this takes up a lot of room on the search engine results page, which makes your ad bigger and more likely to be clicked. The bigger the ad, the more likely it's going to be clicked. That's just how it works. With shopping, there's a couple of things. There's the image in terms of the creative. There's the title, which is largely driven by what you want to target. So there's not much copywriting and creative here. Then there's also the promotion, which also applies to the search campaigns, by the way. So I'll add this here, the promo extension, but also the ratings and the social proof. So when it comes to creative with shopping ads, you just want to make sure that these are dialed in here. We've also got the descriptions and that type of stuff. The main things is the image, the title for the targeting, and then making sure these two are here, the social proof and the promotion and the offer. For YouTube, it's just the short creative. Sometimes your meta winners will work, but also other times you want specific YouTube short campaigns. So just some insight website for this, you can do podcast clips. You can also do docu-series. You also need to have heavy direct response on YouTube Shorts. This is a relatively unsophisticated platform when it comes to buying. Every DR is just going to work better. And then lastly, because YouTube is super addictive, and most of these are addictive anyway, and unless you got the product feed within your YouTube ads, you got to make it really apparent of what you want them to do next, which means your CTA needs to be super obvious. Big offer, big where to go next, click here, type this in, search this, tap the screen. You need to have a heavy direct response CTA for YouTube Shorts because it's not super geared to buying as it is with Instagram. So just make that super clear and that will convert way better. And that's how you make banger creatives for your Google Ads. And then finally, the last thing to focus on when it comes to your Google Ads, talking about bids and budget. And it's funny, most brand owners start here. It's how much should I be spending? What should my bids be? This is the last thing to focus on. You've got to think about the creative, the campaign structure, all the stuff we've already covered. Bids and budget comes last, but it's still really important. That's why we're talking about it. So when it comes to bids and budget, you just want to bid as much as you can, and you want your budget to be as high as you can to where your KPIs make sense. So your bids and your budget is guided by your unit economics, essentially. How much can you afford to spend on your marketing to beat your competitors, and how much are you willing to spend to test, but also to scale? In terms of how much to spend, should you do low budget? That's kind of just guided and really depends on the specifics of your brand, your goals, your KPIs, your COGS. Every single brand's different. So that's the high level cop-out answer for that. However, there are a bunch of bidding strategies which you ought to use, which I'll just cover now. The first one you need to be aware of is manual CPC. This is where you can control how much you're bidding max per click. And this is best for these campaigns here. So you've got branded search, branded shopping. These campaigns you want to run on shopping, you want to run on manual CPC. Branded search, you want to run on target impression share, which I call ATIMP, absolute target impression share. Again, if you want a guide on how to set that up, then there's a video on my channel for branded search campaigns. Then you've got level 2 bidding strategies, which is the smart bidding ones. You've got max conversion value and max conversions. Max conversion value is probably the main one that you're going to be going on for e-commerce because you want to maximize the amount of value that you're getting per purchase. Max conversions is if you just want as many conversions as possible. And these branch out into their own specific smart bidding strategies where you've got TROAS and TCPA. Most of the time, e-commerce, you're going to be using these 4 here. Unless there's a specific scenario where you want as many conversions as possible and you know your break-even CPA and you are just trying to do a cost per action, you're not trying to maximize the amount of value, you're just trying to get as many conversions as possible, then this is where that makes sense. Mainly you'll be using manual CPC for your branded stuff, maximize conversion value for any smart bidding, TROAS once you understood the target ROAS, and absolute target impression share when it comes to your branded search campaign. And that's pretty much it with bids and budget. Cover creative, also done campaign structure as well. We hit up conversion tracking, goals and KPIs, unit economics, landing pages, and your offer as well. And these are the 9 things you need to focus on when it comes to scaling your brand with Google Ads. So in the past, keyword research was manual and intuition based. You had to intuit and think about what keywords your audience would be targeting. In the past, marketers would guess which keywords the customers were searching for. They would manually input those keywords into campaigns, and then over time, they would be able to refine their list based on performance. The problem with this is that this method takes too much time and assumes you already know what your customers want, which you don't until you have the data to be able to understand what your customers are actually searching for. So you need to do more keyword research at the start to understand what customers are actually searching for, measure that search intent in terms of how likely are they to buy based on searching for that, and then using those keywords to inform your copywriting, inform your targeting, that type of stuff. The modern approach to keyword research right now with e-commerce Google 2025, exactly what we're doing for all of our clients, is just to let Google do all the heavy lifting when it comes to understanding what keywords are actually converting on your campaigns. So instead of manually selecting keywords up front, you want to start broad with broad match and then let Google's algorithms identify what actually converts. So you can do this in multiple ways, different ways. You can use Performance Max and shopping campaigns to automatically test broad match search phrases. So in PMax, it will just give you the converting search terms in the first place. In shopping, it will just show you which search terms are showing up in terms of the impression on a daily basis, and you're able to go in and see, okay, what's getting the most impressions, what's got the highest CTR, what's got the most conversions, what's got the cheapest CPCs. You're able to understand what your shopping title is actually showing up for based on what you've listed your shopping item as in the GMC. You're then able to analyze the search term reports and find real user search phrases that lead to conversions. You know it's a high converting keyword and search phrase because it's actually got conversion data behind it, which you've been able to validate based on them buying your product. And then you use that data as a flywheel to refine your search ad strategy instead of just guessing. So this creates a feedback loop where your shopping and PMax campaigns, you run them broad and then you capture converting search terms first and foremost. Your search term reports show the exact words customers use to find your products. Then you take those winning keywords and you extract them out, add them to search campaigns in exact and phrase match. You also add them to your product titles, you add them to your
Performance Max assets. And then lastly, you have refined search campaigns, which you can improve the efficiency of and then scale them profitably. But that begs the question, how do you get your first keywords? Well, there's two methods of doing this. You can start broad and let Google optimize. This is best for scale and speed. So as I just described, you launch your shopping campaigns, you set your PMAX campaigns, you let Google test a wide range of search terms automatically, you monitor the search term report, and then you extract the top performing keywords. And the reason why this works so well is because Google has access to way more data than you do. You can skip all the guesswork and immediately focus on what's actually working, what's getting the most impressions, what's getting the highest CTR, what's leading to most add carts, and what actually works in terms of discovering keywords that actually convert. And it gives you a faster feedback loop, so you're able to scale faster with higher profitability. But to get your very, very, very first keywords for any basic search campaigns that you want to start, I don't recommend it. You want to derive what's actually converting first and turn those into search. And then also to inform your shopping titles and descriptions and that type of stuff, you can just do the old traditional keyword research method. It's best for more control, manual optimization. So there's 3 ways that you can do this. You can use Google Keyword Planner, just put in your main product category and you find all the general terms from there. Start there when it comes to product level search phrases that people are searching for with high search volume behind them and are relatively good CPCs. You can also use paid tools like Ahrefs and SEMrush to reverse engineer competitor keywords. You can also use SpyFood to discover what your competitors are already bidding on. The downsides to this is that you have no real purchase data. You've just got the keyword search volume, you've just got what your competitors are bidding on, which is cool because they may be bidding on these things and they're getting conversions from them, which is why they're bidding on them. But you want to have first-party confirmation that this is a search phrase which actually works for you. And it requires more testing and refinement over time. The best approach is to use method 1 first and then layer in method 2 for further optimization, extra keywords, and just to get your first initial step off the ground. But it literally is your first rung on the ladder. The rest of it will be covered through Google. Step 2 then, as we've already described, is using shopping and PMAX campaigns to inform your search strategy. So your shopping campaigns and your Performance Max campaigns are secret keyword research tools in and of themselves. You're basically buying for confirmation of the keywords which convert on your Google ads. First and foremost, you run a shopping and PMAX campaign first. You then check the search term reports inside of Google ads. Again, what's getting the most impressions, what's getting the clicks. You then see which queries led to conversions versus wasted ad spend. You are already turning off the keywords which are converting, so there's no need to put anything in there with a search campaign or any other targeted campaign to be able to target that. You then turn those converting queries into exact and phrase matching keywords inside the search campaigns. Probably start with exact. If that exact phrase is converting, then you know it's going to be a winner. And then you exclude low performing search terms to increase the efficiency of it all. Let's say, for example, you sell high performance running shoes, for instance. Your shopping campaigns show that best marathon shoes for flat feet is a top search term that's actually converting. You wouldn't have thought about this in terms of a search query that people are searching for, but Google's able to identify that based on where it listed your product on the shopping feed, how many clicks it's getting and how many conversions it's getting, just by going broad first and foremost, right? You would have had to thought and intuit a lot to be able to get to that point in the first place, but Google's just given that for you based on what it's showing and what people are clicking. You then optimize your ad copy and landing pages around that specific search term, and your conversion rates then increase because the ad directly matches what people are looking for. You can even add a listicle to that, an advertorial to that specific phrase, and you're able to capitalize on that, which was just discovered by running the ads in the first place and actually putting money behind what's actually converting for your audience. Step 3 then is structuring your keywords for search and shopping campaigns. So for shopping campaigns, you want to take these converting keywords and update your product titles and attributes based on what's already converting. Because Google pulls keywords directly from your product feed, you want to optimize your product title based on what's already converting in the first place. When you optimize your product titles and descriptions to match high intent queries, this is what optimizing Google Ads is actually about. So for an example, instead of just men's running shoes, you can use men's Nike Air Zoom running shoes, lightweight, cushioned, and for marathon runners, based on the search phrase that I just described earlier in step 2. So another example could be Adidas Ultra Boost 21, breathable mesh running shoes for men. But that's the phrase that ended up being converting. So you're adding that to your product feed to be able to show up more on that and similar search terms which are also converting like that. For your search campaigns, you're basically taking those winning phrases and putting them in an exact match, phrase match for high intent queries. You can use exact match for high converting queries from the shopping and PMAX reports. You can use phrase match for variations of proven keywords. And I want to warn you to avoid broad matching in search campaigns unless you're testing and finding out keywords that you can be able to use. Once you've got the data validated from the rest of your campaigns, you just bring them into search and have your own dedicated search campaign based on that. Then lastly, it's around creating a profitable feedback loop. So you're running shopping in PMAX, you're getting those keywords, you're putting them into search. This is just a flywheel that keeps going, which is data driven. So this removes the guesswork of understanding which keywords you need to be able to target in with your search campaigns and all the rest of your targeting across Google Ads, and ensures your campaigns can scale profitably because you already understand which keywords are already converting converting and which angles actually work well. So this is also good for angle discovery in terms of Google Ads as well. You're able to really just see what is actually converting for my product based on the data that I'm getting back, and you're able to test very quickly, just putting money behind it. You don't need to put too much behind it, but this is better than trying to guess and waste time on keyword research when nowadays you don't really need to anymore. The best approach is just the one that I outlined here. So summary to this, the best Google Ads strategy is one built on real customer search behavior, not just on keyword search volume. It's not about how many people search for this term, it's about how many people buy from this search term. Right? It's a big difference. You don't want people to visit your site. You actually want them to buy. So if a term has a high amount of search volume, but it doesn't have the buyer intent behind it, then it's not a good keyword to target. You want to target the high converting ones, which you're only able to find if they're converting, and Google doesn't tell you that they're converting. You can intuit it based on your competitors' data if you do spy food to be able to understand if it's converting or not because they're bidding on it, but they could be stupid. Just assume that your competition is full of shit and that they're bidding on stuff that doesn't work. You want to understand what's actually converting for you and your product, and the only way to do this is by running shopping campaigns, running PMAX campaigns, finding out what is actually converting, then turning that into search campaigns, and then using that conversion data into your other campaigns as well, your shopping titles, your PMAX assets, your YouTube angles, your offers, your positioning, your landing pages, your copy, all of that type of stuff. So instead of guessing what people want, just let Google show what's working and then double down on the winners. And that's how you build a scalable, high ROI campaigns in 2025 and beyond for e-commerce using keyword research.
In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up Google Ads conversion tracking for your Shopify store. I'm going to take you through everything step by step from start, no conversion tracking whatsoever, all the way to the end where you have full enhanced conversion tracking for your e-commerce store. And if you want the full written guide complete with a downloadable container, which you'll need to install conversion tracking, as well as the custom event code you'll need to paste into your Shopify, then you can get that for free by clicking the first link in the description. By the end of this video, you'll have enhanced conversion tracking set up. You'll have a purchase tag, an add to cart tag, product view tag, and a begin checkout tag. You also have Google Ads dynamic remarketing set up, as well as Google Analytics 4. So it doesn't matter if you have no conversion tracking set up at all, or your current conversion tracking is broken. As long as you follow everything in this video step by step, you'll have full conversion tracking set up for your Shopify store. When it comes to conversion tracking, before we do anything else, we need to make sure you have Google Analytics installed in your Shopify. To do this, you want to go to your admin.shopify.com and go to your Google and YouTube app. Once that's all connected, you want to make sure that Google Analytics 4 is installed. It'll have a pop-up for this, but you can also go in settings to sort this out as well. Just make sure that it's connected. The next thing you want to do is to go into your Google Ads account. On the side, go to goals and then settings. In settings, you want to make sure enhanced conversions is turned on. So you see here enhanced conversions. You just make sure this is turned on, and the method you should use is Google tag. So now we need to set up the conversion tags. To do this, still in goals and conversions, you go to summary, and here there's no conversion tracking set up, so we need to create new conversion actions. Let's go create, and we're tracking conversions on our website. Here you want to type in your website domain. Once that website domain is typed in, you click scan. Then at the bottom, we want to add a conversion action manually. So click that. This window will pop up, and this is where we create our conversion action. The first category we're going to do is purchase. So click select category and go purchase. With these conversion options, you want to add purchases to the account default goals, and you want to have it as a primary conversion. For the conversion name, you can name it whatever your brand store is plus purchase. I'm just going to name mine here. Once that's named, for value, use different values for each conversion. Leave that default. Count, you want to count every single one. For the click-through window, an engage view conversion window, and view through conversion window, you just want to set these to max. So this one to 90 days, this one to 30 days, and this one also to 30 days. Attribution, make sure it's on data driven, and the enhanced conversions are done through the Google tag. Once that's done, you can click done, and that's our purchase tag set up correctly. Now we need to create 3 more tags. The next one we're going to do is add to cart. Here we don't want add to cart to be a default goal, and we'll just name our conversion action here. Same with value, same with count, and again expanding out these conversion windows. Data driven, manage through tag, click OK. Now we need to add a begin checkout. Same process here, get rid of it in count goals, name it. Once it's named, value, count, same with this one, you max it out. And then lastly, we're doing a product view, which is page view down here. Same process again, just name it. Doing all of the conversion window dates here, and it's the same settings. So now you have 4 conversion goals: purchase, add to cart, begin checkout, and page view. Now we want to click save and continue. Now we need to add tags to these 4 conversion actions. And we're going to use this using Google Tag Manager. So over here, we have the conversion ID and each of the 4 conversion labels. We want to save this because we're going to need this later. So just copy this, put it into a Notes app. I'm just going to paste it in a Google Doc, and there it is. That's all of our conversion goals set up. Now we need to set up the actual tags themselves. And we're going to do this through Google Tag Manager. So now you want to go to tagmanager.google.com. Once you're in Tag Manager, you want to click admin and click import container. This is where you need to go to the link in the description to find the free guide. I'll show you on screen now, where you'll have access to the pre-built tag manager setup. All you need to do
is scroll down to find this yellow bit, click it, open it up, and then download it. Once you have it downloaded, you can upload it here. And once it's done, you just want to click merge, scroll all the way down, and then add to workspace at the bottom here. Again, link to this container completely for free. Just download it in the link in the description. Now on the left here, we need to go to variables. And once we're on variables, we want to pay attention to these constants here: the add to cart, the begin checkout, the product view, the purchase label, and the conversion ID. We'll start with the conversion ID first. If you click conversion ID, and here you just want to edit this variable. And this value here is going to be the conversion ID that you pasted from the conversion tag and conversion goal setup before. So just copy this, paste it into here, and click save. Now we need to paste the conversion label to the constant that it matches. So we've got purchase label here, click this one, edit this one. This is purchase. So we get the purchase tag conversion label here, copy this, come over here, paste it, and then save. And we want to do this for each 4 of these. So next we'll do add to cart. Add to cart is this one over here, copy this, edit, paste, save. Go back here, we've got begin checkout. So we'll just copy this one, go to begin checkout, open this, copy, paste it in, and then save. And then lastly, we've got product view. So open this one, product view, copy, paste, edit, do this one, and then save. So now we have all of the labels and the conversion ID in these variables. Last thing we need to do is submit this workspace. We'll go up here to submit, publish, continue. And now all of this is published. We want to X out of this, go back to workspace, and then this GTM code up here, we want to just copy this and put this into our doc. We'll need this for later. So that's Google Tag Manager set up. Now on the final part, which is setting up the Shopify customer event. To do this, we need to be in our Shopify admin. At the bottom left is settings, click this. And then on the side here, click customer events. Here we want to go to custom pixels and add a custom pixel. Pixel name, just call it Google conversion pixel. Add the pixel. Here we want to get rid of all of this. And here's the key part now. We need to go back to our main document, which is over here. Again, link to this is in the description, absolutely free. And then scroll all the way down to click here, Google Tag Manager code for customer event. Open this, select this, copy, go back here and paste it in. Now there's a couple of things we need to sort out here. The first one is the country code, which is just marked by this red X here. You need to set in the country code, which is the country that you're based in. So I've got some examples here: US, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Germany. Because we're advertising in the US, we're just going to put US here. The second thing we need to do is scroll just a bit further down to the GTM tag. So as we remember, we got the GTM tag from Google Tag Manager before we came to this step. You just want to go back to your doc, get this number here, go back to this, select that, paste that in. And that is all done. And then once that's done, you just at the top here, you want to click save. It's pretty hidden, but you just want to go save and then connect. And with that, you now have full conversion tracking set up. The last thing you need to do is go back to your conversion actions, and with the add to cart, the begin checkout, and the page view, you just want to turn these into secondary. So go edit, secondary observe only, and again, with all of these, just turn them to secondary observe only, just so they're not optimizing in your Google Ad account. And then every single campaign that you run, if you're in e-commerce, which most of you are, you'll just have the purchase tag be the account default goal for all of your campaigns. How to optimize your Google Merchant Center step by step. Every brand says that they want to scale on Google, but 9 out of 10 haven't even set up their Google Merchant Center the right way. So here's the exact process we use inside of Demand Capture to bulletproof it and actually get results so you can scale your e-commerce brand with Google Ads. I'm going to go through our whole internal SOP step by step of how to optimize your Google Merchant Center, and I'm also going to show you a live client Merchant Center account so you can follow along in your Merchant Center to better optimize your account. And if you want access to this document as well as our full free e-commerce Google Ads course, click the first link in the description, enter your email, and I'll send it to your inbox immediately. Phase 1 is foundational account and business setup. This phase ensures your business identity is correctly represented and verified within the Google Merchant Center. And this forms a foundation of trust between yourself and Google. So the first thing you want to do is enroll into all of the programs that you have access to in Google Merchant Center. You want to go into settings and then click on add-ons up here. Here on Discover, you'll see all of the programs that you aren't enrolled into. But as you can see in this Merchant Center, we have access to dynamic remarketing, Google customer reviews, product ratings, and promotions. And these are the 4 core ones that you want to enroll into in your Google Merchant Center if you haven't already. Dynamic remarketing is crucial for your whole Google Ads system to work for your e-commerce brand. Google customer reviews and product ratings adds that trust element and drastically increases your click-through rate and conversion rate on your ads. And promotions also does that, but allows you to advertise the discounts that you have on your page on the Google Shopping ad itself, meaning that you're able to beat your competitors and win that click. Therefore, they're able to buy more from you because you have a better offer than your competitors. So if you don't have dynamic remarketing, customer reviews, product ratings, and promotions in your Google Merchant Center, and they're inactive, then please do set them up and set them up properly so you can take advantage of the benefits that you gain from having these 4 add-ons live. Step 2 is your business information. So you want to head over here to business info, and you want to enter in your business details, make sure that they're truly accurate. Your online store, you want to verify and claim your online store. You want to give a link to your checkout in terms of your checkout settings, the accepted payment methods, as well as your business logo and colors for ads, which we'll get into in the next step as well. This is core in terms of keeping your Google Merchant
Center in good standing with Google and that you don't get yourself banned. If any of this isn't legit and isn't matching what's on your website, then you're going to get fined out and your account is going to get suspended. Google are ruthless with this. So make sure this is 100% accurate. Step 3 for this is setting up your branding. So in the same screen, you want to go edit logo and colors. And here you're able to add your square logo, your rectangular logo, your main color, and your accent color. This is important so your shopping ads are consistent with your overall branding and just gives it a much more professional feel. Plus, you're filling in more details into the Google Merchant Center, making yourself as a legit brand in Google's eyes. Therefore, they're able to trust you more and makes your account less prone to suspension. And then step 4, this is only applicable to you in the US if you have identity attributes. Again, you're going to go to business information and go edit business details. And if you scroll all the way down, you get business identity attributes. You can say you're woman-owned, veteran-owned, black-owned, Latino-owned, or small business. I tend to recommend just doing small business, even if you're not small, because it is just like a small business type of thing. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, any business below $40 million a year is classified as a small business. So basically everyone can turn this on except for a select few. So just turn on small business, it will click your click-through rate or social standing, whatever. Very minor, but just turn it on. And then for social profiles as well, add in your Instagram, add in your Facebook, add in any other social profiles you have to make your GMC and business information fully complete as possible. So that's phase 1 in terms of the business setup. Now we move on to phase 2, which is shipping, returns, and tax configuration, which is the main thing most brands get wrong when it comes to GMC, and is the thing that is going to suspend you first if you do get this wrong within your Google Merchant Center. First, you want to configure your shipping. So for Shopify stores, you want to go into your Google and YouTube sales channel, and then under your product feed settings, you want to ensure that shipping settings is set to manual setup settings in GMC, which means that your shipping settings aren't going to be automatically updated if you change something in Shopify. You want to keep it core and fixed within GMC so a random change doesn't mismatch your shipping policy and it makes it more likely for you to get tripped up. Google Merchant Center will have it as a flag and then your account will be suspended. So just make sure this is all manual. But then once it is manual, you just want to go on the left hand side here and click shipping and returns. And you just want to add in your shipping policies for all of the countries which you ship to. This brand here, they do Canada and the US, and they have shipping policies based on the shipping speed and the different shipping policies that people go for. You also need to add in your ship from location, make sure that is super accurate as well. For returns policies, again, this is the same thing. You'll have a standard return policy on your website. If you don't, you need one to run GMC. It's pretty much a requirement these days that you have like a very strong return policy. So add the return policy within the GMC. Make sure it's reflected as the one that's on your page. You have to link directly to the returns policy page, which is a specific one. And it's one of the things Google looks for in terms of if they want to ban your Google Merchant Center or not. So once you've done shipping and once you've done returns, the next phase is around product feed health and optimization. If you stick around to the end, I'll give you a link to the video which covers in-depth more product feed optimization, but specifically around the settings and setup of your GMC. You just want to audit your feeds. So to see which product feed you're using, go to the settings up here in the top right and click data sources, and you're able to see all of the data sources which you're putting into the GMC. Some product feeds can be found by Google, but if you have the Google and YouTube app within your Shopify, Content API is going to be the one which people feed into. This is where you also put your promotion sources if you don't want to do that manually. I do recommend you do that though, as well as your product review sources. So this is where your primary feed is going to be, identify it, check it, make sure it's updated, as well as any supplemental feeds which you have. This brand doesn't have one, but this is where they go to if you have one. Next, you want to diagnose and fix any issues within your product feed. So to do this, on the left hand side here, you go to products and you click needs attention. And here Google will tell you all the things that are wrong with every single one of your products inside of the product feed. As you can see here, there's a couple which are approved, but it's missing an age group. These are newly added products which we haven't got to yet, but this is only here to show you an example of what it looks like if there are errors within your product feed. Everything will be here under products needs attention. Just go through all of these systematically, make sure there's no errors. Google will tell you what's wrong and how to fix it. And then the last phase, phase 4, is enhancing trust and visibility. So the first thing you want to do for this is to add a promotion. Most people don't do this at all, and this is a massive optimization lever that you can pull to add in the promotions that you have in your store reflected on your GMC. This brand here is a buy two get one free offer, which is the core offer they've been running all this time. You are able to set this up within GMC, but most brands run a percentage off offer. That's way easier to set up, so you just do that there. To add the promotion, just click add promotion, go through all of the steps, and you're able to add your promotions here. Next is to activate the product ratings. So if you go on the left hand side here and click reviews, then under product reviews, if you've imported your review feed correctly, all of the reviews will be here. If there's any reviews with disapprovals, you need to check and see which ones are which, but you can see if all your reviews are coming in, you're able to have them there. And then the last thing in terms of trust and visibility is your shopping experience scorecard. This is Google's way to tell you what improvements you need on your store to have that trusted badge on your shopping listings, which differentiates you from your competitors. It covers shipping experience, return experience, purchase experience, browsing experience, if you're running promotion, all that type of stuff. Just go here and see which one's missing, and then you're able to add that in with the fixes, so you can edit your shipping details here, your return stuff here, your purchase experience here, browsing experience, all that type of stuff, to then get up to the exceptional point. And this is comparative to your competitors, so we are top number one in our industry for this because we have a well-optimized Google Merchant Center. So if you want your Merchant Center to look like this, just go through store quality and fix all of the things that are missing in here. And then lastly, for your account is just ongoing maintenance. So a healthy GMC requires regular checkups. Make sure every single week you're going through your product products in your diagnosis to fix any errors that are in red or any warnings in yellow that have appeared. Briefly review your shipping and returns policies on your website and make sure that they match what's configured in your GMC on a monthly basis. And as needed, if a new sale starts or promotion, add that to your GMC. When the sales end, make sure you have the end date properly done within your GMC promotions as well. Exactly how to optimize your Google Merchant Center product feed. Most brands think their Google ads are broken when in reality, their product feed is the real problem. Their titles are wrong, they don't have GTINs, the wrong attributes, and if these aren't optimized, you're burning money and you're not using one of the best campaign types you could be running for your e-commerce brand in Google Ads, which is shopping feed ads. This video is going to show you exactly how to fix your product feed so that every single one of your SKUs drives maximum conversions and profit and scale for your e-commerce brand. If you want access to this document I'm going through, click the first link in the description to get access to our full Google Ads e-commerce course. Just put in your email, I'll send it to your inbox immediately. When it comes to product feed optimization, there are some core things you need to optimize first, and the first one is around your product titles. The product title is the single most important attribute for search relevance and in terms of the success of your shopping ads. Your goal is a descriptive title between 130 and 150 characters, which has your highest volume keywords, any details around the product, so color, size, your second highest volume keywords, angles and USPs, multiple of them, and your brand name. To be able to change your product title and anything that we're going to be covering in this video, go to your Merchant Center. On the left here, click products, and then you're able to find all of the products here. You can also do this in Data Feed Watch or SimProcess, but just for the example of this video, we're going to do it in the GMC itself. And for this brand, as you can see, they have all optimized product titles. They got the make of the actual product itself. Apple Watch band is the high volume keyword that we're targeting. We've got all the sizes, we've got the USB combined with the high volume keyword, as well as some more USPs, it being 100% cotton and PFAS free. And to be able to change this, you just go into the SKU itself, click edit product here, and you're able to change the product title. As you can see on the example here, it's got the brand name and it's got Apple Watch band. So that's how you change your product title. The standard structure for a small brand who's looking to really try and push on cold traffic is to front load the product title with high volume keywords first, whilst then putting your brand name at the back. However, if you are a big brand and you want to have that as leverage for your shopping ads, then put your brand name first, then you put your high volume keywords, etc., etc. You just swap the brand name from the bottom to the top. High volume keywords are the main high impression keyword which everyone is searching to get to your product. It's the most product aware keyword for it. You want number one and number two always in your product titles. Variant fields is like colors, size, whether it's large, whether it's 12 ounce, whether it's white. All of this needs to be in here for people knowing what exact size that they're buying. Angles and USPs are then the differentiating factors between you and your competitors as the number one reason why someone would buy your product as opposed to someone else. And the brand name is obviously just your brand name. And again, to do this, you go into your products, click edit products here within your product feed, and you just edit the title here. So use that formula, copy and paste this whole bit into ChatGPT, then give it your product to be able to spit this out for you. And then you can change all the things that you need to change to it to get the high volume keywords, the two of them, which have the most impressions and the ones that are going to drive the most likelihood of conversion for you for your product title. That's the number one key thing you need to get right when it comes to your product feed optimization in your GMC. The next one is your product description. So you want to review your current description, because if you're pulling your description just from your website within Shopify in terms of the product listing in there, then it's not going to be the best. You do have an opportunity to front load a lot of different USPs and different benefits to this product description, which Google also uses for your targeting. So not as high leverage as your product title. The product title is obviously number one, but for this, you just want to focus on the product description, add in about 1,000 characters worth of copy in here around the key features, USPs, and a call to action to get them to buy, as well as more information about your product. Try and avoid promotional text in this. It's against Google's policies. And again, you want to front load, like an SEO article, all of the high volume keywords in your product description. And then the last thing in terms of optimizing your shopping ads is the product image itself. You need the highest quality, most standout product image that you can have for your product, whether it be just the product itself, whether it be in use, whether it be in different settings. Experiment with this to get the highest high quality product image possible. Say you're selling like a sofa, you can just have the product of the sofa itself, or you can have it in a living room set up in a nice lit way. Say you're selling golf clubs, you can just have it golf club on a white background, or you can have someone swinging with it and just like a close-up of it on the green. Here, because it's an Apple Watch band, we've got the Apple Watch itself and then we've got the band. Imagine if you just showed the band, it wouldn't actually make sense, but in context of the product which is made for, this does make sense here. And then we also have images of people wearing it as well for the shopping ad. But the main one is always going to be the product for this one. This is what we found worked best for this brand. Lastly, real quick, you just want to verify your brand. So if you're reselling, then you want to put the actual brand of the brand that you're reselling. If it's just your brand, put in your brand here, and then you're all done for that. So those are the core things you need to get right for every single one of your SKUs. Now, the rest of it, you can run shopping ads, and it's not going to affect the performance too much, but there are some really critical things which enable you to have more trust in Google's eyes. Therefore, your ads are going to perform better. I'm just going to go through them now. The things that are critical for accuracy and performance in your shopping campaigns to get success with your Google ads for your store is around product identifiers. Correct identifiers are essential for Google to understand your product and prevent performance limiting warnings. And all of these are all down here, so we'll just go through them one by one. Product type, you want to basically put your product into GPT and it'll give you the best product type to put in here for every single one of your SKUs. Same for the product category. There is always going to be a product type and a product category for your SKU. You just want to make sure you get the most accurate one there. Always put condition as new unless it is used, but most of you got to be new. Make sure the price is accurate and in stock availability. So for product identifiers, this is super important. You always want to make sure you're never changing the ID or the SKU. This will just mess up so much stuff. I don't have time to get into it, but just never change this. Have it just be imported from your data feed through some process of data feed watch or directly from your Shopify, which it will be once you've linked your GMC with your Shopify account. This brand in particular, they are custom made, so they don't have a GTIN, UPC, EAN, JAN, or ISBN. But if your product does, and it most likely does, contact your supplier for this and get this registered in. Just put in your barcode number and you'll be good to go on here. And this is what it looks like if your product does have a GTIN. This GTIN's in here. You just put it in here and then you click save. Next, you need to fill in detailed attributes for filtering and relevance. So people, when they do search on the shopping tab within Google search, they do like to filter by some things. So this just enables you to be more visible when people are searching for your products. Therefore, they're more likely to click it and then buy from you. If you have apparel, then this is where you put in your color, your size type, sizing systems, depending on the country, the gender for it, the material, the pattern for it, the age group. This is what people use in terms of filtering, in terms of shopping. So you want to make this as accurate as possible. Additional details, if it's part of a bundle, if it's an adult product, if it's an electronic, then you can put the energy class here. Shippings and returns, this is always going to be pulled from either your Shopify or your shipping and returns policy within your GMC, which you already should have set up from one of the previous videos that we've done. And then here you have additional product attributes where you have your COGS, the sale quantity on Google, the currency, that type of stuff. All of this, very minor in terms of the actual performance of the ads, but in terms of trust and visibility for your ads, you want to go into as much detail as you can, depending on the product itself. Lastly, here you can use custom labels for better organization. If you have a lot of SKUs and you just want to label them all one particular category for targeting and filtering within your Google ads themselves, then you can label them here. This one's a small band, so it's on 1. However, the largest SKU has 2 on it. So we're able to go 1 and 2 to get all of the product IDs in a really simple way within the Google ads themselves. And we're able to see our small bands working best, large bands, etc. Again, these are fully custom. These are all to do with you and your filtering, making your life as your brand much more efficient. But this is why you add in the custom labels here within the GMC itself. And then lastly, there's a couple of things you don't want to do. You never want to edit price, availability, or sales price within your GMC. You always want to do it in Shopify itself, and that will be reflected back into your GMC, because Google Merchant Center often checks if there's a mismatch between the price that's on your website and the price that it's given here. And if there is a mismatch, and it's going to flag you as a warning, and it's going to flag you as a warning again, then you got to change it, and it's going to pull a different price, and it's all just going to get messed up. You never want to do that. So never change price, never change availability, never change sales price within your Google Merchant Center itself. So that's exactly how to optimize your product feed when it comes to your Google Merchant Center. Most people overcomplicate this. They overcomplicate titles, they overcomplicate descriptions, images. It is very simple. It's a lot of work if you do have a lot of SKUs, but once you get it right, your shopping results are going to go massive, I promise you, if you follow all the instructions in this video. So again, if you want to get access to this specific SOP or a full e-commerce Google Ads course, then click the first link in the description, put in your email, I'll send it to you absolutely free. This is exactly how to prevent your Google Merchant Center from being banned. The worst thing that can happen for your e-commerce store is getting your GMC banned, which means you can't run feed ads, you can't run shopping ads, you can't even run the best part of PMAX. So you want to do everything that you can to avoid a GMC suspension. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly everything you need to do, a step-by-step checklist that you can follow to make sure that you do not get suspended on GMC. If you want access to this full checklist on screen, it's part of our full e-commerce Google Ads course. It's got 13 modules, free bonuses, literally everything you need to scale your e-commerce brand. It's number 10 here, which is the GMC checklist. If you want a copy of this, just download it for free. Click the first link in the description, put in your email, and I'll send it to your inbox in seconds. And by the end of this video, you will have a bulletproof GMC account, which means that you're basically guaranteed not to get suspended as long as you're still in the good books in Google's ads, which is all that matters, so that you can scale your e-commerce brand with the best campaigns on Google Ads, Google Shopping, PMAX, take advantage of the placement which is made for e-commerce, which is shopping, and sleep well at night knowing that your GMC isn't going to get banned by some shenanigans that Google's going to throw at you because you followed this checklist. So that being said, let's just get into it. There's 34 items on this checklist. There's no other sexy way other than just going through these one by one. So what you can do is, as I go through them, pause it, go check that it's on your GMC. And if it is, great. If it's not, you can change it right away. That's the action I want you to take in this video. And then once you've done it, you can come back and just go through these step by step. And then once you're done by the end of this video, you'll have a bulletproof GMC account for your e-commerce brand. You'll never get suspended and you'll be good to go. They're split into different categories. We've got payment and checkout, product listings, branding, shipping information, returns, legal compliance, contact info, and store design and performance. Each of these has its own frequency, stuff that you should do daily, stuff that you should do weekly, monthly, and just once. So there's a lot to cover here. Let's just get started. First one, you want to maintain SSL security on your checkout pages. Google requires this on your checkout for secure transactions. So just make sure your checkout URL starts with https://. Most websites do this, but if you don't, fix this. Really easy win here. Next one in checkout is testing all your payment methods. Make sure you test your PayPal, your credit cards, your Bitcoin, your Klarna, your Afterpay, any other stuff that you have in terms of a payment method. If the customer can complete your purchase, then that's going to be a bad customer experience. Google's going to try and go through your checkout as well to make sure that it's compliant. If it isn't, then this is a really easy fix. Plus, you want to fix this anyway. Because you can list the payment method, but if the payment method isn't actually working within the GMC, then that's actually an error and they're going to suspend your account for that. Next is reviewing the final price for transparency. If you have any sales taxes, particularly on the state, if you have any shipping discrepancies, depending on where you're shipping to, all of this needs to be fully reflected within the checkout. And Google's going to go through your checkout with all the different configurations of where you are, sales tax, where they're shipping to make sure that the price is reflected and accurate to the data that they have within Shopify and within the GMC that which you set up yourself. So you just want to make sure that your taxes are set up, your shipping fees set up, you show the final price before payment, and then you can also run test orders to confirm accurate calculations in this as well. Then lastly, for payment and checkout, any discount code functionality, you just want to test this. Your promotion isn't even going to go live in GMC if you can't apply the code within the checkout. Google's going to test that before your promotion even goes live. But if there are any promotions which you're actively running on GMC, which happen to be approved, but then they go down, that's a massive flag. You want to test this and make sure all your promotions are working as part of your GMC setup. Next is around your product listings. So you want to review all your product claims for accuracy, remove any exaggerated claims or any unverifiable claims, stick to factual benefits and features. And if you are using scientific claims, well, first of all, good luck, because Google's not really going to care in the first place, but you do want to actually provide credible resources, not only in terms of your shopping listings, product descriptions, but also on your landing page specifically. False and misleading claims can cause misrepresentation, they can cause unreliable claims, they can cause clickbait on your ads. You never want this. So just make sure that if you are selling something which is in the health space or you are making claims, make sure that they're accurate, make sure that they aren't sensationalized. You can use direct response principles, but you also want to tread on the side of carefulness when you are running GMC stuff. And to be fair, this is the biggest thing that hits brands, so you just want to check this and make sure that it works. Next, verify review authenticity and recency. I know you dropshippers, you'd like to fake all your reviews just for a quick buck, but if you're trying to do that on Google Merchant Center, it's not going to be the case. You want legit reviews, you want a flow within Klaviyo to claim your reviews, and you also want to have that review feed come into your Google Merchant Center via your judge so that you can show those reviews and that star rating on your shopping listings themselves. Real quick one in terms of product availability. Anything that's out of stock, make sure that it's marked out of stock and sold out. If you have in stock and ready to ship on your page, but then it's out of stock, that's a violation. You want to make sure that that's like dynamic to your actual stock itself. You can't just show that and then have something out of stock. It just doesn't make sense. Google's going to flag you for that and ban your account for that. Real quick CRO stuff, check any links that are on your page, especially on the product page to the shopping listing. Google's going to go through all your links and make sure that they're actually linking to where they're meant to be linking to. If there's any discrepancies in there, then it's going to flag you as a scam and you're going to get suspended. So just check all your links. Pricing accuracy is another big thing which hits a lot of e-commerce brands. Any mismatches between the product pages and the checkout lead to abandoned carts and most importantly GMC disapprovals. So you want to check if the listed price matches the checkout price. Ensure discounts apply at checkout accurately. Make sure that the price that's on the page is the same that's in the GMC, and make sure that they're like automatically synced so there's no changes and discrepancies there, because that's a massive flag which will get hit for your Google Merchant Center as well. A lot of those will also get you banned, so you don't want to do that. Next, into branding. This is really low leverage stuff, but the more that you can do, the better to prevent suspensions. Optimize your logo quality and placement. Add in all your brand information within your GMC. You want to verify your URL and business information within GMC. You need to do this in your setup anyway. This is just something that you just do once. Monthly, you want to update your homepage branding, messaging, and visuals. This is for CRO stuff, but also just keeping it up to date, looking fresh is something which is a reputable brand. If you're just using like a default Shopify theme, that's going to be low trust in the customer's eyes. Not only is your performance going to be worse, but in Google's Merchant Center eyes, you're going to look more like a scam. And lastly, another CRO thing, but Google Merchant Center does care about this. Just checking your navigation, checking your hamburger menu, and making sure that there's no broken links. There's direct links to the contact page, home, products, about, return policy, shipping policy, subscription management, all that type of stuff on your website that Google can check, and they will check it automatically with their bots. Some really important stuff here now in terms of shipping information. You want to match your website shipping settings with GMC. This is done within your shipping return section. You should have already set up your shipping policy. It's going to be one of the big flags that Google flags you to do once you're setting up your merchant center. But if this is out of date or out of sync, then it's going to get flagged and you're going to get suspended. So make sure that this is always in sync. If your shipping costs and delivery times change, you want to reflect this within your GMC. We had a problem with this with one of our bigger clients where they changed their shipping stuff. They managed to get their COGS down in terms of the shipping shipping costs in terms of changing your shipping supplier, but that wasn't reflected within the GMC. There was suspensions, it was down for a week and we had to get it back up. So that's just something that you get hit with. You need to make sure that you're ahead of the game on this one. Luckily, we're able to get it back up immediately because we know what we're doing. You want transparency with a courier service. This is again within your shipping policy. If you use different courier services, whether you use UPS or FedEx or DHL, just make sure that you have that reflective in your shipping policy page as well as in the shipping policy of your GMC. And lastly, this is something that Google does care about, which is your order tracking functionality. Make sure that this works. Your customer service team will be getting hits from this, but you also just want to make sure that the courier has a reflective one themselves. If you use a trusted one, then this is fine, but this is just something to mention in terms of making sure your GMC doesn't get suspended. Moving on to returns and refunds, which is another big thing which Google cares about. You just want a clear step-by-step return instructions put into your return policy section within your GMC, but also reflected on your website. And when you set that up inside of your Google Merchant Center, you need to link to your returns policy page on your website in the first place. If you don't have a returns policy or shipping policy or a terms of service on your website, you will get suspended, guaranteed. So you need this. Refund processing timings is also part of that return stuff as well. Make sure that those are updated monthly. Return periods up to date with the best marketing practices. If you have any outdated return policies, this will confuse customers, increase disputes, which flags Google as a sign of unreliable business. So you just want to make sure that your return policies are the best that you can make them. Test your links. Again, any broken links, Google can't access them, your customers can't access them. Therefore, it's going to lead more likely to a suspension. And every single month, you just want to verify your return address and timing information accuracy, making sure that your customers always have the right information to return your products. Again, Google really cares about this. So they want a good experience for the people that use the platform. If they get scammed through Google, then it's a big red flag for them. Therefore, they have really strict policies in terms of being on GMC. This is just part and parcel of playing the game on there. Next, we have legal compliance. It's just 3 of these. Review and update your terms and conditions when on your website. Ensure your privacy policy reflects your current data practices. This will all be default within Shopify in the first place. And then just test all your footer links and make sure that all of the policies are in your footer themselves. So you got your return, you got your about, you got your terms of service, you got your contact us, you got your shipping, you got your subscription management, you got literally everything that you need in your footer, because that's where Google checks all of the links that it needs to be able to verify if you're a trusted brand or not. Next is contact info. Every single month, just verify the physical address of your business is the same one that you're currently in now. Again, any inconsistent details do lead to suspension. Test your customer service phone number functionality. You could have entered one of the numbers in wrong or imported incorrectly. Just make sure that this is fine. If you don't have a customer service number, you kind of need one to run on GMC, unfortunately, or at least a way in which people can easily contact you. Most people default to email, but phone number is actually a really high trust badge there for GMC, so I would consider doing that. Branded email address, don't use a generic one like Gmail. Just make sure that you have the actual domain, like support at your store name. That'll be easy to set up. Just make sure that that's there. Set up that once. Cross-check all your contact details across all of Google's platforms, so make sure that it's the same across GMC, Google Merchant Center, Google Ads, all of your accounts across Google. Make sure that that's all synced and all the same. We do this for all of our clients. And as I already said, you want to maintain your active SSL certificate across all of your domain. Lastly, a bit of CRO, but also Google really cares about this in terms of the brand and the user experience itself. Test your website loading speed and optimize user navigation paths. If you have a slow website, people are going to bounce off anyway, so you've paid for that click, you've wasted it, and Google will mark you down for having a slower website compared to your competitors in terms of the CPCs that you need to pay. You're going to lose your trusted seller badge in terms of your store ratings, so make sure that you have a really fast page. Update the design of your store, make sure that it's properly branded and official. Don't use default themes, make sure that you have a proper brand design and design language around your brand. High quality, no AI gen stuff, high quality images, clear fonts, etc., etc. Product images and product descriptions are really big in this as well, not only in terms of increasing your conversion rate, but Google cares about how you're displaying the products on your page and if they're congruent with what you're actually showing within the GMC itself. So make sure those are linked up. And then lastly, test all the apps and plugins for proper functionality. If there's any dead apps on your store, it's going to slow your store down. But if there's anything people do actively use and not working, then it's also going to be a flag for the user experience, which is going to flag to Google, which is then going to flag to your GMC, which is then going to get your GMC banned. So I'll do this and all of these things to make sure your GMC doesn't get banned. So as you saw, there's a lot to cover here in terms of your Google Merchant Center and keeping it unsuspended. If you do get suspended, it probably is one of these 34 things which messed you up. Google won't tell you exactly what it is, but if you've got to the end of this video and you've checked out every single thing in this box, you're like, yep, got that, then congratulations, you got a perfect Google Merchant Center account. Again, if you want access to this checklist, it's just here free in our Ecommerce Google Ads Mastery course. Everything that you need to scale your Google Ads, copywriting, conversion tracking, shopping ads, performance max, YouTube ads, cold search ads, swipe files and bonuses, everything you need to do that. First link in the description. Also, if you want us to set up or scale your e-commerce brand with our cold traffic systems, and click the second link in the description to demandcapture.com. Booking a call there, we'll see if you're a good fit to work with us. And lastly, if you want to learn how to scale your e-commerce brand with YouTube ads, which most brands aren't doing, as well as not having a good GMC, then click this video on screen here. We go through a full case study of exactly how to scale your e-commerce brand with YouTube ads on Google. I'll see you in that video.
If you're currently using AI to write your Google ads and they're converting like absolute garbage, then chances are that you're not using it correctly. So in today's video, I'm breaking down the exact internal AI workflow we use here at Demand Capture to generate Google Ads copy that actually converts and has generated over $10 million in new customer customer revenue for our clients. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini combined to do deep research on your brand, write all of the Google Ads assets for you, and speed up your campaign creation process by 10x. By the end, you have an AI workflow for your Google Ads campaigns, which will take you from spending 8 hours to make campaigns all the way to 30 minutes. And because I want you to actually implement this, not just watch this video, click off, and then forget about it, I'm giving away everything that you need to set up this workflow inside of your e-commerce brand. In the first link in the description below, you'll get access to our demand capture AI workflow process. This includes the master Google Ads prompt, which I'll be referencing later in the video. You'll also get a step-by-step SOP that you can follow in your own time to set up this whole process, and the timestamps linking back to this video, which you're watching now, so you can follow along in real time. Again, this is the exact AI campaign creation process we use for all of our brands here at Demand Capture, from brands that we just onboard who are just starting out on Google Ads, all the way to brands who are spending $150,000, $200,000 per month profitably. So again, you can get everything that we're going to cover in this video in the link in the description. With that being said, let's get into it. So the first part of all this is to get your brand research together. And all we need to do that is to create an understanding and train a large language model, in this case ChatGPT, on the exact characteristics of the brand, but not only the branding context, but the market context too. So even though you may know a lot about your brand, this is still a useful exercise to do, just so you have the context profile ready to throw into any large language model to create any asset that you need, not even just for Google Ads, but for your meta ads copy, for your landing page copy, for your emails, just so you're giving any AI that you're using instant, really detailed context about your brand, what you sell, who you sell to, your unique positioning in the market, and any other relevant information that it needs to write the most compelling outputs for your brand. So right here on screen is the prompt that you'll be using. There's no need to pause the video and type it out now. You'll get this included in the workflow pack, which is the first link in the description. You can just copy the prompt and then paste it in here to follow along. And just so you're aware, this is the best way to prompt engineer anything in AI. You first give it a role, you give it context, and you say the task you want it to complete. You give it examples of what you're looking for, give it constraints so it can work in a box, and then what you want the output to look like. So the role here is a world-class direct response copywriter with a deep expertise in writing persuasive e-commerce copy that converts cold traffic into paying customers. You're giving it some context, which is going to be the PDF we'll get from the website in a second. We're going to perform a comprehensive audit on the website, identify strengths, weaknesses, and missed psychological triggers, give them some examples of things to look for, some constraints to be aware of, and some output. And the example we're going to use is Ridge. They sell wallets, wedding bands, luggages, cases, and power banks. We're just going to go with the wallets for now. So if we go to wallets, just go on one of their original wallets, and we've got the full product page here. So what we're going to do is press Command P if you're on a Mac. You'll be able to save it as a PDF, and we'll save it as a PDF here. And now we've uploaded the PDF, we're just going to hit enter on that prompt. And what we're doing here is that even though this will be useful for you to understand anyway for your own brand, we're just training this chat window on our brand and on our product. So we've got value proposition, emotional logical persuasion, call to actions, voice of customer, proof mechanisms, offer positioning, copy structure and flow, conversion blockers here, any missed psychological levers, and we've got some optimization suggestions here as well. So this isn't one of their funnels, this is just straight up product page from organic traffic. Obviously they have high converting copy on their advertorials, but this will give us a good start. So now we've got prompt 2, which is this one. You're an elite level advertising strategist and deep researcher with expertise in writing highly converting Google Ads copy. Here we go. We're giving it the context, the task, the examples, the constraints, and the output. So again, this prompt is in that workflow pack. We're just going to enter this one here, and this will give us an extremely powerful copy research framework. And again, we're not going to be using this framework directly, but we are just training ChatGPT to think about being an expert researcher and all the things that it would need to be able to do a full audit of the brand. Everything that's necessary for the big deep research prompt, which you're going to be doing next. But this is cool. You can kind of see some other stuff that you might be interested in as well for your product, like product intelligence, customer psychographics, competitors, keyword and intent mapping, which is really powerful stuff that we do here at Demand Capture, market level strategic positioning, guarantees and offering. Again, all this stuff is really useful to understand even for your own brand. That shows Google Ads copy isn't just clever, it's inevitable. Which is some AI stuff, but we'll get rid of that for now. So we've given this chat an idea about our product. We've given this chat an idea about how to do deep research. Now we need to actually do that deep research. And if you weren't aware, the best way to get the best prompts for AI is to use AI. So this is the prompt we're going to be using for this prompt. You're a prompt engineer designing a deep research prompt for an elite advertising strategist tasked with writing high converting Google Ads copy. You now fully understand the comprehensive research process required to write world-class ad copy. You've been trained on the structure, voice, product, audience, and positioning of my e-commerce brand. Write a single, highly detailed prompt that I can paste into a new GPT-4 session with deep research mode enabled to extract everything I need to know about my own brand before writing any copy. So we're just going to press this, and this will give us the prompts that we need necessary. Now that we've got this here, we're just going to press copy down here, move over to Gemini, and then paste it into here. We're going to tools, deep research, and just for extra padded security, we're going to add in the PDF of the product page as well as the actual website itself. So I've just uploaded the PDF of the product page again, and I'm just going to do https ridge.com. And now that it's got this and it's on deep research, you can just press enter into Gemini. And we use Gemini for deep research because it's Google. And I've always found that the Google deep research is way better than anything else at the moment. Your mileage may vary. Of course, AI is really fast moving, so this process could be out of date. And I will make an updated video based on this. If you go into the description, you'll be able to get the most up-to-date version of this. But as of right now, Gemini is best for deep research. And because this deep research is going to take around 15 to 20 minutes, this is the longest part of it. But you can just get up, boil the kettle, make a tea, come back, and then all this work is done for you. And again, this used to take weeks, if not months, of pure customer research and market research before you did anything. But you can just go to Google and get 80% of the way there through deep research using AI. And then we're going to use this output to create our brand context profile, including our brand, but also our market, our customers, and our product. So before we do deep research, we'll always be offered a plan. It's just a 2-step so you don't waste any credits. We're going to press start research and then we'll get started. So what you can see about deep research as well is that you can see everything that it's researching. On ChatGPT, it will just show you your thinking, but you can really get a full gamut of, okay, it's going on Reddit, it's going on YouTube, and it has full access to all of this simultaneously. So it's way more powerful, has access to way more relevant information. I don't think chat goes through YouTube videos, for instance, which is probably a gold mine for finding products or voice of customer stuff for your customer research, because people are just speaking authentically. But like I said, this is super comprehensive. It's going to take a while, so I'll see you back in 15 minutes. As you can see, the deep research completed, and what I need to do now is copy and paste this exact output and put it into Google Drive, just so that we can store it and archive it, so we can always come back to it if you want to update it, and also go through it, because, you know, it's like over 31 pages long, and imagine trying to do this way back in the day. Now we just got this to do about 80% of the results. Again, if you haven't done this for your brand, there's probably a lot of different information that you can get in terms of angles and brainstorming. You've also got offers here and reframing, emotional and logical buy triggers. There's even pulling in audience awareness levels. It's just crazy that it goes into this much detail here. And it's a good look at everything that we need to know to write the best ad copy that we can for Google Ads. So what we need to do now is create a custom avatar JSON file. If you don't know what JSON is, it's basically the best language in which you can communicate to a large language model. Instead of just typing into English, you give it certain parameters where it clearly understands that this variable is linked to this output here. That's all you really need to know about JSON. We're going to use AI to do a lot of the work for us. We've used ChatGPT, we've used Gemini now for the deep research. We're going to do the rest of this stuff in Claude. Claude I find best for creating JSON context profiles, but then also writing copy. And for creating the context profiles, we're going to be using this prompt here. The role is a world-class AI prompt engineer and brand strategist, just giving it some context about the deep research we've collected, the task, examples, constraints, and then output, similar format to all of our other prompts so far. What this will do here is create a customer avatar JSON, market context JSON, brand context JSON, and then a full context profile for us. Once it's done all four, we'll just use the full context one at the end, but we wanted to think in stages where it really breaks down in full detail all of these different areas to make one master context profile. So what we're going to do is go over to the document here. I've exported it into a drive, Command A, Command C, go back to Claude, paste it in. I'll just paste down here. And we're using Sonnet 4 here. We're just going to hit enter. And what Claude's going to do based on our prompt is go through all of our research and create the JSON files based on that. And as you can see here, it's creating the avatar one over here. You can see how much detail it's going into too. Imagine trying to type all of this out or just having this in a PDF. Like you're really communicating in exact detail what you want your AI to be thinking about your brand. And it's getting all of this from the deep research which we did, which we pre-programmed to be the most effective through our ChatGPT usage. So we haven't even hit Google Ads yet. We haven't even done the copy. This is all in the prep. But the best Google Ads copy is going to come from the best amount of prep that you do. If you do bad inputs, you're going to get bad outputs. So we want our inputs to be as good as possible, which means we're going to have the outputs which are as good as they need to be. Now it's moving on to the market context one. So it's giving the pricing tiers, competitors, indirect competitors, target keywords, competitive landscape, market overview, all this type of stuff. This is a full understanding of Rich here. And it might seem redundant to do these 3 context profiles, but we're really doing our due diligence and making sure we have all the information to give to AI so it's giving us the best output possible. This might also happen here where your response is paused because it's reached its max length. You just want to hit continue and it will continue doing it for you. So this full context profile is still going. It's really taking all the information that I had from the research, from the prompting that we've been doing, all of the prep to give us this massive context profile. And we can use this for everything that we need. So if you want to save these for a next session, then download them, keep them offline, upload them to Google Drive, and you yourself keep using this, or all of your team uses this as well to get a full instant understanding of your brand. Cool. Now we have this, we're finally ready to write the Google Ads, but we need one more context profile. You don't need to write this one because I'm going to give it to you. It's in the first link in the description for this whole workflow. This is the JSON that we're going to use. You can download this JSON file in that workflow. Cool. So I just uploaded this JSON file here. Just for due diligence, I'm going to copy this full context one, add it into this chat here, and we're just going to type this in here. Based on the JSON files that I've given you, please create all of the Google Ads assets I would need for my brand. And that's all you need. Press enter and we watch it do magic. So as you can see here, it's doing search and PMAX campaigns first because the JSON file is trained on all the best practices for Google Ads. The last wallet you'll buy, 44,000 5-star reviews, all these headlines here. You've got the long headlines here, descriptions, demand gen campaign stuff. We've got all the site links that you need to use, all of the call outs, the structured snippets. We even got suggestions for price extensions here, campaign specific asset variations for problem aware keywords, solution aware keywords, product aware keywords, most aware keywords, testing variations in terms of competitor campaigns, responsive search ad examples, and we've also got performance match specific assets as well. As you can see, we've got all of the content that we need for any search campaign at all. Now, if you just wanted to do your shopping title for this particular product as well, you can say, generate me the shopping title for the product. And you click enter there. What it'll do, because it's trained on the context profile for the Google ads, it'll give you the shopping title. The Ridge Gumlet Wallet, Minnows RFID blocking aluminum slim wallet for men, lifetime warranty. Got alternative titles here, product variations, keyword optimized variations, competitor titles, C-stop promotional titles if you wanted to. It also gives an explanation of why it works as well. So you've got a whole bunch of shopping titles for this one SKU. You can do that across all your other product feeds. And so as you can see, we've fully built an AI which will do all of our Google ad copy for us. Just going back to the original stuff for a second, some of these you may want to change. For example, aerospace grade materials is, to be fair, a pretty bad headline. Stop buying cheap wallets, also maybe a bit of a call out, maybe not on brand, but this gives you a whole chunk to start with. I like to say that AI can get you about 80-90% of the way there. It's now down to you to understand what actually is best practice to get you there. But hopefully this video gives you a good starting to be able to write effective Google ads with AI. As you just saw, most of the time is actually spent on research and prepping AI to understand our brand the best that we can, because once you have that foundation right, the copy generation becomes incredibly effective and really simple and fast. As you saw, it was just one simple line prompt and we were able to do it perfectly. And of course, AI is always changing. This might be outdated tomorrow, next week, next month. If you want the full up-to-date workflow, first link in the description to get access to the Google Ads JSON prompt we just used, plus the workflow if you want to replicate the brand JSON context profiles that we just generated. But to be fair, have a play around with it. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, and you want to leverage it to get you to 80% of the way there. Then you have the final human touch to get you to 100% super effective Google Ads copy for your e-commerce brand.
In this video, I'm going to show you the one super easy 24x ROAS Google Ads campaign that every single ecom brand should have. And if you don't have it, then I'm just bearer of bad news, but you're going to get 0 sales and you're going to have 1,000 one-star reviews on your Trustpilot. And you're not going to be able to get rid of them. They're going to be there forever. And that's just going to be the case of it. So this is what this campaign looks like, where you can spend $858 and get 24x ROAS. You can spend $64. We just started this one. This is what it looks like. You spend $64 and you get 1.5k back. Now that's crazy for Google Ads, but I'm going to show you how you can do it and why every single ecom brand needs a branded search campaign, which is what it is. Don't know who I am? I'm Jordan. I run demandcapture.com. We run Google Ads for ecom brands on a 100% performance basis. So if you want to scale on Google and get stuff like this, plus all the other resources that I have on my channel, book a call, landing page, watch the VSL, whatever, just book a call, and we'll scale you up. Cool. So what is a branded search campaign, which is the campaign I'm talking about? So branded search campaign is the search campaign on the core branded search terms. So for example, if you type in Nike, what you have here is the sponsored bit, and this is the search ad. So this is branded search campaign. So you type in the brand name and you get an ad. Imagine this, but like this is your brand essentially. So you got like the official site, you got the site links. But why is Nike of like a quadrillion per year brand running branded search campaigns? Because you would hear you don't want to run stuff on your own keywords, right? Like people are going to buy that anyway. But no, Nike still out here running branded search. Why are they doing that? Surely if someone Googled Nike, they would just go straight to Nike and buy it, right? Well, let's compare the organic results and this result, right? So here they have like the search results, and this is the organic results. Now I'm in Vietnam, whatever, like just ignore the VN, but this is what they have for the SEO stuff in terms of like Vietnam. If you saw in the US, it'd be the same. So this is like the SEO results, the organic results, and this is the stuff you actually can control directly through the ad itself. And if you take a look at Googling just Nike, you'd have the ad right at the top, and then you'd have the organic stuff. So you're taking up everything above the fold. And the difference is, you notice, is that there's a flash sale for the sponsored one. There's direct response copy between the two. So one has to be like super branded for the organic stuff and the SEO. One is just like, hey, buy this, buy now. Number 3 is it says official site, like so you know that this is official, like this is the one that you're going to. 4 has direct links to collections, memberships, bestsellers. So it's like the direct links are more linked to selling rather than about us and here's our story, other stuff. Plus the ad is just bigger because you can take up more space because you'll have more real estate to play with. You've got the images, you've got the call outs, you've got the site links, you've got the prices, you've got the images, like everything. So all good things that you would pay, $64 for, plus get 1.5k, plus you take up so much above default. But that's just not the only benefits of a branded search campaign. There's so much more to it. Here are 5 reasons why every single ecom brand needs to run a branded search campaign. And I'll just go through them all. So number 1, it takes up more space on the search engine results page on the SERP. So if you have the paid ads and the organic ads, and then you have the shopping ads over here, right? I just realized I was pointing at the screen, but I've got my cursor and you can't actually see my finger pointing. So you've got the paid ads at the top, with your search term, and then you got the organic results. So imagine anyone trying to buy from you. You just want them to be flooded with your brand name, right? On first instance, they type in your brand name and you're just there completely. And they got the shopping results on the side as well. So like you're just completely covered. This is the official site because you typed in that and you're basically giving the customer exactly what they're looking for when they're typing in your brand name. Number 2, you are level 70 Tauren warrior, protection warrior tanking Illidan with the Bulwark of Azinov. Like you are protecting your branded term from all other people who are looking to build it, right? Because what will happen when you get big is that people, your competitors specifically, will be like, oh, I'm going to bid on this branded term. So when someone types this in and they're looking for this particular product, I'm going to be there with the superior product. So I'm going to put an ad saying us versus them, and here's why we're superior. And if you just start this early, then that basically just doesn't happen because Google basically says, okay, you're the official person, we'll give you ad rank over this particular person who's trying to build on you. That's just how it works. So you want to protect your brand from other competitors, just to make sure that they aren't stealing active customers from you. This is really prevalent in the SaaS space. Ecom, not so much, but I've seen it a couple times. But this is just a really good reason why you'd want to, spend $1 per conversion just to protect your brand name. Number 3, you are, maxed out 2277 at the Grand Exchange, looking to buy something, looking to buy some sharks or whatever, and someone says, hey, this is the official shark store, trusted sharks are here, and you're going to buy from there, aren't you? Instead of like some random guy who's, standing at the wilderness line trying to lure you in and steal your GP. Like, so by inducing a purchase from someone who's like simply Googling you, say they're like looking up your brand because they saw an ad on Facebook or whatever, or they saw some organic content. If you're able to put an ad in front of them, which is an offer to induce the purchase out of them, they may have been searching for your brand to find some more info, but now they're actually going to buy something, so which is what you want essentially. Number 4, it gathers cheap conversion data for rest of campaigns. So let's compare these two, right? So these are all your campaigns without the branded search campaign. So you got the conversion action in the middle, which is purchase conversion action. And that's feeding itself back and forth with the PMAX, and it's feeding itself back and forth with the shopping and the shorts and all that stuff as well. But if you've got a branded search campaign, what it does is that it's this giant blob of conversions which are super cheap and super high intent, which Google can go, oh, we want to target people like that. And you're just basically giving your conversion action so much more information to where these now become bigger and better, right? So the more conversion actions, of the purchase actions that you want on your conversion action, right? The more of those you get, the better the rest of the campaigns will perform. So you just want the branded search campaign for this anyway, because you're getting cheap conversions and it makes all your campaigns perform better. So not only are you getting more sales at really high ROAS, not only are you protecting your brand name, not only are you taking up more results on the search engine page, but you're actually loading up the conversion actions to get your campaign to perform way better. So you see how you need a branded search campaign. And then finally, it adds safety to the customer buying journey. So you are, Mrs. Animal Crossing going into Uniqlo Animal Crossing and go, oh, this is the official Uniqlo store in Animal Crossing. I'm going to buy from here, not from some other scammy store. So they might be searching for it. Say they're looking for, I don't know, some socks, and they want to find Nike socks. And there's like a retailer or something or a wholesaler who's selling like knockoff Nike socks, but this is the official one. You can verify it. It's got the right thing and it's sponsored at the top. Like that gives a lot of confidence to customers who are searching for your brand, who they may have seen it from Facebook or whatever, to know that that is the official site that they can purchase from and trust. So those are the 5 reasons why branded search campaigns. Now, what happens when you don't run one is this. You rely on your SEO copy for the search engine results page, which is often branded and doesn't increase the buying temperature of someone who's looking up for your brand in the first place. So again, they see you on Facebook, they go, where's the first place to go after they see your ad on Facebook? They don't necessarily click, but they have it in their mind because of the frequency. They go to Google to search it, right? They don't go back to Facebook to try and find the ad, right? It's unreliable. They go to a reliable source where they can search up stuff, which is embedded in our human consciousness, is Google. So you go to Google, type in your brand name, and you're there. But if it's just like your SEO stuff, that might not be the most optimized thing, especially if you haven't really paid attention to that yet, or you haven't really got around to it. Whereas if you had a branded search ad, bang, right there, done. Competitors can bid on your branded term and steal your customers to tailor ads. So again, as I said earlier, your brand versus competitor or your brand best alternative, like this does happen and this can happen. You can prevent this like really cheaply, really easy, just for like $2 per conversion, $1 per conversion, very easy. It doesn't make it easy for potential customers to buy from you. So you got to make it super easy for people who want to buy from you to buy from you. So the bigger the button that they can press to get you to buy, the more likely they're going to buy, right? So if it's just right at the top and also below it and then also to the side as well, you're just like, hey, just buy. Like this is what's going to happen. It just makes it way easier for people to buy from you if you have that branded search ad at the top there. You miss out on loading your conversion action with high intent conversion data. Again, this is what happens. So you miss out on this, which is loading your conversion action with all the data, and it feeds it back into the other campaigns. And then finally, customers might not buy from you because they don't trust the domain when they Google you. Even though it comes up with the organic results, if it is just like sponsored and the official site and buy now and shop now and our latest collections, it's got our story and everything, and it's got the images, like it makes it, we're stupid, right, as human beings, so it just makes it super easy for us to go, oh, that is the official one, I'll just go click that one. So that's what it is. How to set up a branded search campaign. Let me show you that now. You go to sales, and you don't want any of these conversion actions. You want purchase to make sure your conversion stuff is good. So you go purchase, and you want to be search, and you want website visits. Type in your website name. So I'm going to elephants.com, whatever. And then you want to name it something. So I'd name it like the agency name, and then elephants, and then search brand. So you know it's a branded search campaign. Anyway, continue. Now for bidding, very important, right? The bidding strategy is super important. You want to go impression share. We never ever use this bidding strategy unless for branded search campaigns, because what you actually want is not conversions. You want impression share. You want to take up the whole space, and naturally those conversions will happen. If you go conversion or conversion value, what it's going to do is, one, not show your ad to anyone who's searching your brand name all the time. You want it to be as close to 100% as possible, right? Because you're optimizing more for the impression and the customer journey and taking up more space on the search engine results page than you are conversions. But two, if you do impression share and then you go absolute top of impression share, and you type in 95%, so 95% of the time when someone types it in, it'll be at the absolute top. Most likely it'll be 100%. And then you set the maximum CPC limit to around $3. It's end up going to be like 1 cent a click, 2 cent a click, especially on your brand name. This is just how it works. This is the best way to set it up, where the CPCs are like 1 cent, 2 cent. Like the max I've seen is like 50 cents, right? And even if you put a daily budget on it, it's never going to spend that much unless you get like a huge influx of traffic. But that's kind of what you want, right? And then 95% of the time, it's going to be at the top of the search page. This is exactly what you're optimizing for, and the conversions will just naturally happen. You'll get more conversions doing it this way than maximizing conversions, and it will be cheaper. This is just the best way, and you don't want to optimize for new customers. We want to turn off the search network, turn off the display network, go into the country that you are located in. But remember, you always want to do presence, not presence or interest in, because it's someone like me, for example, I might have an interest in the UK, but I'm in Vietnam right now, so I don't want to be shown that ad because it'll be wasted on me because they can't ship over here. And then you want English. Audience segments, you want to import all your observational audiences in from your customer list and all your like ad traffic and the Google Analytics and that type of stuff as observation, just to load up the campaign with more information. And then nothing else really needed here. No ad schedule, no brand exclusion, of course, because this is a branded campaign. Next, you just want to type in your brand name. So if it be Ellie Hans, it'll just be exact match Ellie Hans. That's it. And you can also do Ellie Hans as reviews, and you can also, I also like Ellie Hans discount code. And that's literally it. That's all you need. So you're just bidding on those exact match keywords. What you can do afterwards in terms of optimizations is you can throw in the phrase match. So if someone's typing in phrase match, Eddie Hans cushions, for instance, then it will come up as that. But typically speaking, with just these, will do. That's all you need. But this isn't the actual, this is keyword generation. I want to go skip this. That's where you enter the keywords. Wrong done. And then we get into the ads. Now the ads, you want the final URL being the actual URL itself. Headlines, come up with, Eddie Hans, and then Ellie Hans official site, and then you want get 10% off code LE10, right? And that'll be your ad. Descriptions, you just want to throw in the descriptions, basically like anything that you want in terms of any sales copy that you've got from your Performance Max, any sales copy that you've got on the landing page. You just want to elicit that. I've got a whole swipe file of descriptions and stuff as well. That'll be in a link in the description. You can have access to that. There's over 100 different ecom brands where you can get their descriptions and basically apply what they're doing for their successful ads onto yours as well. Same with the descriptions, business logo, add in your business logo and your business name, and then we'll go from here. Next, daily budget. I like putting $25 a day. It's never going to spend that much. It's never going to spend that much. You just do $25. And then once that's ready, you can then launch it. So the big question is, do you need to run one? And the answer is yes. The short answer is yes, at least. But the long answer is yes, you absolutely do. For all these reasons, for how easy it is to set up, for all the conversions, for getting you started, that's it. Now, the question that you might be thinking is, am I just paying for conversions that were going to happen anyway? And to be honest, the answer to that is, in most cases, yes, you are. If someone's searching up your brand name, will the organic stuff do? Yes, most of the time. However, you want to maximize your chances of getting that conversion. You want to make them an offer that they can't refuse, which is no brainer for them to actually purchase and turn someone who's just investigating into an actual buyer. And you want to take up as much space on the real estate on the search engine results page as possible. But it's also a good thing because you induce purchases, as I already said. You gather cheap conversion data for your conversion action, and you protect your brand from other competitors and take up space. So, for all these reasons, yes, you do want to run one. Now, if we look at optimizing, there's a couple of things we can do. First one is we can increase the maximum bid if your budget actually isn't spending. This will probably never be the case because if it's your brand name, then it'll just be like 1 cent, 2 cent, right? But if sometimes you have to pay more for the ad to be placed at the absolute top of the page because your competitors are bidding on it, but that's okay because you want to spend that much on this campaign anyway. Next, as I already said, you can add phrase match versions of your best exact match keywords into this just to gather more scope. And then lastly, never switch from absolute top of search to share. This is the best bidding strategy. The goal of the campaign isn't to spend as much as possible to get the conversion. The goal of the campaign is to be at the top of the search engine results page. That's the goal. So with that in mind, we want to use that bidding strategy for that. On screen here, you've got a whole swipe file of branded search campaigns. So as you can see, there's New Recovers, Bessie's, this is their branded search campaign, Buzz and Honey, Nike, that's theirs, there's New Recover again. Space Goods, here's theirs, Meraki, Bridge Wallet, all that type of stuff as well. Got My High, College & Co, True Classics, like all of these different branded search campaigns, these all perform really well. And then if you want to have a closer look in terms of more of these, then there's a whole swipe file of 100 different Google ads from 7-figure plus ecom brands. Some of those are also branded search campaigns as well, but we also get all the shopping ads, all the display ads. So that'll be the link in the description to this one for the access to this sheet. And then through this sheet, you'll be able to have access to that. Now, some action steps. 1, launch your branded search campaign because you do need one. Number 2, start collecting conversion data on the purchase event. And then you can leverage that conversion data into other campaigns such as shopping, PMAX, and shorts. Now, if you are a D2C brand and you're tired of inconsistent Facebook ads and you're looking to get 24x ROAS on Google, but you also don't want to pay. In this video, I'm going to cover exactly how to set up a branded shopping campaign inside of your Google Ads account. This is one of the highest leverage, easy to implement things that you can do immediately to uplift the overall ROAS of your account, the efficiency of your spend, and drive cheaper sales to your brand with only a couple of clicks in less than 24 hours. Super simple and easy to do. And the best part is you can automatically exclude any keywords which are non-branded through scripts, which I'll also cover in this video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jordan, founder of Demand Capture. We're a Google Ads agency that has helped numerous brands scale through Google Ads, adding at least 30K to 100K per month to their brand exclusively from Google. If you want more tips like this, 3 times a week, completely for free, then join my newsletter, second link in the description. So really quickly, a branded shopping campaign is a shopping campaign with all non-branded terms excluded from it. This is done by automatically excluding all non-branded keywords from your shopping campaigns by adding them to their own negative keyword list, only leaving your branded terms in your shopping listing. So by positioning your products front and center on your branded terms, you prevent competitors from capitalizing on your brand name. You get cheaper conversions, so it's more efficient spend compared to if you left them in your prospecting campaigns, and you stay in control of your brand's presence in the search results. So for example, this is what it would look like if you were typing in Nike running shoes. All of these would come up here. Nike obviously haven't excluded this within their prospecting campaign, but they probably have guaranteed a branded search campaign just on their branded terms, Nike running shoes, etc. And there's nothing stopping you from setting up the same thing for your brand to get cheap conversions, brand protection on shopping, all of that stuff. Some more reasons why every brand needs to be running a branded shopping campaign. The first thing first is that it takes up more real estate on the search and your results page. When a potential customer types in your brand term, you want to take up as much of the above the fold as possible, and shopping comes before the search results. So they type in your brand name, they get the shopping ads, they also get the search ads right at the top. You're just warding off any competitors from bidding on your brand name, taking up all of that space, and you're making it overtly obvious that you are the brand that they've been searching for. It increases the congruency. You're able to put offers on there, give them more information than them just browsing your brand name. They might have heard of it from somewhere, and it just protects you from your competitors, which is the second reason. If you've got branded shopping campaigns, not just as a way to get cheaper conversions, but also to protect your brand. Google is unfortunately notorious for allowing other competitors to bid on your branded terms and rank above you even before you get to your own natural stuff. So even though you might not be facing this now, because it's mainly like a software thing, e-commerce still happens. So you want to have campaigns which protect you from that. You would still do branded shopping campaigns even if there wasn't a competitive element to it. But this is just one of the other costs of doing business when it comes to Google Ads, protecting yourself from competitors. Next, it turns your browsers into buyers. On your organic search results, yes, they may pop up, and again, competitors aside, just trust that your homepage will come up on the initial search results. You're able to place a lot of different information that you wouldn't normally be able to put on your organic search results, which induces someone who's just browsing into actually becoming a buyer. For example, you can give them all of the pricing information, you can give them all the features, all the benefits, all the transformation. You can use copy to elicit a direct response, and you can give them a specific offer on them searching on organic. So this ultimately reduces friction in the buying journey, turning someone who was a potential customer into an actual customer way easier. Next is cheap conversion data. So without branded campaigns, you aren't able to get as much conversion data in your ad account as fast as possible, which then helps your prospecting campaigns. All of the conversion data will be on the account level, so then Google understands who your customers are and they're able to steer and smartly bid on your prospecting campaigns based on the conversions that are happening on your branded campaigns. Again, if this was the only reason you would run branded campaigns, you would obviously pay for all of this cheap conversion data for the price that you're getting it at. Yes, your vanity ROAS is going to be high, but you would pay 1 cent, 2 cent per conversion that you're going to get on your shopping campaigns to then improve the performance of your cold campaigns, your prospecting campaigns. So it just makes sense on this alone to run branded campaigns, and branded shopping is no exception to this. Lastly, it's an efficient allocation of budget. You don't want to be bidding on your branded terms in your prospecting campaigns. You want to have these separated. So one, you just understand what's contributing to your top line versus what would be more likely to come through organically
or if they're even a new customer. But also just means that you're able to control the bidding strategy on your branded terms. You're able to set the max CPC low. You're able to let Google do smart bidding on prospecting campaigns, so they may be bidding up quite high, but you don't want to be bidding $4 on your brand terms. That just makes no sense. And that can easily happen if you have branded terms in your prospecting campaigns and you're running smart bidding. So by splitting up your branded campaigns and your prospecting campaigns, not only will it keep your Google Ads agency honest because you can actually track what their new customer growth is, but it will also help you in terms of allocation of budget, and it will also help you in terms of efficiently spending on your brand terms. So that's what branded shopping campaigns are. That's why you want to be running them. Now I'm going to cut into a video earlier on exactly how to set them up. So for campaigns, you want to go new, then you want to click sales, make sure that your conversion goal is on purchases. Then you want to go shopping. Here you want to connect your GMC, and then you want to select standard shopping, not performance max. Go continue. Now you want to name your campaign, have it be your brand name, campaign type, the specifics of the campaign, so this is going to be a brand one. The bidding strategy, you want it to be manual CPC, and set your budget to just $50 a day. Campaign priority, I turn it high. Networks, turn search network off. Devices, it'll be on all devices. Locations, you want to set it to the location that you sell in, but this is very important. You want to go location options and do presence. You don't want presence or interest, you just want presence. Ad group name, just name it whatever that product group is, and then set your bid to $1. And then you click create campaign and the campaign will be created. Now that you're here in the campaign, you want to add subdivisions and go through and add the specific products that you want to select. Because right now it's a shopping campaign with all of the products within inside of your product feed. So you want to have specific ad groups for specific products so you can have specific annual CPCs per that product. But because it's a branding campaign, you can just have all your products in one group and just bid on your branded terms. That can work best, so try that. As you can see in this branded shopping campaign, we've got each of their 3 main products split by ad group because they are significantly different. This is just to understand what the average CPC is across the different products, and we are able to measure that. And once you've got the campaign up, you want to go to tools, bulk actions, and scripts. And then what you want to do is set up a script which automatically excludes any non-branded terms. If you want the video on how to set this up, then the link will be in the description to this video and also on the doc as well. And then once that's done, you're good to go. And that's how to set up branded shopping campaigns. Now that your branded shopping campaign is set up, we're going to be talking about how to optimize it as it's running. First thing you want to do is to not switch bidding strategies. Manual CPC is the best bidding strategy when it comes to branded shopping campaigns, because then you're not overspending on your branded terms while still taking up all the impression share on that search term. With automated bidding, you'll end up spending more on your branded terms. So if you find that your search impression share is low, you can just raise your maximum bid slightly, but never automate this for your branding campaigns. It's just complete no-go. Next, you want to use scripts to exclude your non-branded terms from your campaigns. Because it's your branded terms, the way in which we automatically exclude keywords from our campaigns, it's going to be incredibly easy. If you want to learn exactly how to set up automated keyword removal from your branded shopping campaign, so you can basically leave it automated and it will only have your branded terms there, then there's a video in the description which goes over that, plus the link to the doc with the exact scripts you can copy and paste into your campaigns, change a couple of things, and you'll be good to go on setting that up. Next, you want to exclude your existing customers. So you don't want your ads to show on customers that have already bought from you. You want to save that spend for your prospecting campaigns. And you can do this by making your branded shopping campaign only appear to new customers. The way that you do this is that you get your customer list exported from your Shopify backend. You then go into Google Ads, you navigate to audiences, you scroll down to exclusions, you upload your customer list, and then you exclude that audience from your branded campaigns. After we've audited dozens of Google Ads accounts, we never see anyone utilizing this feature on their branded campaigns. That's if they're running branded campaigns at all, which most of them aren't. They're just letting one campaign do everything. So exclude your existing customers. You don't want those ads to be shown to people who already bought from you anyway. And if they're going to be rebuying from you again, they're probably going to go through either email, or they're just going to look you up on, or when they do look you up, they're actively looking for a repurchase. So any of the other competitor ads that are there or anything else irrelevant isn't going to interest them in the first place. They're not browsing, they're buying. And because they're buying, you don't want to pay for that buy again, so exclude them. And as with all shopping campaigns, once the build is done within the ad account, all of the rest of the optimization is going to happen within inside your Google Merchant Center. So unless you optimize your product feed, you're going to see high costs in your campaigns, you're going to see lower search visibility, and you're going to see reduced click share. So it's important that you continuously update your Merchant Center even after the campaign is launched. If you want a full training on exactly how to do that, there's another video in the description attached with a document that goes through step by step everything you need to do to optimize your Google Merchant Center. So some common questions before we wrap up this video. Do you need to run one? The short answer is yes. The long answer is yes. Of course, you need to run one for all of the reasons we covered before: efficient spend, protecting your brand term, splitting up your campaign so you understand where your prospect is coming from versus your brand. And just to hammer on this a bit more, are you paying for conversions that were going to happen anyway? In most cases, and this is just, me being an honest Google Ads agency owner, yes, you are paying for conversions that were probably going to happen anyway, but that's actually a good thing because of all of the reasons that we've covered already. You reduce purchases by making offers to people at the bottom of your funnel, so you turn browsers into buyers. You gather cheap conversion data that you would want to pay for anyway to improve the campaign performance of your prospecting campaigns. You protect your brand from competitors and build search engine results reputation in the eyes of Google bidding on that term. Overall, you just need to do it regardless of your brand because of all the advantages you gain from running it in the first place. Lastly, if you want inspiration on what to include in your shopping ad titles, I have a swipe file here of 100 7- and 8-figure D2C Google ads completely for free. If you get this document by clicking the first link in the description, go on this doc, scroll down to the page, you'll be able to click it here and it'll be absolutely free.
You reach a point when it comes to Google Ads where you've already tapped out on all the people who are searching for your product. What you need to do is stop targeting people who are already aware of your product and put ads in front of people who are aware of the problem that your product solves. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that with Google Ads so that you can tap into a whole pool of people who have no idea about who you are, but are actively looking for a solution that you are already providing. You need to put your ads in front of them. And the best way to do that with Google Ads, I found, if you have a product which is made to solve a specific problem that people are facing, for example, high blood pressure, then you can just absolutely milk Google Ads for what it's worth. And the best way to do that is through search campaigns. So I'm going to show you exactly how to build them based on this client account here. We started around 3 weeks ago. We spent £3,500 there in the UK and we got back 7.6k according to Google's third-party stuff. You know Google lies about this. Just so you know, the Triple Whale says this is more, but according to Google, we're at 2.18. Our break even is way lower than that. We're getting an 8.32% click-through rate on our ads for cold terms, people who aren't aware of us. We're getting a 3.82% conversion rate on cold traffic, and our cost per conversion, again, according to Google, is way below break even. So I'm going to show you what we've done here to be able to achieve this so that you can replicate it for your supplement brand as well. And if you want more info on how we scale supplement brands with Google Ads, and if you want us to scale you as well, similar to what we've been doing with this account, and this is just one of the many campaigns we're running in this account, then click the second link in the description, dynamicapture.com, check out our case studies, check out our resources, book a call, and we will set this up for you. So this is the campaign. We experimented a bit with their other product, but this is their main hero product, which is around solving high blood pressure. I'm going to take you through literally everything that we're doing, the mindset behind it, that type of stuff. So where you begin with search ads is through the setup itself. If I take you through the settings, we are only running on the Google network. Our marketing objective is sales. Obviously, our conversion tracking is set up properly. In fact, if I take you to conversion tracking, you do want to get this right, and I keep mentioning it. Just making sure you've got proper conversion tracking set up through your website, either through the Google and YouTube app and Shopify, which is this secondary one here, or if you set up in Google Tag, this one here. Make sure you only have one primary conversion action. Make sure your campaigns are set up around purchase and that you're tracking this accurately with enhanced conversions. You go into settings and you turn on enhanced conversions. Here, our bidding strategy is max conversions. We're trying to get as many conversions as possible, especially on these cold terms. So this is what we run by default. If you're looking to test product market fit, you can go with maximize clicks. If you run like different types of investigative general terms, that type of stuff, but we knew off the gate that we just wanted to run problem aware terms. So max conversions is good for that. We turn AI max on. We experimented with this at the start. This is a new feature from Google. Typically speaking, new Google features tend to do quite well in terms of what we found. So we're running this with our brand exclusion here. So we're not getting any branded stuff coming in because this is meant to be and is a cold traffic campaign. Just a quick one for the location. Just make sure you're on presence, not presence or interest in on the country that you're advertising in. Don't advertise the places that you're not selling to. And that's the general setup. Budget in terms of what you can withhold for a daily spend. We're currently spending 125. We're going to scale that soon based on the performance of this campaign. Max conversions, AI max, completely broad, which is what I'll get into now. Go into ad groups and the type of terms that we're on. As you can see, there's a lot of terms in here. And we launched it in to really see what was going to happen in terms of all the different terms that people would search when it comes to lowering their blood pressure. So we really wanted to have the full gamut of it all. We have a whole mix of match types as well. Got some exact match, got some broad match, never phase match. And we're only adding exact match based on the performance of that particular term in the search term report, which I'll get into in a second. As you can see for these ones up here in terms of where most of the conversions are in, it is centered around how to lower blood pressure. We're getting nearly a 9% click-through rate on this. And the CPCs are insanely cheap. Getting into the search terms, you can see we've got up here exact match, how to lower blood pressure, 7.5% click-through rate, 38p cost per click, spent £104, got about 380 at 3.65 ROAS. Amazing. Just general like blood pressure supplements, right? Very simple. 13.78 click-through rate, 7.61 conversion rate, 2.16. Great, amazing. I just filter by conversion value. How to reduce blood pressure, 9.14% click-through rate, 32p CPC, but we only spent $16 on this, right? We've only got 2 conversions on it, but as you can see, all this is kind of culminating into it. And if I filter by conversion results, you can see all these just random terms. All these terms are coming in here, just like one conversion here. here. So you can see like 58 PCPA, 29 PCPA, all this stuff here, which you can really just see when you're running on broad match, you can just scale into this and just show your ads on all these different general terms which are coming through. Now, if you think about this, this is a really interesting way to test the type of traffic which is coming into your conversion mechanism. So with this, you can really get a general sense of like, how are people approaching your page and how are they best converting, right? Because you can see based on the conversion rates of these particular terms, what people are doing, especially if you have enough volume and statistical significance to really see, you're able to test your conversion mechanism and the strength of your ad and how people are approaching your funnel quite well. When you just open the floodgates in terms of all the broad match, you really get a general good sense of what's converting the best. As you can see, how to lower blood pressure has got on all the conversions, how to reduce blood pressure, it's gotten the same click-through rate, just a little bit lower CPC, but just no conversions whatsoever, which is mad and gives you all the insight that you really need in terms of testing how people are converting on your conversion mechanism. So the key here with this in terms of your product is generating a whole bunch of broad match search phrases and search opportunities that people are already naturally searching for, and then letting Google's AI match that with the search terms that people are doing, which you might have missed in your initial spray and pray. As you can see in this ad group now, there are a whole bunch of terms which aren't really getting any impressions at all. They're getting clicks with no real conversions. So these are the ones that you'd want to take out because they're obviously not performing. But as you can see, magnesium for blood pressure, all the different terms that are coming up based on this broad match are converting really well. Same with how to lower blood pressure. And this means then you can actually start scaling, not only in terms of the budget or in terms of turning specific search terms that are converted specifically. For example, how to lower blood pressure on an exact match, you can add that as an exact match. But if you have a highly converting broad match, so blood pressure support supplements, then you can turn that to an exact match as well and add it into it so Google can optimize around that more. But if you just go back into ad groups, what you can do is you can change the final URL of that particular term itself, which means you can customize your advertorial and your conversion mechanisms specifically to the search term that people are searching for, which have already proven to convert higher. So not only can you optimize on the budgets, in terms of the bidding strategy, in terms of the targeting, if you see something's already working well and this is the angle, you then play around with the conversion mechanism. If the conversion rate is 3.29, but the other ones are saying, you know, you can get up to 7, you can get up to 8, why not bring this one from a 3 to an 8 just on this particular thing? And you're really just building like little tiny moats in different types of funnels based on how people are searching for this particular term. And this can last you for literally the lifetime of your business. Every time someone searches that term, if I just go back and filter on impressions, how to lower blood pressure over the last 3 weeks had, you know, nearly 4,000 people searching for it. And of those 4,000 people, we've got 7.5% of them to click, right? And then of those people who clicked, we got 2.34% of those to purchase. So if we had a specific advertorial around specifically how to lower blood pressure, all the different solutions as a sales letter, and then present the solution, and we just raise this conversion rate, the click-through rate's already strong. That's the ad, like we sorted that out. But if you just use constraint thinking, you can see, okay, well, we don't really have any control over the click-through rate. We've got that quite high. Where's the biggest level we can pull for this? Well, it's probably the conversion rate because it's like 2.43, and it's the search term that's gotten us the most conversions. So why not we just improve this? You go back to your ad groups, you see how to lower blood pressure here, and you just change the final URL compared to the one that you have natively within the default ad, which is here in terms of this conversion mechanism, and you increase the conversion rate on that. And now you've just got this one campaign, which has all these different mini funnels in it and all these different landing pages, all building a moat around the product level where part of your market, which needs more convincing, who are a bit more cold, who don't really know you, which your competitors can't even necessarily even tap into because you've really gone deep into the actual problem that your market's facing rather than the actual product itself. And this is the key thing I see in supplement brands, is that one, they don't even do cold search anyway. They don't even do Google Ads properly in the first place. But once you get to this stage and you're trying to expand out beyond just your product level awareness in terms of like blood pressure supplements, and you're able to introduce a solution to someone who has a problem, then you can get very specific in this. You can see, okay, here's all these different funnels on this search term report. Basically treat them as like a funnel. Like this, the ad itself is basically the search term. And then you have the landing page linked to that ad. You can change that within the final URL. So what we're going to do with this brand is have different pages which are congruent with the search phrase which people are naturally searching for. So instead of it just being like a generalized advertorial, which is converting quite well in the first place on just selling the product and giving a sales argument for it, we're going to have a proper educational article, a sales letter on how to lower blood pressure. And that's all going to convert really well. So think about that with your supplement brand. This is how you do it here. So again, even though we've just like let Google do the driving with the broad match keywords, we're still getting an 8.32% click-through rate. And the reason why is because our ad copy is completely tailored towards the actual problem itself. So if we go into the ad, the main thing we've done here in terms of the headline, but also the description to get this high of a click-through rate is by making the ad congruent with the search phrase. And the way you're able to do that is through dynamic keyword insertion. What you do to do this is add this little like toggle thing here, this little bracket. You then click keyword insertion. Once you've done that, you basically put in your default text, which is the description you want to have if there is no keyword that they search there. But as you can see with this dynamically generated one as well, it just says how to lower blood pressure, which is what they would like to type in, right? And you just pin those. And then literally the first thing that they see in terms of text is what they just typed in. The congruency is off the charts. Of course they're going to click that, right? And a whole bunch of other descriptions which support that as well. But generally speaking, this is why our ads get really high click-through rates. If you're at like a 4% click-through rate, if you double that, you double your conversions. You double the amount of money that you'll make. Just in here, just in terms of understanding how to actually write these ads. Of course, we built out the price extensions, we built out the structured snippets, we built out the callouts. I'm not running a promotion to it at the moment. Site links are all there as well, business logo, all that type of stuff. We've really built it out properly to where it's running straight to an advertorial page, not just a product page, because we need to respect the way in which people are coming into our conversion mechanism, right? They're really cold. They need to be warmed up.
up. You can't just like present an offer to someone who's searching how to lower blood pressure. They're already convinced that they've got the problem. You just need to convince them that your product is the solution to their problem. You do need to convince them first. You can't just like put a buy box in front of them and expect them to buy. If they're already aware of your product, then maybe you could do that. And if they're already aware of your brand, that's all you need to do, because they're problem aware, because this is what this campaign is built around. Just literally like cold search people who are not aware of you at all, no brand stuff, no product aware stuff whatsoever. Then this is what you need to do. And that's why you need that page specifically there, which is why, again, we're going to be making custom pages specifically for the way in which that search term comes through. So just to put it into a bit more perspective, as you can see here, these are all just different funnels that you're running, all of their own amount of like monthly search traffic. How to lower blood pressure, for example, being like 3.6k. And then you're like, okay, can we make specific ads which address all of these different search terms to get the click-through rate as much as possible? Cool, we've done that. We're at 8%, which is insanely high. Each of these will have different CPCs, which is just the KPIs which you need to understand if it works for your cogs or not, how much you're actually paying for those clicks. Obviously, if you have something like how to lower blood pressure versus like best blood pressure supplements, that CPC is going to be higher. You can see the difference here. Blood pressure supplements has much higher CPC than this. And even though this has a lower conversion rate, this has a lower cost of conversion just because it's much more congruent to it. But you can optimize this. You can see, okay, cool, we can get this conversion rate up. We can exclude this one because this version of the funnel wasn't working, this angle wasn't working. This one here, how to reduce high blood pressure, that's like a specific one where the headline literally can be like, this is an article on how to reduce high blood pressure, because it's at 9% click-through rate. And even though we've got 2 conversions on it, there's still legs hit, right? There's still 526 searches on this, right? We've got nearly 50 clicks on it. Over the course of a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years of your brand, that's a great moat to have. Like if you had a funnel like this, you'd want to optimize the hell out of it and get as many people in as possible. But again, because you're constrained by the search volume on this, you're optimizing around the longevity of it all, right? This is only the course of the last 3 weeks. Over the course of the year, you're going to get like 50,000 impressions on this at 10% click-through rate. You're going to get 5,000 people to the page at 32p CPC. That's fucking awesome. You'd want that for sure. And this is what you can do with Google Ads here. So that was a big ramble, completely unscripted, just showing you and demonstrating to you what's possible when it comes to cold search ads on Google Ads. And without going into the actual like advertorial itself, and without going into some of the other things we've done on the back end to really optimize our cogs and making this campaign as efficient as possible, just giving you a few ideas to think about when it comes to your supplement brand in terms of scaling with cold search ads. Focusing on the problem aware terms, the really cold, generalized, investigative terms to scale from there. And once you be able to get signal in terms of what's actually working, for example, on this one, how to lower blood pressure, how to reduce high blood pressure, this type of stuff, you're able to then create custom dynamic pages based on that search term, change the final URL, and then optimize the conversion rate based on that. As long as you have a good ad with these broad terms, let Google take the wheel, and you're able to put in enough budget to really see what's actually working for that particular product, then you're able to not just advertise on like, we've got the best blood pressure supplement, but you're able to go into things like how to lower blood pressure or problem aware search phrases and opportunities so that people can come to your page in a way that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. And this is true like demand capture advertising, pull advertising. People are naturally searching for this in the first place. How do you do it properly? This is how you do it properly. So take these lessons, pass out all the value that I've done in this video. And if you want us to set up this whole machine for you, because we're like, this is basically like phase 1. It's like phase 2 with all the different pages. You're then expanding out into other different ideas and that type of stuff based on what's coming back. If you have like 4 or 5 winning search terms in this, then you're able to really build out a full suite of different articles. You can then run dynamic search ads based on the content farm that you're building up from an SEO organic perspective, putting paid behind that to get even cheaper clicks. The game just goes on. And if you're completely lost and you want us to set this up so we can scale you on Google Ads as well, because this is just one of the 6 campaigns we're running for this brand in terms of the top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel to really give them a full funnel approach to Google Ads, which is getting them close to 1,000 new customers per month. New customers, people who weren't aware of them before. Then click the second link in the description, book a call. We'll just have a chat. I'll tell you what the opportunity is. It's not a sales call. It's literally like a free audit where we'll give you all the info you need to set this up yourself. But if you want us to do it for you, we'll do that too.
If you're looking to scale your e-commerce brand on Google Ads with performance max campaigns, then this is the only video you need to watch to do so. After scaling multiple 7-figure e-commerce brands all the way to 8 figures, and in this full course, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your performance max campaigns, how to scale them, and how to optimize them so that you can scale your e-commerce brand, acquire thousands of cold customers per month, every single month with performance max campaigns inside of your Google Ads account. I've really taken out all of the fluff in this one. There's going to be no wasted time. I'm just going to get straight into it. Well, what is a performance max campaign? Well, you need to understand the context behind performance max campaigns. With all advertising, understand that Google is a public company. Every move for them is about quarterly revenue generated. So they are a company with products which they sell and people buy from them. They sell ad space on their platform. Therefore, they need people to buy it so they can generate more revenue. They don't care about your customers. They don't care about your conversions. All they care about is how much ad spend you're spending on the platform. And advertisers were stuck previously in just using search campaigns plus shopping campaigns, and their growth was capped. And more importantly, Google's ad revenue was capped based on the impressions and the search volume coming in for the keywords people were bidding on. Plus, there was a whole bunch of inventory that they could have, such as on Gmail, such as on the display network, and even on YouTube, that advertisers weren't going to because they were stuck in their search campaigns and their shopping campaigns. So what PMax does is that it forces advertisers into all placements, into YouTube, display, discovery, Gmail, as well as search and shopping. So PMAX as a campaign type wasn't designed to give us control, it was designed to give Google more revenue. But it's still very useful, and I'm going to explain exactly why in this video. So if you think of PMAX as like the engine of a car, it drives the growth, but it's not the whole vehicle. You still need search campaigns, you still need shopping campaigns, and you still need to run cold YouTube campaigns. However, PMAX shines at scale because you're able to put a lot of budget into a campaign type which is optimized around audience signals and placements across all of Google's network, targeting people who you might not be able to get through search, who are actively searching for your search terms or aren't actively going to buy from shopping, but they are going to buy from somewhere else. Just because PMAX is there to be the core middle of funnel engine for your campaigns, don't just set it and forget it though. It works alongside other campaigns, and I'll show you how to have PMAX alongside search, alongside shopping, alongside YouTube for your e-commerce brand to scale it. In terms of who should run PMAX campaigns and who shouldn't run PMAX campaigns isn't you, then you can turn off this video now. I just don't want to waste any of your time. It's the best fit for e-commerce brands with clean product feeds, proper conversion tracking, at least $50 to $100 per day in spend, and can at least generate 30 to 50 conversions per month on the bidding strategies that PMAX operates on. It's a bad fit if you're a brand with a poorly optimized feed, you don't really on shopping too much, even though you should be if you're an e-commerce brand, or you have really tiny budgets. You probably want to stick on manual search and manual shopping for this. So if you can't maintain a strong product feed and you can't maintain a strong amount of budget to put into it, then PMAX probably isn't for you, and you want to use a more beginner campaign strategy, which we cover more on our channel. As I alluded to earlier, PMAX sits firmly within the middle of funnel. So it's acting as a catch-all campaign designed to cover all of your bases. So when your search campaigns aren't performing as well, or it might drop the ball in terms of a bid or lose an auction, or if your shopping campaigns really need a bit more budget towards it, PMAX can come in and cover all of the different catch-all placements and bids that your other campaigns aren't converting on. It basically ensures that you're efficient in reaching potential customers across every major Google placement while still driving bottom line results. So if you think of it as like a cornerstone campaign, a lot of your budget is going to go into it, but not all of it. You just want a healthy amount of budget, say 20 to 30%, to make sure that it's capturing that catch-all middle of funnel part where it is getting some people on search, it is getting some people on shopping, it is catching the display network whilst not doing a proper display campaign if you set it up correctly. And it plays a critical role in retargeting cold customers, not people off branded searches, but because you'll be excluding your brand terms from your PMAX campaign, but in terms of a remarketing mechanism, getting people who might visit from Meta, might visit from TikTok, might visit from organic, they'll be then on the Google network, and because they've been triggered in that signal in terms of page view or product view, they'll be into that PMAX campaign as a signal to show a display ad to then get them back onto site and then completing that purchase from a marketing efficiency ratio perspective. So PMAX offers multi-channel coverage, AI-driven optimization, effortless scaling really, because it is kind of set up to get if you set it up the right way before you're watching this video, and it gives you demand capture advertising plus demand generation advertising. So whilst YouTube generates demand through demand gen, or search and shopping might capture the demand that's already there, PMAX excels at capturing it and converting it into revenue through being its whole own ecosystem sat within the middle of your funnel. So you have top of funnel campaigns for YouTube Shorts, YouTube in-stream, demand gen, and display campaigns. Bottom of funnel, you have your branded search campaigns, your branded shopping campaigns. However, with PMAX, you'll have your PMAX campaigns, your shopping campaigns, and your search campaigns, which are on product-aware searches. So that's how PMAX fits in, and it's a really core part of your overall Google Ads strategy. You can't really scale too high without it. So while PMAX automates much of the heavy lifting, you need to feed it the right signals. So strong product titles, optimized product feeds, and high-quality creative assets to make sure Google knows exactly who to target and how to convert them. And this is exactly what we'll be covering in this free course. So there are some limitations when it comes to PMAX. Whilst it is a powerful campaign type, there are some things you need to know before you do launch it. The first one is around limited data transparency. This is less of an issue now, and more able to see into PMAX in terms of where its placements, where its costs are, where its conversion data is. However, there are some attribution issues where PMAX can often take credit for sales from other marketing channels. So you want to use a source of truth, third-party attribution tool like Triple Whale or Northbeam to get a clearer picture of your multi-channel performance. On the face of it, there is a lack of granular reporting, which you can usually get in search or shopping. So for this, we want to use a Mike Rhodes PMAX script. There's a free one, which I'll link in the description to his website to be able to use on your PMAX campaigns to get much more detail about exactly what's going on inside of there. Google is rolling out some features which are enabling you to have the same level of insight that Mike Rhodes scripts is able to give you. However, it comes nowhere near close, and Mike Rhodes script is really the gold standard when it comes to analyzing and auditing PMAX campaigns. You can get that. I'll put it in the description for you. The second one is reduced control over ad placement. So if you launch PMAX without any consideration of to where your placements are, if you're not excluding any landing pages, if you're not excluding any particular placements, then it can get out of control, and you can find yourself wasting ad budget on placements which you never would have put on in the first place and were never going to convert at all. So to solve this, you want to audit your landing pages where the placements are. You may want to turn off some of the automations which are happening, and you definitely want to exclude branded terms within inside of your PMAX account. You can check this. I'll show you exactly how to do that later on in this video. So because PMAX uses automated bidding strategies, so maximize conversion value and maximize conversions, you don't have a manual control over the the amount that you're willing to pay per click. So this is basically okay, I'm going to give you all the budget, you bid as efficiently as you can, and you get the best CPC for this particular placement. So if you're in a high competitive niche, you could be spending a CPC which is maybe outside of your expectations. However, if you are willing to withhold that CPC and your CAC to LTV ratio actually makes sense, then CPC is kind of an irrelevant term to worry about. You just want to monitor your campaigns weekly and ask yourself, is this a CPC that our campaigns can sustain? If it is, great, don't worry about it, just worry about the stuff that you can control. However, if it isn't, then maybe you're in a too competitive product type to be able to be bidding on these strategies in the first place. If that's the case, then there's some unit economic things which you need to do to make sure that the campaigns actually work. Because when you're advertising on these different platforms, there is just like this is what it's going to require for it to be a CPA. It's not that Meta isn't working, it's that this is the price that Meta can get you for this conversion. Can your business withhold that? Because some businesses can and some businesses can. That's just the natural break-even CPA, which is going to be happening on Meta, on Google. And there's some things that you can do to set it up right, but even if you set it up right and you can sustain that level of CPA, then there's probably just no point in advertising on that channel in the first place. And lastly, it's not fully set it and forget it. So Google promotes PMAX as a hands-off campaign type. You can just set it and forget it, but there are going to be some massive mistakes that happen if you just do. I've seen some horrendous PMAX campaigns happening in different audits. Putting 90 to 100% of your budget in like 11 PMAX campaigns inside your account is across all these different product strategies, across splitting all these different signals, having all these branded conversions be at like $5, $10 per click. It's just crazy stuff. So if you feel like you can just set it, do it feed only, it'll just do smart bidding, that's just not the case. So your budgets can be wasted on low performing placements and low performing products. You can be using inefficient keywords which drive up costs if you're not excluding them inside your PMAX account. And automation can optimize for the wrong signals if you give it the wrong signals. So you can't just set it up and let it go broad and go crazy. You do need to give PMAX the signals that it needs to be able to perform the best. And you can aggressively scale a PMAX. I'll show you a PMAX account later where the budget is at 20K per day. And it does fill a gap in your funnel in terms of where it sits in your e-commerce growth engine with Google Ads. However, think of it as like guided automation. This is just a campaign type which loves signals, loves being able to be pointed at stuff. It'll then go out and get it, but it all depends on the inputs which you give it, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. So before we get into setting up PMAX, there are just some best practices which you need to consider before setting it up. First, you want to structure your campaigns properly. The way you structure PMAX campaigns directly impacts the performance and scalability. You need to thoughtfully segment your products based on either product category or specific campaign goals. So if you're running multiple collections or have very different product types, set up multiple asset groups within a single PMAX campaign and keep targeting and messaging aligned and also your signals tailored to that specific asset group. If you want more control over individual product lines or collections, then those are like two completely different audiences and avatars. You want to kind of split those out and also have different budgets testing them. But if it's just like two different supplements under that same product category, you'd want them within the same PMAX campaign. That's so you can adhere to signal density, which is where you're keeping all your signals in terms of where that campaign is pointing to all within one campaign, as opposed to splitting it across all these other different campaigns and hoping Google optimizes on an account level. PS, it doesn't. Also, if you're advertising across multiple countries or different regions, you want to run separate PMAX campaigns depending on the location. You never want to run two locations at once. You always want to keep it within the budget that is congruent for that particular location type. Keep them separate. So the key here is to avoid throwing everything into one massive PMAX campaign if you have completely different separate product categories and you're advertising to different locations. More often than not, you do want to throw everything into one campaign and just have it be scaled on that one particular bit, because you're an e-commerce brand around a particular product category. You may as well just throw it all into one. However, if you sell like wallets, but then you also sell luggage, two completely different things. You have the branded thing for the actual brand under that household, but then you've got people who are only searching for wallets, but they're not searching for luggage on Google. So you want to have particular campaigns for wallets, particular campaigns for luggage. Done. One of the biggest mistakes in PMAX is letting it waste budgets on products that simply won't sell or aren't your profit drivers. You want to have a Pareto principle with this. What are the 20% of products which generate 80% of your revenue? Or even what's the 4% of products which generate 96% of your revenue? You want to start there with your PMAX and honestly put your best foot forward in terms of your best offers. You have your products which are there for cold traffic as opposed to the ones which you have more for the back end. So choose the product which is best going to be able to be led on cold traffic and on Performance Max. You want to regularly review your product performance and remove SKUs that are burning budget without converting. For larger catalogs, you want to set up zombie asset groups. So these are collections of underperforming products to isolate and test it as a way to make them work without hurting your main campaigns. Don't neglect the fact that you still need dedicated product pages to this and you still need to actually optimize these campaigns properly with these zombie products. They might just not work on Google and that's okay. But at least you split them out away from the products which are meant to be your scalers. You want to have your scalers dedicated within one particular budget. Then finally, you want to focus your primary asset groups on your highly converting products to maximize efficiency. So every impression and click counts. Don't let Google waste them on SKUs that won't bring any revenue. And finally, you want to use strong audience signals. So although PMAX is designed to be data-driven and automated, it still needs some sort of guidance, whether that be from your product feed itself, if you're going to run feed only and just broad, which we'll get into what those mean in a second, or if you're doing a full build asset group, you do want to have the strongest signals that you can in terms of who is a buyer, who isn't, who you're excluding, who you're going after, what do they search, where do they go to, who your competitors are, what websites do they browse, everything like that. And I'm going to show you exactly how to put that into your PMAX campaign. So include your customer list, include any in-market audiences which you know work well for you, any custom intent audiences based on high intent keywords, competitor brand names, specific triggers or websites. And even though PMAX will eventually find the right users, if you give it strong audience signals, you can start just a PMAX campaign on site, just completely from scratch. So make sure your account level conversion tracking is also properly set up before launching. PMAX relies heavily on past conversion data to optimize future results because it is a smart bidding strategy. So we covered everything you need to know before you set up a PMAX campaign. Now I'm going to show you exactly how to set up the performance max campaign inside of your Google Ads account. So we're in one of our client Google Ads accounts. If you just want to set one up, you go plus and click new campaign. From here, you want to click sales. And you always want to be optimizing around purchases. So click purchases. Here you'll be able to select your campaign, just click performance max. Now here you want to add in your merchant center, so just do that and then name your campaign. I'll just leave it default as is, but you want to have a good naming convention for that. Click continue. So the first thing performance max is going to ask you to do is to pick your bidding strategy. And there's only two you can pick within performance max. There's conversion value, so optimizing the amount of value that you're going to get per conversion, or you're just optimizing for conversions itself. With conversions, you can set a target CPA, so this is a TCPA campaign. And then with conversion value, this is where you set your target ROAS. I usually always start with maximize conversion value given the type of brands that we work with. However, you could be a brand where you're just only trying to maximize the amount of conversion that you're going for. However, I've only ever seen performance max campaigns perform quite well on maximize conversion value with a target ROAS specific to your break-even ROAS. We want to work out what your break-even CPA is and break-even ROAS based on your unit economics, your COGS, your gross margin, all of that stuff to understand what is a tolerable ROAS for you. Just because one business has like a ROAS of 2 or ROAS of 3 means nothing to you if you can sustain like a 1.3 ROAS, or if you need like a 3.2 ROAS to be break even and actually profitable. It really just depends on exactly what your product is, which is why every campaign is different, every business is different. You just need to work out what that is for you. If you want our spreadsheet to calculate your break-even ROAS and break-even CPA, we have a unit economic spreadsheet which you can get in one of the links in the description of this video. So pick your bidding strategy. For customer acquisition, you can adjust your bidding to help you acquire new customers. I never do this. What I do to optimize to acquire new customers is to exclude a lot of the branded terms from this and then also track new customer ROAS and new customer CPA in a third-party attribution like Triple Whale or Northbeam. I never touch this at all. I don't think it's ever worth it to be bidding more on new customers on the account level for this. I'd rather optimize it around the positioning, the ad copy, the signals that you're giving to Google, all that type of stuff before you even touch this at all. Most brands turn this on thinking, cool, I'm going to get new customers, but their ads aren't congruent to wanting to get new customers. There's more setup stuff that you can do and control before you even get to that point in the first place. So we picked our bidding strategy. We're not going to turn on customer acquisition. Let's just go next. Here we're going to do locations. Very important that you do the location that you're in. You also want to select the language that you're in. Ignore EU political ads if you're not in the EU. Here under more settings, you can set an ad schedule. Usually I just leave it all day. Campaign URL options is where you put your UTM tracking stuff for Triple Whale, Northbeam, any other particular UTM tracking stuff that you have. You can do that here, or after the campaign is published, you then do that back in Triple Whale. For devices, I typically turn off tablets and I turn off TV screens for PMAX. I only put on TV screens for dedicated demand gen campaigns, and I never run anything on tablets at all. You want to monitor the performance between mobile phones and computers. Mobile phones will be your highest converting, highest searching, highest cost device, so you always want to have this on. It might not be worth for you to have computers. You want to check that specifically by breaking the campaign down by device and seeing how computer is performing compared to mobile. If your computer metrics are great, keep it on. If it isn't, turn it off. Very simple. Here you want to add in brand exclusions, but this isn't foolproof. You want to do this just for due diligence, but there is other stuff you're going to have to do in terms of getting rid of your branded terms, which I'm going to show you later in this video. So add in your brand exclusions here. And if you have any age exclusions where you sell a particular product which is only going to be bought by people who are over a certain age, then you want to put them here as well. And click next. So now here is where you create your asset group. You want to give it a name. Then you want to pick the particular products which you're going to be putting into your listing group. If you just want to have all your products in here, then that's fine. However, if you have a certain different categories of products, so you've got like dresses and you've got like shoes and you've got like hats, then this is where in the asset group creation, you want to build the asset group specific to that product category. So you want to go into your listing group here, use a selection of products, and then filter by item ID and just go through the particular products you want to have within this listing group. Here you can enter in your brand guidelines, just enter in your business name, add your logos, your custom colors, and your any fonts and that type of stuff as well. That's just to help with the congruency of the ad itself. And then here is where you add in all of your assets. So this is where you add in your headlines, your long headlines, your descriptions, your images, and the landing page specific to that collection or that particular end goal of that asset group. Again, for example, if you have hats and then shoes and then skirts, then you want to put the collection page to hats and collection page to shoes, collection page to skirts, just so when people are searching for that type of stuff, they're able to go straight to that product or straight to that collection page. Or if you just want want to leave it straight and put your final URL as your brand, then Google will be able to find the right products for you based on if it's a shopping click, on search if it's using any automation on that, and so able to pull them to the website. This is something you want to test specifically to your brand, but this is where you change the final URL for this particular asset group. The headlines, long headlines, and descriptions, you want to max all of these out. So you want 15 headlines, 5 long headlines, and 5 descriptions. And if you want a free GPT, which helps you write all of these for you in literally like 2 minutes, then there's a link to that in the description. Just enter in your email, send it to you right away. It's our internal custom GPT, which we use to write all of our copy here at the agency. Images, you have 20 of them. You want to put your best performing images, not static ads, but just like actual images, so product images, lifestyle images, images in use, high production stuff in here at different aspect ratios. So if you go into here, you can add in horizontal, you can add in square, you can add in vertical images as well, and crop other images specific to that aspect ratio. Fill up all 20 of these and cycle these in and out to be able to optimize your performance. Here you can add in videos, and if you don't have a video, Google will automatically create one in the most cases. It actually won't, usually. The one that it does create is really ugly, but if you go into Micro's PMAX script and you order any PMAX account, it hardly gets any spend at all. And do not add any videos in here, because then it will promote some videos going in here. I personally don't put any videos in PMAX at all and keep my video spend low. I'd rather have that video budget go to a dedicated demand gen campaign on cold customers with everything else excluded, direct response style, with a custom cold traffic funnel specific to that. With this, you just want to keep it middle of funnel, no videos whatsoever. Site links, add in your account site links, which are specific to this particular asset group. Call to action, I usually leave as shop now because we're an e-commerce site. You can add in more asset types. So now you can add in your promotions, any specific promotions around this particular asset group. All of your prices centered around that. Your call out specific to this as well, your structured snippets. Loads of different ways in which you can optimize specific on that asset group as well. If you just use one account level wide site links or call outs and that type of stuff, it's kind of lazy. You really want to go into as much detail as possible to make that ad as excellent as you can based on the asset group which you're showing it on. So for asset optimization, the only one that I keep on is images. So just any of the images in terms of layout, formatting, that type of stuff, and then landing page images as well. I turn off text because sometimes they can pull text off your landing page, which is irrelevant. Same with final URL expansion, because that'll start pulling in stuff like sizing charts and customer service stuff and all that type of stuff. Like you don't want to pull that in. And now here you're getting into signals. So you've added in all your different headlines, your images, your descriptions, your long headlines, all that type of stuff. Now you want to add in your search streams. You can add up to 50 of these. These are basically your 50 highest search volume, highly congruent, highest converting search terms, which you either gotten from Keyword Planner, previous research, or conversion data from your search campaigns and your shopping campaigns. So you're getting conversions on your search campaigns, you're getting conversions on your shopping campaigns, you're seeing what's converting on your demand gen campaigns. Now you're feeding all of that back in as a flywheel into here, and you want to put up to 50 of these. If you need 50 of these, just put in your website into the Keyword Planner, pull the top 50 by impression search streams, and then plug them in there. Same with audience signal. You want to add in your customer list into here, you want to add in your website visitors in here, you want to leverage as much of your audience data as possible. You can also add in additional segments where it would be other highly converting keywords, which again is double of the search themes, any competitor keywords, competitor websites, all that type of stuff. I would add all of that in here. And once you click next, you want to set your budget at least $50 a day, if not $100 per day of whatever you can sustain. And then your campaign will be ready to publish. So that's exactly how to set up a PMAX campaign. Now that you've launched it, there's some optimization that you need to do inside of it. And I'm going to go through everything you need to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. The first thing, and the only thing you need to do every single day within your PMAX campaign, is check your search term insights. What this is a report showing you what search queries triggered in your ad. And the reason why it's important is because it identifies any irrelevant searches that are wasting budget. You can see branded conversions in here. You can really see what's actually converting in here. And it helps discover new profitable keywords to target in your search campaigns, in your shopping campaigns, and it creates complete firewall for you. Overall, it improves control over campaign targeting to be able to see what it's actually converting on. So what you want to do is go into insights and reports once you're in your PMAX. And here you can see all of the data around your PMAX. You can see your auction insights, how you're performing on search, how you're performing on shopping over the last 7 days, over the last 28 days as well. You can see all of the terms that you converted on. As you can see here, and I promise there's no branded terms in here at all, which means brand has been fully excluded from this PMAX campaign. You can also have audience insights, which will be useful to feed back into any demand gen campaigns which you're doing, as well as your top audiences responding to different assets which you've created as well. So it gives you a lot of data, but the main thing here that you want to take care of is your auction insights in terms of who you're competing with in terms of impression share. Over the last 28 days, we've been on top, and then on search as well, over the last 28 days. What you can also do is go into search terms itself within the PMAX, and you can start excluding search terms from your PMAX. So you can see how you're performing based on every single search term. There's stuff here which isn't performing over the last 30 days, over the last 100 days. This is where you can see any branded conversions coming in here, so you can just get rid of it immediately. Look at your cost per conversion, look at your click-through rate, see what needs improving, what your CTR is if you need to improve your ads, that type of stuff. So that's everything you need to do daily. Now weekly, you want to check your product level spend, which is basically analyzing which products are getting the most amount of budget allocation. And this is important because you want to make sure your budget is going to your best sellers and your highest margin products, and this prevents waste on lower converting terms. To be able to do this, you want to go back into your PMAX campaign, and you just want to go down here on the left-hand side and just go to products. And once you're in products, you're able to see what's getting the most spend. Now, in this brand, it's only one product, which we're pushing all of the spend to, but if you have multiple different products within your list listing groups inside of your PMAX, and you're able to see on the product level what's going on here. Part of this then every single week is excluding poor performing SKUs. So you remove products that waste ad spend and don't convert very well. This saves your budget by focusing on only high performing products and prevents those CTR items from dragging down the campaign performance. Again, it's just within products. You want to find out which ones are performing well, which ones aren't performing well, and then to exclude them, you just go into your campaigns here, go to asset groups. Once you're in asset groups, you want to click view listing groups, and then here you can exclude your products. Next thing you want to do weekly is improve your low performing assets. So assets, remember, are the headlines, images, long headlines, descriptions, everything that goes into the asset group of that PMAX. You want to replace any low performing ones every single week so it's fresh. This prevents weak headlines, descriptions, or images from dragging down the overall performance of the account. Google prioritizes high performing assets, so swapping bad ones does improve the results of your campaign. So once you're in a campaign, you want to go to asset groups and then click view asset details. This allows you to see a breakdown of the conversion data, the clicks, the CTR, the conversion rate of all these particular assets in terms of the copy. So you're able to see where it's getting the most spend, where it isn't, and if you need to replace any images or things that aren't performing at all, aren't getting any spend. Next thing you want to do on a weekly basis, this is part of Performance Max if you are running any shopping placements on PMax, is optimizing your GMC. You want to keep your Google Merchant Center feed updated and optimal for Performance Max results. So ensuring your product titles, your descriptions, and your attributes stay relevant and are accurate and are up to date. And also helps increase your shopping ad visibility and click-through rates if you have a well-optimized GMC. If you want a full guide on how to optimize your GMC, it is part of this full course, Google Merchant Center Optimization Checklist. If you want the exact Google Merchant Center Optimization Checklist, then just click the second link in the description, sign up for our free course. You'll get access to the PMAX course, which I'm talking to now, as well as everything else that we have in terms of search campaigns, shopping campaigns, PMAX campaigns, GMC optimization, YouTube campaigns, campaign setup, conversion tracking, literally everything you need to scale your e-commerce brand with Google Ads. Next, if you have final URL turned on, you want to exclude any irrelevant URLs. So these are URLs that aren't set up to convert. You don't want to waste any spend sending traffic to weak pages. You want to remove blog posts, remove about pages, remove other content pieces which aren't designed to drive sales, like sizing charts or fitness charts or whatever. Keep away from your size guides, your shipping info, and other support pages that kill purchase momentum. And you want to add customer service and contact pages to your exclusions to maintain strong conversion rates and no wasted ad spend on this as well. Review your analytics to find pages with high bounce rates and add them to your exclusion list. Make sure to exclude out of stock product pages until inventory returns. Keep your best performing URLs for open traffic and exclude anything that might dilute your results. So the way to do this is that if you have automatically created assets on, you just click exclude some URLs, you click that and you're able to exclude any URLs that you want. To find out which landing pages are actually being included in your PMAX, you go to report editor and you can scroll down here when and where your ad shows, and then it's PMAX campaigns placement. You click that and it'll show you all of the pages which your PMAX is showing on, and then you want to go back into your exclusions and exclude those. That's something that most people miss. Next, you want to monitor your pages reports. So you want to check your pages report weekly to see which landing pages are actually driving conversions for your PMAX campaign. You want to look for pages with high spend but low conversion rates. These are your first candidates for exclusion or replacement. So to find it, you want to go back into report editor, scroll down, and you've got under ads and assets, you've got landing pages. See how the pages you're directing ad traffic to are performing. Click that, go through that, and then you're able to see which ones are which. And now on a monthly basis, you want to update your search themes. So you want to ensure that your search themes, which are a form of keyword guidance for PMAX, are aligned with high performing queries. So basically to do this, you want to go back into your search campaigns, go back into your shopping campaigns, and then go into your PMAX campaigns as well. Find out which terms are converting the most, and then replace any search terms which aren't converting, which are in your signals within your PMAX campaign, and just replace them with ones which are. To do that, it's very simple. You just go into your asset groups again, click here to edit your signals, then you're able to replace your search themes, customize your signals, and do all of that here within your asset group. Last thing in terms of optimization, you want to update your customer list. So ensure that your first party data is up to date in Google Ads for better audience targeting. And the reason why it's important is because it helps Google find more users similar to your best customers, and it improves retargeting effectiveness if you are running retargeting campaigns as well. So set up a monthly reminder to update your customer list, or you can do it automatically. Export new customer emails and phone numbers from your CRM, whether it be Shopify, Klaviyo, whatever you're getting your customer list from. Go to Google Ads, Audience Manager, Customer List, and then upload a new list. And the way to do that, I just like searching audiences, your data segments here at the top, plus icon, and click customer list. And this is where you can upload your customer list here. Cool, so that's how to optimize your campaigns. Now we need to scale them. And when it comes to scaling Performance Max or any advertising campaign at all, you need to understand your KPIs. It's absolutely critical. Every single scaling decision, budget allocation, bid adjustment should be based on if your campaign is actually working according to your metrics, according to your business metrics. I can't sit here and say, oh, this will be a good ROAS, because your break-even ROAS and break-even CPA might be completely different, because everyone has different unit economics and every business has different unit economics. We can give ratios, we can give red light, yellow light, green light in terms of how to scale and stuff, but this is just a framework of how to understand your KPIs and how to use them to be able to scale your campaigns. The reason why it's important is because KPIs determine whether a campaign is profitable for you, which asset groups are scaling opportunities for you, and which inefficiencies exist for you. Again, this is highly dependent on your own business's unit economics. I can't tell you what is a good ROAS, and if it's profitable for you, you need to find that out yourself and then scale your campaigns accordingly to that. It helps you guide budget allocation and bid adjustments. If you see a campaign campaign absolutely skyrocketing and is way below your break even. If you see a campaign which you can scale up, then you're obligated to scale it up. And you can only notice if it's scalable if you know your unit economics and you're able to scale it. And then also understanding your KPIs prevents scaling losses. So if you're going way outside your KPIs, then you don't even know if it's a working campaign for you because your business metrics can be completely off. So there are a couple of core KPIs you need to track. First one is ROAS, so return on ad spend. So how much revenue are you generating for every single dollar that you put in? Next one, it's probably the most important one, is CPA. So how much are you spending to acquire a new customer? Conversion rate, so this is the actual conversion of your landing pages post-click. And then marketing efficiency ratio. So this is looking at the bigger picture of like total revenue divided by total marketing spend. And a high MER shows your marketing efforts are sustainable and efficient. The most important KPI you should be tracking, always, fuck ROAS, it's new customer CPA. So this is how you calculate break-even KPIs. Break-even ROAS is nice and interesting in terms of your break-even return on ad spend, but the most important one is how much can you spend to acquire a customer. This is the maximum you can spend to acquire a customer without losing money, whether on first purchase or even on their CAC to LTV ratio. If you don't know this, you cannot scale on Google Ads, you cannot scale on Facebook ads, you cannot scale at all because everything is a CPM arbitrage. Everything has a cost to it in terms of advertising. Can your break-even CPA sustain the cost that it takes to advertise, which is the CPM? Calculate this. Again, there's a spreadsheet for this, link in the description to be able to get access to it. But to calculate it yourself, you do break-even ROAS. So it's 100 divided by your gross margin percentage. So if your product has 40% gross margin, your break-even ROAS is 2.5. If your gross margin is 70%, then your break-even ROAS is lower, which means, but again, like ROAS is irrelevant compared to break-even CPA. So the maximum amount that you can spend to acquire a new customer without losing money. And the way you figure this out is AOV times gross margin percentage minus any fixed costs of your COGS. So if your average order value is $100 and your gross margin is 40%, then your break-even CPA is $40 because 60% of that AOV is going into COGS and actually getting it into the hand of the customer. So this is absolutely critical for scaling any campaign, but specifically for Google Ads as well. You want to establish your break-even ROAS and CPA. Use the formulas above to set clear targets for every single campaign, including PMAX. Then this becomes your non-negotiable baselines. If you can't scale on Google Ads and you can't afford it, based on best practices, based on setting up the campaigns, then it's something initially wrong with your business because that is just the natural amount that you have to pay for a customer on these platforms on that given day. It's not like Google doesn't work or YouTube doesn't work. It's that there is a cost to advertise on this platform. Can your business sustain it? If it can't, then you need better unit economics to be able to sustain it because there is a business that can sustain these cost per conversions. It just isn't yours. Next, you want to use the KPIs to make scaling decisions. So if your ROAS is consistently above break even, you can scale the budget. If your CPA is trending below your break even CPA, increase bids to capture more volume. And if either metric is failing below break even, you want to pause, adjust, or optimize. And then finally, you want to monitor MER for overall efficiency. This is including your meta ads, your TikTok, your organic, your Klaviyo, and your Google. Even if PMAX is profitable on its own, you want to check how it impacts your entire marketing mix. It could be the case that Google isn't actually making any incremental lift at all. You want to check that for sure, because sometimes scaling one campaign can negatively affect the others, and MER catches this. So once you understand your KPIs, you want to adjust your budget based on your KPIs, and you want to do this on a weekly basis. The goal is to allocate more budget to winning campaigns and cut back on underperformance based on your break-even CPA and break-even ROAS. And the reason why it's important is because it keeps more budget flowing in high ROAS profitable campaigns, it limits waste spent on lower performing asset groups or products, and ensures overall efficiency and keeps your MER in check. So every single week, assess your KPIs weekly. You want to scale your winners by increasing them by 10 to 20%. You can scale more, but you didn't hear that from me. You don't want to adjust or pause any underperformance in terms of products, in terms of asset groups, in terms of assets. You really just want to go through it and see, is this at break even? Can I scale this? Do I need to turn this off? You then want to tweak your TROAS and TCPA bids based on what you can afford to actually advertise on that platform. And then you want to review your budget allocation. So if campaigns are consistently maxing out their daily budget and still hitting KPIs, you want to incrementally increase the budget to scale further. So if you're limited by budget within Google, you want to increase your budget if you can scale that budget. But if you want to scale your bids and it's a bidding issue, then you want to scale down your TROAS or your TCPA. Some quick tips: if you're consistently spending 100% of your budget and hitting KPIs or exceeding them, then you want to scale your budget by 10 to 15%. However, if you're spending less than 80% of your daily budget and underperforming, you want to lower the TROAS or TCPA to widen reach and improve more volume. You want to cut fast, scale slow, pause losing campaigns quickly, but scale up winners at the same amount of speed, if not faster, in controlled increments to avoid destabilizing results, because Google is quite sensitive to that type of stuff. And then lastly, you want to continuously consider whether you want to be on maximize conversions or maximize conversion value. Maximize conversion value in terms of target ROAS can help you prioritize higher purchase values rather than just cheap conversions, making it ideal for higher AOV products. So it really just depends on what bidding strategy works for you. You want to avoid frequent changes with this. Let the algorithm learn over 2 to 4 weeks before making significant tweaks. I like starting on maximize conversion value because I like target ROAS for PMAX, but your mileage may vary. Just consider which bidding strategy you're on a monthly basis. So finally, there's some advanced stuff that you can do when it comes to PMAX. The first one, of course, is micro script. It's a Google Ads script which provides deeper insights into performance max, helps reveal hidden data, and allows better optimization. You can get it by going to Micro's PPC community by getting the link which is within this course, which you can get through the link in the description. There's a strategy which might work for you, which is combining PMAX with standard shopping. I won't go into this in too much detail in this video. You can read more about it on screen and also in the course, which you can get link in the description. However, you can run standard shopping at a low T ROAS and then have PMAX be a catch-all at a higher T ROAS for all this type of stuff. So it might work for your brand, might not. It's not a catch-all thing, which applies to every single brand, but it is worth taking a look at and just knowing it's in your repertoire. Sometimes we use it, sometimes we don't. Next, if you're confused about which search ads to go after from like your highest converting term, wherever like product aware terms or problem aware terms, then you can use your PMAX conversion data to then launch search campaigns. Typically, you want to start with search campaigns based on your level, like product aware stuff, but if there's any other search terms which are coming up in PMAX, which aren't coming up in search, then you can just build dedicated search campaigns around that. PMAX will like gobble a lot of search cost. If you go into your PMAX script, you'll see a lot of costs going into search. So if you want to have more control over that and you want to have a specific experience and a specific funnel built around that search campaigns, then use your PMAX data to be able to do that for you. And then lastly, if you do sell on multiple locations, I know it's kind of rare nowadays, but if you're a bigger brand and you do sell on multiple locations, you either want to have a dedicated Google Ads account specific to that location, or if you have it within one account, then scale horizontally to new locations by duplicating the PMAX campaign and just changing the location to it. Also, speaking of locations, and I kind of missed this when I was going through it, you just want to go into campaign settings for your PMAX, and under locations, you want to go to location option and then click presence or interest in. This just makes sure that you're only hitting people which are actually in your country. So that's everything you need to scale your e-commerce brand to 7 figures and 8 figures and beyond with Performance Max campaigns. Honestly, congratulations to getting this to the end. I can tell that you are serious about scaling your e-commerce brand with Google Ads. If you want the full information, the full course that we just went through, click the link in the description. You'll be able to go through it yourself. Just put in your email and send it to your inbox. But as well included, you'll get our full e-commerce Google Ads mastery, which covers the basics, keyword research, conversion tracking, copywriting, search, shopping, PMAX, which is what we just went through, GMC, avoiding GMC suspensions, YouTube ads, cold search ads, scaling frameworks, keyword exclusions, automated, and 2 swipe files, one with 8-figure ecom YouTube ads, and then one with 101 7-figure Google ad swipe file. If you want this full course on exactly how to scale e-commerce brands with Google Ads, everything included, fully comprehensive, link in the description for this. And if you want me to take a look at your Google Ads account and then apply for a free audit by going to demandcapture.com, link in the description. If you want us to scale your e-commerce brand with Google Ads, same place, demandcapture.com, book a call. We'll tell you exactly what to do in terms of your Google Ads account. And if it's a win for us and a win for you, then we'll work with you on your Google Ads scaling. How do you scale e-commerce brands with YouTube ads? Well, we have several clients that are absolutely crushing it with YouTube ads right now. For example, this e-commerce brand, we spent $45,000 over the last 7 days at a 1.29x ROAS, 1,000 new customers, 59K in conversion value, 1.19x new customer ROAS, $44.65 CPA, and we basically got paid 5.4K to acquire 1,000 new customers, and that's first order profitable. This is a CPG supplement brand. Their LTV is absolutely crazy. Not only did we make 5K on the front end by acquiring 1,000 new customers, but due to the CAC to LTV ratio, those customers are worth so much more to us than what we paid. And you may also be thinking, I need some conversion data in my account before I start running YouTube ads. You can't just run it off rip. No, we started with this brand on August 26th. We tested some of the creators that they had on that were winning on Meta. These two in the red box won. Their KPI cost per conversion is 46. This is at 43. This is at 37. And we also got a whole bunch of view through conversions, which I'll tell you why that's significant later on in the video. But despite this, I still get asked how to scale e-commerce brands with YouTube ads, because most brands know that YouTube has infinite scale, but think it's too complicated either because they, one, don't know how to scale with YouTube ads, so they just don't know who can do it, or two, the agency or media buyer that they're working with are, quite frankly, and just being completely honest from what I've seen in audits, too pussy to even try. They might know that YouTube ads is a thing, but it's like, oh, it doesn't work for ecom, or you need fancy production and that type of stuff. As I'll show you over this whole video of how to scale your e-commerce brand with YouTube ads, I show you the exact creatives that we're using, and they're not high production. I show you the landing page which we're using, which is basically the same one that you're running now on Meta. I show you the types of placements that you have. I show you all of the creative types. I show you the metrics and KPIs that you need to follow. I show you how to scale these campaigns. I show you why YouTube ads is really relevant. And that's what I'm going to cover in this video. Why YouTube ads is for ecom is one of the best ways to scale your e-commerce brand, and exactly how to scale your e-commerce brand with YouTube ads. Plus, as I said at the end, we'll go through the $8,000 a day ad spend case study where we get 1,000 new customers a week through this funnel where we get paid to acquire 1,000 customers per week. So if you want that for your e-commerce brand, keep watching to the end because I'll cover that case study there. But first things first, you want to understand why you should even launch YouTube ads to scale your brand to thousands of new customers per week. The first thing is that you get to scale past search volume. So the intention with Google Ads is to get as many new customers as possible who are already in market or already searching for the product aware terms or the problem aware terms that are surrounding your product or the problem that your product solves. However, these are all capped by the amount of people who are actively searching for that search term every single month. So you may only have 100,000 searches across all of the different terms that you could be going for. And that caps you on the amount that you can spend. And if more competitors are coming into that market, which means you're going to be paying higher CPCs, higher CPMs, it's going to be harder to make more profit for that. And the natural CAC that Google wants to charge you to acquire a customer through those channels, either through search or through shopping, it's going to be really hard. It's going to get more and more competitive as the demand for those search terms basically stays the same. Your costs are going to be even higher for that. So what YouTube allows you to do is scale past the search volume. With traditional Google ads, you're only serving to people who are in consideration or conversion. However, with top of funnel YouTube ads, you are getting people who aren't necessarily aware of your product, but they do have the problem that you do solve. Or you can even hit unaware segments where you have an opportunity to generate interest and generate demand in them, educate them on you being the solution to the problem that you educated them on them having. And then you're able to get them before they were even in market to go on your search ads, go on your shopping ads, go on your display ads. So what this allows you to do is, whilst all your competitors are going on Meta and doing Meta ads, your brand is advertising both on Meta, yes, but you're taking those Meta winners and putting them on YouTube. So it allows you to scale past your search volume. The next thing it allows you to do is that it allows you to reuse your creatives. So you can take all your Meta winners and you can just put them on YouTube, YouTube in-stream, YouTube Shorts, and particularly with YouTube Shorts, you can find winners very quickly in terms of creatives ad spend, which gets you back a return, which is at your new customer ROAS or new customer CPA KPI. So you're basically finding new customers who weren't on Meta, weren't on Instagram, weren't on Facebook, they were on YouTube, and you're just acquiring more customers. So you're able to scale your creatives and scale your brand whilst not putting any additional money into Meta, which if you were to put that money into Meta might actually make it unprofitable for you. So you're able to duplicate your creatives and duplicate your funnels onto YouTube, meaning that your ad spends could be way more efficient, your marketing could be way more efficient, and you're tapping into a whole blue ocean of new customers. The next thing is CPM arbitrage. YouTube ad CPMs are incredibly low. So again, whilst your competitors are competing over all the high CPM Meta stuff, your brand is getting really cheap CPMs, really cheap CPCs, and a high amount of volume through placements which no one's actually advertising on. It's a completely blue ocean, which means the CPMs are really low, and the supply demand curve in terms of the amount of advertisers advertising for that particular placement, that particular problem, solution, CTA type, that particular product is really low on YouTube compared to everyone who's advertising for that particular outcome and solution on Meta, because it's older, people aren't sophisticated on YouTube, they don't know how to run YouTube, they're too pussy to run on YouTube, therefore the CPMs are lower, which means there's a higher opportunity of arbitrage for you to get in here now, which makes it a much more efficient advertising channel for you. Compared to Meta, there is a bigger pool of new customers. So Google is the number one traffic source on the internet. Number two is YouTube, and Google owns both. So you're tapping into over 2 billion monthly logged in users every single month in YouTube now. So that's worldwide. But if you're just taking the US, there's like a significant amount of the population who are logged into YouTube who ads are being served to. So there's a whole wide, especially the older demographic as well. And you get both the younger and the older demographic. So you're able to advertise to basically anyone, regardless of your product, regardless of the problem they're facing. If you have success on Meta and you do have a significant brand doing 7 figures a year, 8 figures a year, you can definitely find your customer pool on YouTube as well. But the reason why it's important for YouTube is because these are whole new customers who don't necessarily buy stuff off Facebook, who don't buy stuff off Instagram, but they are on YouTube, they are a sophisticated market, and they are there for the taking. They're also higher value as well. Next is that it gives you a diversified marketing channel for stability and also enterprise value. So if you have multiple different sources that are profitable in terms of acquiring new customers, not only are you more stable, so if your Meta shuts off, you still got your Google, but if you have multiple marketing sources, then if you do ever go to sell your brand, that is more lucrative in terms of increasing the value of your enterprise. So just a thing to think about there. It's important to have multiple different channels for your marketing efficiency, for everything to work in the flywheel. If you don't have that, then your brand is going to be worth less than if you were to have it. Next is that your creatives actually have a longer lifespan. So you may be hitting creative fatigue when you're on Meta. With YouTube, you can use the same creative for up to a year, even up to 2 years. We have ads that we're running now, which I'll show you in the case study later on in the video, that have over 2 million views already, and there's no chance of them slowing down anytime soon. We've seen YouTube ads at like 100 mil views and just absolutely printing over profiting. So the scale is absolutely immense, especially for the lifespan of creative. So there's actually less creative output that's necessary once you find a winner in terms of YouTube. Once you find it and it works, it will work for a very long time. What you then get to do, as well as scaling past search volume, is you get to add search volume to already existing terms. So you get people who wouldn't have necessarily searched for the product or the problem that you're facing, but now it's in their head, and now that you've educated on that, then they're going to go to Google to search for that problem because you're running search ads or because you're running shopping ads off the back of, in the middle of funnel of your YouTube ads. Then they're going to be clicking on your ads as well because of brand recognition, because of increasing the search volume of that, which means the rest of your Google ads, both Meta and Google Search and Google Shopping, are going to be much more efficient. YouTube brings incrementality and uplift for other channels. So even though it's a meme to be like, oh, it's the impressions, it's the brand visibility, there have been incrementality studies done by House where Amazon increases. If you have a good CTA to retail and you're in retail, that also increases, and then your D2C also increases as well as the conversion on your Metas. So running YouTube beyond just the in dashboard metrics actually has a wider effect effect in terms of the conversion rate across your whole brand. And the reason why is because YouTube is actually seen as like more legit advertising. If you place on TV or you place on YouTube, because there's a perceived high barrier to entry, if you can crack YouTube and you're advertising on YouTube, then it's like, okay, this is like a serious brand and they are actually advertising something proper. If you have like a proper brand, great brand aesthetic, great brand mission, great product, then it's a no-brainer to advertise on YouTube because it is just like perceived as more legit advertising, as it were. Imagine if you were like running a TV ad. To advertise on TV, people see that as like a really big barrier to entry. It's no different with running ads on YouTube because people perceive that as the new TV, but you can also actually run ads on YouTube TV, which makes it even more legit. As I was just saying, you do get the TV reach as well. I think it's over 50% or even 60% of all views on YouTube in the US are done through TV. So if you're not on placement on TV, you're just on mobile, or God forbid, you're just on desktop and tablet, then you're not actually getting half of the views which go on YouTube in the first place, which is TV. We've seen some great success and brand lift in terms of advertising on TV. People don't necessarily buy directly from TV, but they see your ad, then they go search it and buy it later, and that comes through as a view through conversion. Next, competitors aren't there, so you get first mover advantage with actually high leverage. Rare in ecom these days. It's actually rare to find like an arbitrage opportunity which your competitors aren't doing, which you could be doing first, which means that you get a massive moat. Again, for the case study I'm going to show later on in the video, we are 100% the only company for that product which is advertising on YouTube. If you go into the ad library for everyone else, they're either just on search and they're running some really like grey hat, black hat advertorials, or they're just on shopping and they don't even run search at all, which means that off of that particular channel they may be winning, but we're getting so many more new customers loyal to us and acquiring those customers first because we're able to have the unit economics to advertise on YouTube and the creatives as well. So people who are interested in that product, we can get to them first before they go to another competitor. Again, it's very rare in ecom for these days to have a moat like this. The quicker you do this, the better. And then lastly, you actually get to make creatives which are like creative. So if you are like a creative head, you are able to make like really high quality YouTube ads. You really are able to think about making like movie trailers and TVs and high production stuff for your brand, which will actually convert. So if you are actually creative and you do love making ad creative for your brand, then this is a massive opportunity for you to create an even bigger moat because you're able to create such a beautiful piece of art which is actually direct response and actually gets conversions, and you're able to show it to many more wider people who appreciate that level of advertisement, where people will comment and be like, this is actually a really high produced, well polished, well published ad. You'll get those type of compliments as opposed to like the cheesy AI UGC stuff which you're seeing nowadays. I don't think that really works in YouTube anymore, but we'll get to that in a second. So that's why you should even launch YouTube ads to scale your brand to thousands of new customers per week anyway. However, you now need to understand where YouTube ads fits into your Google Ads funnel. So this is the Google Ads funnel which every single e-commerce brand ought to be using to build out. It's a good framework of understanding which campaigns you're running, which ones are working, which ones you aren't running, and where you can get bigger leverage from, and exactly what it looks like on screen. Because it's very easy to say, okay, top of funnel was YouTube, and then you got middle of funnel Performance Max, and you got some search stuff, and then you got bottom of funnel. Like, you can actually visually see it. So this is the top of funnel where you get demand gen campaigns, which is where you're running all of your YouTube ads from, and you're running these on YouTube Shorts, YouTube InStream, and if you do have the balls to do it, you have Google Display as well. And then for the middle of funnel, you've got prospecting search, Performance Max, and prospecting shopping, and this is capped by the amount of search volume which is coming in for those terms in the first place, which is why it's the middle of funnel. People think that Performance Max and search is top of funnel. Really, top of funnel is all the demand gen stuff, which generates search volume and generates demand. This is all still capturing demand. And then at the bottom of funnel, you've got your homepage, your product page, your add to cart, dynamic remarketing done through Merchant Center, or if you have a dedicated remarketing campaign. But these are all driven from the bottom of funnel in terms of people who are already aware of your brand through a really efficient branded search and branded shopping campaign. So that's how it all loops and it gets into the sale. At every single point of drop off, they all get hit with dynamic remarketing to bring them back to the homepage, back to the product page. If they abandon cart, they go back to the product page, all towards getting a sale. And just specifically at the demand gen in terms of where YouTube ads fits in, it goes up here in terms of top of funnel. So YouTube Shorts, YouTube InStream, and then it brings them here to a landing page. You can either use your product page, which is really well built out. You can't just use a default one. You need to actually think about how you're running it to it. But you could also use a different conversion mechanism: advertorial, listicle, VSL, quiz funnel. We found all four of these work as long as you test which ones work for your particular brand. So that's where YouTube ads fits into your Google funnel. But there are 3 different types of YouTube ads, and I'm going to tell you which one you should try first. The first type of YouTube ad is a YouTube InStream ad. And this is what you traditionally think of as a YouTube ad. It's when you click on a video and then before the video starts playing, you have an ad which you can skip. So it's a skippable in-stream YouTube ads. These have infinite scale and placements where you're best set to spend thousands of dollars every single day on these ads. This is where we see the most scale. This is where we see like creators go absolutely hyperbolic scale. And this is where we're scaling to $8,000, $12,000, $16,000 per day on our clients. The next placement is YouTube Shorts. So this is for mobile, but you can also have this on desktop as well. And these are ads that show up in the YouTube Shorts feed. So people are just scrolling shorts like it's Instagram and TikTok. These have really cheap CPMs because no one's really advertising on this placement at the moment. Has lots of volume, so you get a lot of clicks, very cheap, like 1 cent, 2 cent clicks. You get to test a lot of different creatives, and this placement will give you the first signs of wins. So any ads that win on Shorts will probably also win on InStream with a little bit of tweaking, and you're able to test really quickly which creatives do well by putting in a lot of different clicks and a lot of different volume into each creative if you set it up right. And then lastly, you have YouTube in-feed. So these are these ads here which show up on your homepage, or if you do search things up, it's going to be at the top depending on the search term that you put in for YouTube. These here, there's more that you need to get right, and it's not the highest leverage thing to do. It's good if you have mass amount of scale and there is something which is like a YouTube ad, which is more of like a high production thing, a movie trailer, something which really just pops out there. It's good to scale into, but you do need like a really good thumbnail because it's competing with all the other organic YouTube videos which are in someone's feed, and you need better presentation for it. And you can think of it more like a YouTube video in and of itself. So there's some source here that you can do. If you have like an organic YouTube presence for your brand, or you build up an organic channel for your brand, you can then leverage those as ads in YouTube in-feed. For example, one of our clients, they're going to be buying all of their competitors' product and then testing them. And we probably want to run that as an in-feed ad only with a proper thumbnail posted on the channel as a sponsored post, so that when people are looking on YouTube, they're able to click it, watch like an 8-minute video, which is going to be like a pretty much organic YouTube video, but then it's going to be a CTA at the end. That's how we're going to be running those in-feeds. I wouldn't run like a 2-minute ad as an in-feed. This is probably better for in-stream, but if you have like an organic style video, which is a bit longer of a presentation, fits into the feed and fits into the expectation of what people usually click on when they are searching for a longer video to watch, then in-feed is perfectly for you. I would recommend you do shorts and in-stream first, just because of what I was talking about with YouTube in-feed. It requires a lot higher of production, a lot more thought in terms of how people are going to be arriving at that video, and you can't just click on in-feed and expect your shorts and your in-stream to perform as well. It's a massively radically different placement, which you need to really think about. In fact, these are the only placements you'll be running on YouTube for your e-commerce brand. You don't do Discover, Gmail, or Display Network. You just do on in-stream and shorts. But before you launch your YouTube ads, it's probably a good idea to understand creatives themselves, and there are some core things to get right with creatives. With in-stream ads in particular, you have a forced 5-second watch time guaranteed with in-stream. Then you have up to around 30 seconds to keep them before it counts as a view. So the best way to think about this is that you have a movie trailer style hook in terms of the length of it. It's 5 seconds. Within that first 5 seconds, you really need to audio hook them, visual hook them, grab their attention, really just gun to their head marketing for a movie trailer rather than an ad, to get them to first to learn more about your product that you're advertising in terms of the demo, in terms of the promise which you're giving to them. And you need to get them from, okay, I'm going to click this video to go watch it. I know I need to skip an ad, so I'm going to be hovering my cursor over the ad skip button. Oh, but now this ad is here. It needs to be that powerful to get them to stop watching the video which they intended to click in the first place, to then click your ad instead and go explore and learn more about your product to ultimately convert. So you're requiring a lot of direct response to get them from, I'm clicking this video, I'm watching it, to buying your product. They're not browsing in-stream, but they wanted to be entertained or educated. So you need a big style movie trailer to get them to go check out your movie, which is like a product, fix a problem, any sales argument, that type of stuff. And there are a certain amount of creatives which work. The first one, high production talking head. The second one, style of podcast. We use this as a podcast hook. You can also have founder style ads as well, where you're just the founder telling the story. There are story ads as well, which is either told by the customer or the founder. And then you have straight product demos. So those are the 5 creative types that work really well for YouTube. If you have a podcast style creative where it's 2 people talking, that's really native on YouTube. Founder ads are a massive cheap code. Even if you're drop shipping, I would still just get on camera and sell your product, or find someone who you can hire to be like the founder of the brand. High production talking head, 4K camera, really great audio, immensely good editing. Actually like put a super effort into it instead of it just being like an AI generated ad with bad captions, even though this one is, but it's authentic because it's from the founder. There's a lot to play with in terms of creative types, but these are like the core 5 that we go with. And in terms of like the ad creative format, so the formula to use for every single ad, the first 5 seconds for YouTube in-stream is completely fixed. Like you can't get rid of that. So this hook needs to be like the strongest hook that you can do. And then over the next 6 to 30 seconds, if they've not skipped it, then they're basically like, okay, for the next 12 seconds or so, you've got like another 5 seconds to intro them to the product or the problem. Then you have a stage of product demo, so you're demonstrating the use of the product and the effects that it has. You then add in social proof near the end, and then you need a strong as fuck CTA, because again, they were already in the mind of either just browsing through shorts and it gets them there, or in in-stream, which is where your hyperscale is going to go to, and how you get above 1% click-through rate on your in-stream ads with high intent for it. You need a strong as fuck CTA for that. And if you want to see ads which do this really well, then we have our entire 8-figure YouTube ad swipe file inside of our free Google Ads course. If you want this, it's the second link in the description. Takes you to a page where you just enter in your email and send it to you absolutely free. As you can see, it's part of our e-commerce Google Ads mastery. If you just get it and then you click on bonus 8-figure ecom YouTube ad swipe file, it gives you all of the different 8-figure brands and their YouTube ads. And these are all really highly converting. These probably like over 1 billion views across all these ads alone. Proven video ad templates and scripts on top performing D2C brands on YouTube. So if you want that and you want to see what a proper YouTube ad looks like, I'll show you the creators that we're running and spending 8K a day on so far later on in the video. But if you just want this now, click on the first link in the description, get access to the free course, the e-commerce Google Ads mastery, put in your email and I'll send it to you. And again, On the front page here, it's right at the bottom of one of these bonuses, 8-figure ecom YouTube ad swipe file. You also get Google Ads basics, keyword research, conversion tracking, copywriting, branded search campaigns, branded shopping campaigns, shopping ads, performance max ads, merchant centered checklist, avoiding GMC suspension, YouTube ads playbook, cold search campaigns, all that type of stuff. First link in the description, put in your email and I'll get it to you absolutely free. So you got your creatives, you understand the type of placements, you understand where it fits into your YouTube ads funnel, you understand why you need to be running YouTube ads, and you've seen that it works. Now I'm going to show you how to set up the campaigns and exactly which buttons to press. So we're in the client Google Ads account right now, and if you just want to make a new demand gen campaign, you click this plus icon here, you click new campaign. Next you click sales, and you want to make sure that it is under purchases. So remove anything else which is under purchases. I did this on purpose to show you how to remove them, and just make sure it's one conversion action which is primary. And when you're selecting campaign type, you want to click demand gen. Click continue. Here I'm just going to show you which buttons to click. You want to name it something which you can see within all this, your campaigns. You want to turn off product feed, never worth running on YouTube, just turn it off. You're going for maximize conversions on this one, conversion goals purchase. You don't want to set a target CPA yet. For budget, you want to start at least $100 a day. Brand guidelines, you can add them in here. You're not running any EU political ads. For location, you want to set the country that you're in, so United States. For this, you always want to define that it's English, because if you're advertising in the US, for example, there's a lot of Spanish speakers, you get a lot of Spanish results. You just want to define it as English. For devices, you want to set target specific devices, and you 100% always want to turn tablets off. However, if you're looking to test really quickly and you want to see which different placements are going to go well, you can keep computers on, you can keep TV screens on, you just want to monitor the performance by device. However, you really are just starting out, you've only got your meta ads and you only want to just test those, just do mobile only. Pretty much all of your clicks, all of your impressions, all your conversions are going to come from mobile defined already, because you're running on shorts and you're running on in-stream. But as you start to scale, you want to turn on computers, turn on TV screens, run horizontal ads as you scale to make sure that you can test out these placements as we were just talking about. Ad schedule, run all day, no third-party measurement, and campaign URL options. If you're running triple well, you just do this automatically within triple well. So next you click on the ad group, and within ad group you want to click let me choose, and you turn off everything except for YouTube in-stream and YouTube Shorts. You want to get rid of in-feed, get rid of Discover, get rid of Gmail, get rid of display. For audience, you run no audiences. You run it completely broad. You just let Google do its thing. You let the creative do the targeting. You let your landing page do the targeting. You let your copy do the targeting. You just let Google do its thing. I've never ran audiences. I just keep it completely broad. If you want to test different audiences, that's fine. But we're spending 8K a day with no audience, completely broad, and we're still profitable. So we're just running it, ramming it like that. Optimized targeting, I like turning on if we are hyperscaling. If you're just testing creative, seeing which ones pass policy, because Google's policy is really dire right now, or you're just testing at lower budget, just turn it off. But if you're scaling, turn it on like a Chad. And then you get into the ads. You want to click video ad, you want to name your ad group, you want to put in your final URL. Never do to your homepage. You want to do it to a product page, a VSL, a listicle, an advertorial, or a quiz funnel. So this is where you do your final URL. For the videos, what you do is that you upload them unlisted to your YouTube ads account. Then you take the video URL and you paste it into this box here, and you can add up to 5. So what I got here is in one of the example ads. You just paste it into here. You can only add up to 5 videos per ad group. So if you're testing 5 different concepts, you're seeing which one wins, and then once you've got that one, you can segment it into its own ad group and then hook test based on that and trying to beat the control from there. Now, when you're choosing where your video wants to show, this is basically a preference, but you always turn off in-feed. If your ad is under 60 seconds, or it's just about over 60 seconds, you can speed up the ad and you can shift the pitch so the sound doesn't sound off, and you can run it on shorts. If your ad is over 60 seconds, turn off shorts and just run it completely on in-stream. Even if it is 9:16 and it is on mobile, it shows really good. It comes up really well on mobile, even if you're on the mobile app for YouTube. So if you're just on mobile, it doesn't matter if you've got a 9:16. You don't need a horizontal to run YouTube in-stream. You can use the 9:16 and it looks really good on in-stream. But if it is under 60 seconds, turn on shorts. Shorts is going to be really powerful for you as well. You want to get it as close to 60 seconds as possible. Then you add in your logos. For asset optimization, I just turn these off. Get shorter versions will just cut off stuff, and then vertical and square versions of your videos, you just want to run the creatives as is, so always turn those off. For text, you want to add in all your headlines. You get up to 40 characters instead of 30 compared to traditional search ads, so make sure that you're using all 40 of these characters. You get to add up to 5. Same with long headlines, but you get 90 characters, and descriptions, you get 90 characters. CTA, I always do shop now. Business name, put in your business name. Site links, I always turn these off. These always look really bad on YouTube. Then you get to review a campaign, and you just press publish campaign, and that's how you set up YouTube ads. Really simple. It's all about turning off the placements you don't want to run, putting in the YouTube videos, segmenting out your ad groups with your ads based on the actual creative type himself. If you find a winner, put it into a winning ad group. Test those with all the hooks as well, and then have it all within one campaign. It's basically like a CBO. So that's all the buttons that you need to press. Now, there are 6 KPIs and metrics that you need to track. It's really easy to understand. I'm going to go through what the ranges are from really good to really bad for all 6 of these. The first one is view rate, which is basically video play to and then view rate. If you can't see them, then in your column, set them up. You can see the thresholds for people who have watched 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% on these videos. You can also segment them by in-stream and in shorts for video play to. Just a good understanding of how much of the videos people are watching. And then you have view rate, which is in-stream and shorts. KPIs for this, you want around 20% is really, really good for in-stream, and shorts 10% is really, really good. So as you can see on this one here, the bottom testing ones, in aggregate for all the ads in this ad group, 26% view rate, really good. For the top ones here, not necessarily the best, 18.86%, but it's plausible because it's closer to 20 than it is not. Shorts, these are both above KPI in terms of 10%. So for view rate, you want at least 10% for shorts, and then for in-stream, you want 20%, and that's really good. Anything above this, you've got a banger on your hands. Next is CTR. So as you can see, it's here. It's probably one of the default ones that you have. It depends on placement here, so you want to sort by placement. For in-stream, anything above a 1% is really good, but we typically see like 1.3, 1.4. That's really good. 2% is absolutely cracked, and you've got a massive scaler. So out of every 100 people, 2 people are clicking it. Absolutely insane, especially given the price. And then for shorts, anywhere between like 0.6 and 1% is really good. If you're closer to 1% on shorts, then that's absolutely like cracked creative. So just keep an eye out for that in terms of the CTR. So first, you're tracking your view rate in terms of the creative strength, how much people are watching. In terms of a bottleneck, if you're at 10% on shorts and 20% on in-stream, that's pretty good. Now you're seeing the strength of your CTA, so how many people are clicking the ad off of YouTube into your funnel. And again, 0.6 to 1% on shorts, and then 1 to 2% on in-stream is what you're looking for. Then you're looking for conversion rate. Now it looks a bit weird in terms of like 0.11 and that type of stuff. Basically, you're looking for a 0.05 and up % conversion rate for both short and in-stream, based on all of the different volume and conversions and that type of stuff as well. Obviously, you can look at conversion rate through the actual funnel itself, but in the dashboard for Google, you're looking at a 0.05% conversion rate as the benchmark standard. Anywhere above that, it's great. Anywhere below that, if it's like a 0.2, 0.3, then there's obviously work to be done in terms of the post-click experience, in terms of the landing page. So this signifies the actual strength of the landing page itself. Now, of course, the holy daddy, the holy grail, new customer CPA, the only metric that actually matters in e-commerce. How much are you paying to acquire a new customer and how much that customer is worth to you? You want to be tracking this religiously within Triple Whale because Google will just lie to you, even though it's got platform comparable. Overall, on the funnel, this will just tell you exactly what's going on inside of the campaign. So you're scaling off the campaign new customer CPA. Then you can go into the specific ads, but because of ad sequencing, and some ads might be the first show, but then there's another ad which is in your ad group which converts better. You just want to look at new customer CPA. Is it performing? Is it in KPI? Is it out of KPI? And just go from there. Same with new customer ROAS. Are you above break even? Are you not? New customer ROAS could be off, but you could have new customer CPA, which is really good depending on the AOV. Again, there's a lot of different metrics that you need to understand to be able to even start on YouTube in the first place. If you're watching this video and you're already watching this far, then I would assume that you're already very much aware of what your break even new customer CPA is, and you're scaling off that, as well as your break even new customer ROAS based on your unit economics, your COGS, your shipping, fucking everything, and what your LTV is, so you understand your CAC to LTV ratio. I can't give you a KPI on this because this is largely dependent on your own unit economics for your own product and your own business. You just need to find out if this is an actual CAC that you can be willing to tolerate to pay. If it is, great, you can scale into it and you'll find an actual CAC that Google wants to have the price of you acquiring that new customer. If it's great, then you can scale into that and your LTV is great, then congratulations, you built a money printer. If you can't, then you can either work on your own unit economics to make it actually sustainable, you can work on your retention to make your LTV higher, or you can work on the strength of your ad to make the CPA go down. Remember, with CAC to LTV, you can work on lowering CAC, sure, but you can also increase LTV to get the ratio up to the point as well, because sometimes the CPA is the CPA and there's nothing you can really do about it, especially when it's scaling on YouTube. And then you've got view through conversion, which is basically the cherry on top metric to track, which I like to look at. This basically tells you how many people watched your ad, saw your ad, had a view on it, which was above 30 seconds, didn't click it, but then later converted within that view through conversion window, which is on your purchase pixel through enhanced conversions. But this doesn't count people who were converted through another one of your Google campaigns. So they saw the YouTube ad, then they went straight to your website and just converted. Or they went to your YouTube ad and then they went for a meta ad and then converted. These are all the people who this ad helped convert through a view, but not through a click. And this doesn't include all of the conversions which you see on here. So this is basically like extra conversions. If you have really high view through conversion rate and you can see, okay, like the conversion value over cost is 1, right? But you got 700 view through conversions through this campaign. It's basically like an extra 700 conversions at this cost per conversion, which is basically all baked in. So even though in dashboard, it will say that the metrics aren't necessarily that good or they're out of KPI, keep in mind your view through conversions because this actually could tell you incrementality. But of course, you still want to track with overall new customer CPA. Triple Whale will be able to get all of that for you based on the attribution that you're using. So I can give you rough estimates for view rate. I can give you rough estimates for click-through rate and conversion rate. But for new customer CPA, new customer ROAS, and view through conversions, this is basically dependent on your business, your unit economics, and just how many people convert after seeing your ad and didn't click it, but then later converted. So those are the 6 KPIs to track. And now based on you launching them, based on this setup, and you've got all your metrics in KPI and it seems to be going well, how do you actually scale this fucker? Now, on Hormozy, more, better, new. So as you can see, the ones at the top here, there's basically just doing more of what you're already doing. Then in the middle, you can do stuff better and then you can test new stuff. Of course, if you're doing really well, increase the budget because you're still going to be on max conversions. So just increase the budget and be able to go out into more. Again, you can scale infinite amounts on YouTube, just spend as much as possible until you hit that natural CAC ceiling. You can then add in more creatives. So you're always testing more creatives. You're trying to beat or control. You're trying to test
test the creatives that you're having. You're trying to find winners on that. So that's how you put in more into your ad groups. You're testing more creatives. Then once you've done these two and you found winners, you then want to hook test the winners, because again, you have a forced 5 seconds on in-stream. So you're trying to find the best hooks possible to increase view rate, which is the first thing and the first KPI to like control over. From there, you can go 16:9 on winners. So you can force 16:9 by duplicating it in sequence in Premiere Pro or CapCut or whatever, and then blurring the background. Or if you did film it in 16:9, then you can just edit a 16:9 version of the winners in your ad account to make the placement more efficient. The CPMs will go way lower. One of the winning ads that we have it in Shorts, and the CPM is like $17. The horizontal version is like $8, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, go 16:9 on your winners. You also then want to test new offers and CTAs. So this is doing better CTR testing. So if your CTR is lacking, how do you increase the CTR? Then you want to test different conversion mechanisms. This is new conversion mechanisms to increase your conversion rate. And then you want to expand into in-feed right at the end, instead of having like a long 8-minute, 12-minute proper YouTube video, which is actually a long form sales letter for your product based on in-feed with proper thumbnail, proper production, proper editing, all that type of stuff. And to do this, you can just follow traffic scaling. So if you have poor metrics, so pure view rate, poor CTR, no conversions, out of KPI, new customer CPA, just pause it, stop immediately. If you have soft metrics, you have an okay view rate, good CTR, some conversions, KPI-ish in new customer CPA, you can keep the ad going for a little bit, you can keep it in there, but you're really trying to find like a morally obligated to scale ad creative. We have great view rate, great CTR, you have a new customer CPA and KPI, you are morally obligated to spend more money when you have all of your metrics in place. Where the view rate is cracked, where the conversion rate is cracked, this is where you're morally obligated to increase the budget, because it's going to break anyway. You may as well break it as fast as possible. So that's everything that you need to know on how to scale e-commerce brands with YouTube ads. Now I'm going to show you $8,000 a day ad spending case study. So for this case study, we're running 8 ads. One of the ads is over 2 million views. One of them has 1.1 million views, which means these are working. These are in KPI. The rest of them, they're getting up there. This one, 230K in-stream and Shorts. This one, just in-stream, over 300K. Not even on Shorts. So this is 300K in-stream views. So these are 285,000 people who will watch more than 30 seconds of this ad. Then we've got in the testing ad group, these 3 here, including the horizontal version of this winner and in-stream. And you're basically running like one CBO with then ad groups, seeing which one Google wants to spend the money on, where you've got like winners, which has your clear winners in there, and it usually gets the most spend. But then you've got testing. If you see in dashboard or in Triple Whale that one's performing really well, then you can graduate that from the testing ad group to the winning ad group. So I just keep it all within one campaign. So it's 8,000 a day in one campaign. And as I already showed you at the start, these are the results. So 45K spent over the last 7 days. It's around like 6K, 7K a day. Again, we're scaling more into this. And all of these metrics are profitable. All these KPIs are profitable. Now, like you might see like a 1.29x ROAS and you're like, this sucks, but it's profitable for us, right? So 1.29 might be bad for you, but it's good for us. We got paid 5.5K and we paid $45 on a new customer CPA to acquire 1,000 new purchases. That's really great. We're still running on max conversions at 8K a day. We're running mobile, desktop, and TV, and we're testing desktop and TV, but we've always been on mobile. We have optimized targeting turned on. We've done a horizontal of the main winner, as you can see here, and that's just about getting some views now, and it's performing really well. We're scaling from overall campaign new customer performance inside of Triple Whale. So we're seeing how much profit are we getting based on our COGS, how much money's coming in, how much money's coming out based on the campaign, and is it a new customer CPA which we can tolerate? And it is. And the main metric, as always, is new customer CPA to be first order profitable. So we are first order profitable on a product which people buy every single 30 days. And because we know our LTV is cracked because of our retention system, then we can just keep scaling into this until we hit that natural ceiling where things get to like $50, $55 CPA. That's going to be really bad for us, but we still got a lot of room to scale in these campaigns, and we have a lot of different creatives. These top 2 up here, we've been running for a very long time. As you can see, 2 million views, 1.1 million views. These ones here, the professionally shot ones, these are all really cracked. These are all doing really well. We're just testing different hooks on these and seeing which ones perform. Clearly, number 4 worked, so we got number 4 horizontal, and then we were adding that into the placements as well. This horizontal one has half the CPM as this one, so we have high hopes in terms of scaling this one into its own 10K a day campaign. So that's how the campaign is structured. This is the landing page. So it's got 2% conversion rate on YouTube cold traffic. So it's got the above the fold section, all the different products, lab results, FAQs, banners, simple steps, differentiation, social proof, timelines and journeys, all the different research and studies and that type of stuff, community videos, founder story, like massive guarantee as well, comparison table, FAQs, customer reviews, more offers, more other products as well, and then the bottom as well for 11% off. So that's the well-designed page, but a lot of the work is done in the above the fold section here in terms of the benefit bullets, in terms of the pictures that we're using, in terms of high quality stuff in here. There's a lot of opportunities to buy in and actually get educated on this beyond just the ads, and this is why it's converting 2% on cold traffic for this here. And then it's all well and good acquiring 2% of all the people who come through our YouTube ads. That's fine, which is actually really, really good, especially given how many people are coming through our YouTube ads. But it would mean nothing if we didn't actually retain these people as well. So we have an email pop-up to go to the email list. It's not run by us, it's run by the
email partner within this brand, and it's got the email pop up with the welcome flow. For the YouTube traffic over the last 7 days, there were 36k unique visitors with 5.3k email signups. So the pop-up has a 14.7% conversion rate. So out of every 100 people which come in through YouTube and land on the page, 15% of them are coming in, adding themselves to the email list, which is already a massive jump in terms of the email population. We're adding 1,000 new people to the email list every single day. Once they sign up to the email list, they get hit with the welcome flow, which is this one here. And as you can see, it's a really deep one. So you've got 1 email, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 email deep welcome flow. And if they do purchase, then they get hit with the post-purchase flow, which is this one here. If it's a returning customer, it's thank you again. And then there's a 3 email deep post-purchase flow with a 25-day wait in terms of stocking up and a replenishment email on top of that post-purchase as well. And this is what the welcome flow looks like. Gives them a massive offer right at the top, gets 11% discount, and that's what leads to the 2% conversion rate on cold traffic on YouTube. So that's the case study. That's how everything that we did here. And that's exactly how to scale your e-commerce brand with YouTube ads. If you want us to scale your e-commerce brand with YouTube ads and Google ads and get results like this for your brand, click the link in the description, go to demandcapture.com, book in a call with me immediately, and we'll see if you're a good fit to work with us. I'll audit your Google account, I'll audit your meta funnels, and tell you exactly if there's opportunity for you to scale to $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a day in ad spend, like we do for our clients here at Demand Capture. And
if you run a meta heavy brand, by that I mean you're running predominantly meta ads, you're highly direct response, maybe even running on funnelish, or you just have this one product and this one offer that you're pushing to 500k per month, $1 million per month in sales, you're heavy direct response, you're super cold traffic. But the problem is when you try and run Google ads the same way, whether you're scaling your cold traffic on Google ads, search, shopping, or you're trying to run YouTube ads to scale your brand as well, you're falling into a massive problem and you have no idea how to make it work. This is the exact video you need to watch because I'm going to show you exactly how to scale meta heavy e-commerce brands on Google ads in 2025. So what's happening here is that you probably got some freelancer or some agency to build a really complex setup inside of your Google ads account. And all of that is going to include loads of different search campaigns. If your GMC isn't banned yet, then you're going to have a shopping campaign. You're going to have a brand PMAX and a non-brand PMAX. You have a branded search. But if you really dig into your account, all of your spend is going on branded conversions because your meta spend is going so heavy and you're generating so much search volume and people looking you up, looking for reviews, looking for testimonials, seeing your meta ad, but they didn't click on the ad, so they search your branding on Google. All of your spend is going there. I've seen brands spending up to like 5K of their spend, 20K of their spend per month, all just on brand conversions. And they never seem to be getting any product aware level or even problem aware level conversions on their account at all. So that's the first core problem. The second one, combined with that, is that you're basically just overspending on brand. You get a false sense of scale. So when I ask brands and I audit brands, okay, how much are you spending on Google per month? They're like, okay, between like 5 and 15K a month. But all of that is on the brand campaigns. And on the prospecting campaigns, there's like a 1.1x ROAS on it. So it's not even profitable. And then even if you go into that PMAX itself or that scaling shopping campaign, you see all of the search terms that it's converting on, and it's all still your brand name. So it gives you a false sense of scale to where like you're spending on Google, but you look at the account because you just hate it because you got some expert in to try and get you to scale it, but it just isn't working at all. The problem with that, as always, is that you're running stock agency setups where they just copy and paste the typical Google setup that everyone puts in, which is a branded search campaign, a shopping campaign, or a PMAX campaign. Maybe even they don't even touch demand gen at all. If they do, they don't even do it properly. They're spending like $50 a day with like couple of sets of creators and being like, oh, we tried it, but you only spent $500 on it with the wrong conversion mechanism and you have no idea what you're doing because no other agency has next to you now to properly scale cold traffic on Google ads nowadays for e-commerce brands, especially meta heavy ones who have all of the creative ready, they have all the landing pages ready, but they just don't know how to translate them over to YouTube where it actually works properly. And there's no real cold traffic testing or scaling at all. So you're not running the YouTube campaigns properly, you're not segmenting out your cold search campaigns properly, you're not thinking about conversion mechanisms, landing pages, advertorials, quiz funnels, all of the different things that you can do to get people off of YouTube and into your funnel at really cheap CPMs, cheap CPCs, to where your AOV, your unit economics actually back out for you to get profitable spend and scale on Google, to where you're able to scale to 1K a day, 5K a day, 10K per day on cold traffic YouTube stuff. It's really hard to crack, but once you crack it, it's a massive moat for your brand, which adds an extra 20, 30, 40% of new customer revenue into your brand. What would that do? Watch this video and find out. By the way, if you want to scale your Shopify brand on cold traffic with Google and YouTube ads properly, following the stuff we're going to be covering in this video, but also our full methodology of what we do for all of the brands that we partner with. First link in the description to demandcapture.com, watch the BSL, book a call, we'll audit your account, and then we'll see if you're a good fit to work with us. Even if you feel like we can't help you, you'll still get a ton of value in the audit. So book for your free audit, demandcapture.com, first link in the description. So here's not what to do, and here's what most brands do when it comes to their Google ads, especially if you're really non-compliant in direct response and fully cold traffic, and you're going for like an older demo as well, and you're making all these different claims. Don't bother with merchant incentive now. You're probably going to get banned if you are like heavy drop shipping. If you're like a proper brand and you can really get GMC done right, where you have all of the policies there, you look like a proper brand, you do have good brand experience, you're like a one-of-a-kind brand, then of course run Merchant Center is going to be really profitable for you if you're able to run Shopify campaigns. But if you're just like a really meta-heavy brand, you're fully creative, you're pushing like a high AOV product, or you're kind of grey hat, not compliant on Meta, just don't even bother with GMC, don't even bother with shopping. Also, don't even bother with search either, unless you have like a high category product. If you have like a really unique product, like a tanning pill or hydroloric acid for like skincare or something, just don't bother with it. You have such low search volume to not even justify spending on that search anyway. You can build it out, that's fine, but it's not going to be the real lever for you to pull of like actually cracking YouTube, which is going to be where your main top of funnel attraction is going to come from. You also don't want to run any of your traffic straight to a product page. Given where your product is probably positioned in the market, you need to do some education first. It's the same thing on Meta. You're running pre-sale pages, you're running educational pages, advertorials, listicles. Same thing can be done on Google. If your GMC is live, yes, run it straight to the product page. If you're on search and you're hitting problem-aware terms, you need education. You need to write advertorials, sales arguments, listicles, pre-sale pages. If you're running product-aware searches, then you can kind of get away with a product page because people are searching for that immediate product. And that's where the shopping ads come in if you do actually have those two. But you also want to have like a proper sales page where it isn't just a product and nothing else. You need to follow best practices for this too. When I say straight to a product page, it's just like straight to the buy button. Now you need to disguise the sales process a bit more, educate, make the argument why you're better than all the competitors that they're searching for on Google right now. Give them a reason to buy. You also never want to overspend on brand. Experiment with just turning brand off. We've seen it where really meta heavy brands, they may have had an agency run their stuff, they've overspent on brand. You take a look at it, the search impression share is really bad because they're not even using the proper bidding strategy, which is absolute target impression share for branded search campaigns. And you see it, they're spending like 30 cents a click, great, spend is really low, but their search impression share is like 14% of the page, maybe even less than 10% of the page, which is not what you want anyway, so there's no point. So even though the ROAS looks good, the actual goal of what you're running the branded search for, which is protect your brand term and get people back into your funnel by being at the top of the page, doesn't actually pan out. So don't overspend on brand, just make sure that for a meta heavy brand, you're at like 78% search impression share. Don't run weak creatives which are like just fully AI gen that are just part of your spam volume creative testing on Meta. You really want to run like your best creatives on Google. Actually put the effort into crack it, make specifically compliant, also highly produced creatives. Don't rely on just your weakest creatives. Run your best performers, but even if they don't look like the best and they look super non-native to YouTube, then you really want to play around with actually making a proper go with it, which we'll get into in a second. You also finally don't want to rely on stock strategies agencies hand out. I all did it in a brand last week. They were running dynamic search ads. You only really run those if you have a massive content farm and SEO in the first place, or you have a lot of different products and people are coming in different product categories. They're running a skincare supplement. And it was basically a one-pager. Most of the funnel was on Funnelish anyway. So what are you doing running a DSA? Just copy and pasting a campaign structure that would run for every single e-commerce brand just doesn't work, especially when you need to account for where most of your traffic is coming from. And because you're hiring direct response and you're trying to like Chad scale it on cold traffic, that's not the campaign type that you want to run. You can think of Google as like 3, maybe even 4 predominant traffic sources. You've got search, you've got shopping, you've got YouTube, and you've got display. Search and shopping don't necessarily even start with those when it comes to a meta heavy brand, which is super cold traffic. You just want to go YouTube and display. Display, really hard to crack unless you're doing it properly. So just go YouTube because you already got the creators on hand and you're able to transfer all of the files and the best practices over to YouTube to actually run them properly. Don't rely on the stock agency strategies. You need really like a custom one. If you were to do stock agency strategies, this would be the strategy that you would do, which is to turn your Google ads into a cold customer magnet. This bottom of funnel stuff you can do easily with just like one branded search campaign, one branded shopping campaign down here. If you have GMC set up with dynamic remarketing, so be it, that's all fine. But you're only spending like 1%, maybe even up to 5% of your budget total here. Again, this is like 5 to 10% of your budget. If you can run shopping, fine. If you have a PMX running, good. Don't use it for brand. Just use a dedicated branded search and shopping for this. Prospecting search, of course you want this. But again, it's not that much. You want to be putting all of your effort and 80-20 it into demand gen. So you've got Google display here, YouTube in stream and YouTube shorts. You don't want to run it in feed. So just shorts, just in stream on mobile to start with up until you get to 1K a day with landing pages as the conversion mechanism. So you have advertorials, listicles, VSLs, quiz funnels, pre-sale pages, and all your best funnels for this, which then brings people into buying the ad cart stage. So focus 80, this is really bad drawing, focus 80% of your budget here. And you will put 10% of your budget here, 10 to 15%. And then you just want to put like 5% even here, maybe even 0, right? You don't even necessarily want all of that. So you just want to focus only on this type of funnel because that's all you care about. And that's all that you're going to have access to when it comes to policy, because your GMC will probably be shut down. PMAX won't be worth it for you. Prospecting search might not pan out because your product category, even if it is, that's a good amount. And you'll just get the 10% out of that in terms of the search volume for that. Unless it's like a massive category, and then you might shift this to like 20, 30% of it. But again, most of your stuff the 20% of the campaigns will drive 80% of your results. You want to put 80% of your budget into the 20%, which is around demand gen here. So this is what you do then. For creatives, you want to start on mobile until you get to like 1K a day in spend. And then you want to take your winning mobile creatives and put them into 16:9. So you're giving Google the amount of full placement, which is native to the feed. Even on mobile, it still looks weird when a mobile ad comes up because it brings up the whole screen and then it shifts back into what it would be 16:9. So if you have a 16:9 ad, it's much more native for that, especially when they're coming off on the mobile. Your creators want to be problem aware first, not demo focused. You want to call out the situation in which your ideal customers are in rather than calling out by a demo. So for example, if you're doing like an arthritis thing, you don't want to call out 50-year-olds predominantly. You just want to like talk to the situation, like, being able to bend over or playing with your grandkids and that type of stuff. Because YouTube inventory is so massive. It's huge, especially in the US. You don't want to be calling out people directly anyway because it's giving them a reason to swipe away. But basically in your hooks, you want them to go, yeah, that's me. It's like, are you this or this way? Or are you experiencing it? You will go, yeah. Because they're in that state. They're either in an entertainment state or an education state. So you want to have an edutainment ad, which calls out to the problem-aware situation that they're in. And this helps you stay compliant as well, because you're not linking it to a specific condition or a claim or problem they have. You're just talking around different lifestyle problems that they're facing. The CTA needs to be congruent to the conversion mechanism that you're using. CTA can be learned more about it in terms of like an article, a listicle, an advertorial. That's fine. The CTA to an offer direct to product page also works well. CTA directly to the VSL is good as well. And then also CTA, hey, take this 1-minute quiz and find out. Hey, take this 1-minute quiz to find out which type is for you or the two products for you. So I had the CTA away from YouTube, which is highly addicting and interrupting of what they were looking for in the first place, because you're running in stream and on Shorts as well. Shorts being super highly addictive. 2, CTA of the interest or the conversion mechanism itself, because you're trying to disguise the sales process. And again, with YouTube, no lazy AI garbage, 11 labs, VO3 type of stuff. It can work in terms of the hooks and stuff, but you want to make it as real and high production as possible, because that's the quality that's on YouTube nowadays. And that's what actually makes it native and hard to crack. It's like you actually have to have proper, strong creative source, and we can help you with this if you want help. So must look organic, must look intentional, and also must fit in the feed. People are used to skipping ads, but if the hook is so strong, because they have to watch the first 5 seconds, whereas with YouTube, they can just keep like strolling past, but on in-stream specifically, they have to watch the first 5 seconds. So if the first 5 seconds is really high quality and the hook is towards problem aware, then that's the type of creative that works really well on YouTube, because it's organic, intentional, highly productive. Conversion mechanisms that you can use these in order. So I would start with a decked out product or sales page. So instead of just it being like the buy button, like a fully longer decked out pre-sale, disguise the sales process, but still have like the option to buy bundles and that type of stuff there. Advertorials, so info or value or story. So you can run an information advertorial or value advertorial or story advertorial. I like story advertorials personally, because you're able to have the congruent ad specifically to like, well, I can't explain it now on this ad, but go like click here to learn more about my story and that transformation and that type of stuff. Love quiz funnels for YouTube. People love interacting with stuff, and I really like that because it's like a personal consultative funnel, which disguises the sales process as well, but you just link all things to your product. Then I'd run a listicle. Listicles we haven't really seen pan out too well in terms of like 5 reasons why, all that type of stuff. We just prefer to be like deck out sales pages, advertorials, quizzes. And then VSL, we've only seen work when we scaled massively, where we needed another conversion mechanism to test, and it didn't work as well as these other ones as well. Having like another video on top of the video that they already just watched, you might think that, okay, they're on YouTube, and you probably think that they would want to watch another video, but it's off platform. It doesn't necessarily pan out as well. So VSLs only at scale once other mechanisms have been saturated. And then for the technical setup, you want to run a new customer conversion tag. So this is a 2025 new source that we're doing, where we're installing 2 purchase tags into our client accounts, where you have one, which is the traditional purchase tag, but the other one, which triggers as a custom event within the Pixel or Shopify only on their first order. And then you want to have that as the primary conversion action, with the secondary or purchase one being the observation. We found this being insanely well. You can do this for stuff like blot out, but you can also just build it yourself. And that's what we've done with all of our clients, where at no extra charge, we have the best tag for it. So you want to be optimizing around new customers. This is what we do. CRO, site must be mobile optimized, especially because you're focusing 80% of your stuff on YouTube. You really just want to focus on the trustworthy, high effort stuff on mobile. And we will just be only running mobile only. We'll optimize this and build it around that. Better reminder to be taught on this. And then build your ads, your product, your sales argument around problem aware audiences. YouTube is a higher, more like sophisticated audience. Think of them like more educated than the meta audiences. So they have a higher BS detector. So they're able to like suss out, oh, this is an AI ad, this is an ad. But if you just call out specifically to their problem, you're able to enter into that broader sense of audience and inventory that YouTube has access to, and it's able to put it to many other different people. So talking specifically to them, calling out the problem rather than the demographic is what we've seen work really well. What actually unlocks YouTube for a lot of people, because their ads might be specific to like the product or the sales argument, but if you go as broad as possible, then YouTube is going to really perform for you, because its targeting is so good. And finally, this is the playbook, so follow this in order. First, you want to think about the creative, make it problem aware. Next, you want to then choose the conversion mechanism. Again, I would start with a decked out sales page. So just enhancing your product page that you already have and make it like specific to the YouTube audience, congruent to the creative that you have. Then try advertorial, quiz funnel, listicle, and then BSL in this order. Then you want to optimize your CRO, then iterating the creatives problem awareness, scaling budgets once the mechanism holds. So once you found the right mechanism and the ad for it, you can just scale that fucker up. The scaling rules is that, again, focus on YouTube only if you have like a direct response ecom cold offers. You want to do search and shopping only if the product has like inherent demand in it. For example, Methylene Blue, the biggest case study, works really well. Blood pressure stuff works really well. Supplements which help with the specific problem that like people will be searching for, or if you've already got like a really popular supplement like Shilajit or whatever, that will work really well. Your brand campaign will be capped and not the primary scale lever. So again, have like 1% of your budget to it, or even just turn it off if you don't actually need it. And most agencies will tell you this. They'll just run the branded campaign thinking like, yeah, this is high ROAS, we can get an extra month or 2 months of retaining out of them. But with meta stuff, you don't even really necessarily want to be running brand in the first place. And really the big idea is to hammer home with this is that cold traffic scale doesn't equal branded conversions. So just turn your brand off doesn't work. The creative plus the mechanism is 80% of the outcome. Not your bidding, not your type of campaigns, just run YouTube, run demand gen, or any stock account setups. Google in 2025 was that you want to go to YouTube first with direct response, shopping only if you have true category demand. And of course, the CRO is non-negotiable. YouTube traffic won't tolerate weak sites or scammy offers. So you want to be as compliant as possible. You can't just run the full direct response stuff because they're a bit more highly sophisticated. So you need to actually invest into your branding, invest into making it like a proper thing, even if you might not be, but this is the best way for it to pan out. So that's exactly how to scale meta-heavy e-commerce brands on Google Ads 2025. Focus 80% on demand gen, but only run YouTube and scale that. If you want us to scale your YouTube ads for you, then visit demandcapture.com, first link in the description, book a call, we'll audit you and see if you're a good fit to work with us. If not, then we'll tell you what to do on Google. If you are, then we'll do it for you. Fully done for you service. Scale it on YouTube ads.
In this video, I'm going to show you how we took this banned supplement brand from $0 on Google to making $486,000 per month with Google Ads. This is our latest case study here at Demand Capture. We solve cold customer acquisition for supplement wellness brands, health brands, combining cold traffic funnels, direct response principles with Google and YouTube ads. If you want us to help you solve new customer acquisition for your supplement wellness brand, health brand, click the link in the description, book a call, we will do that for you. And we'll be able to do something for you similar to what we did for this brand, which is Miraculous Medicinal. They sell a product called Methylene Blue. When they first came to us, they were banned off Meta, banned off TikTok, banned off Amazon, which meant that they had no paid acquisition channel whatsoever. They were just doing 7 figures per year organically based on the niche, based on the trend, based on the underground virality of the product. But it wasn't at the point where it's at now. The problems that they were facing were the following. It was untested on cold traffic. They never even knew that you could run cold traffic on this before, because all the times that they had tried by themselves, they weren't able to make it successful. And they hadn't even tried Google before. So it was basically untested. Because it got to this point organically, how would we know it would even work on cold? There were non-compliant product pages, ads, different pages on the website that we had to solve. Otherwise it wouldn't be compliant to be run anyway. We'd be banned off to Google Merchant Center. None of our ads would be approved. So you need to know what to do to be able to solve that so that you can then even run ads in the first place and stay compliant, because that's the whole point. There was also a danger of claiming any organic traffic as a paid conversion. So if they came to anyone else that didn't have the cold traffic focus to it, then what they would have done is just run branded search campaigns on the already high organic presence that was there, call it high ROAS, and then claim the media buying fee off the back of it. We're not interested in that. We clearly segment branded campaigns and non-branded campaigns, and we focus strictly on cold traffic. So that's something that we solved here, which was a problem they were facing when they first started with us. And they couldn't scale to 8 figures per year organically due to the bans on platforms and social media, due to platform limitations, due just to the time that it takes to be able to do that. So they wanted to invest in paid acquisition. They wanted to solve customer acquisition for their brand, and they wanted to be paid to acquire new customers so that they can sell them more stuff on the back end, so that they can increase their LTV, so that they can get more subscribers, and so that they can build a strong brand in this space to dominate everyone else and build towards an exit. So when we first started, they were at $0 in ad spend, 0 revenue. Last month in April 2025, we generated $486,588.09 in total revenue. Total spend for that was $149,000 and a non-branded ROAS at 2.04. So as you can see in the triple whale screenshot that I've got here, the main driver for this was the PMAX campaign. I mean, this is the only campaigns that we ran. PMAX, branded search, branded shopping. I'll get into why we did that in a second. New customer ROAS on the PMAX campaign was 1.71. That's still above break-even ROAS. Across all the different campaigns, 2.04 ROAS, blended 3.26, including all the branded stuff. New customer CPA, $27.66. Again, our break-even is way above that. So we got 8,800 purchases, 5.4K of them being new customers just in 1 month. And that's what you can do with Google Ads if you know how to do it right, if you know how to make sure that you're doing cold customer acquisition channels ads and campaigns perfectly. When you have Google ads that actually work, you can spend 150K and get back 487K. You can just do that. And in the rest of this video, I'm going to show you the 3 things that we did to be able to do that. Again, here's the campaigns that we ran. PMax, branded search, branded shopping. Running a bit of demand gen now, we'll get into that in a second, but for the results that we did in April, as you can see, this is the April screenshot. We spent 42 cents on demand gen because we just launched it in May. So here you go. This is all we did. The game plan was really simple. Step 1 is that we wanted to make sure we were segmenting branded campaigns and non-branded campaigns, and we also wanted to set up the Chad PMax. Chad PMax, not really in sense of like all products. You never want to do that where you just throw all products into one asset group or one PMax or one campaign and just scale that. But because it's just one SKU and one hero product, if you just have that one hero winning product and you want to build a whole, account structure around that, you can just do that with a PMax campaign, full build, on search, on display, on shopping, and just go with that. And the reason why we segment and focus on cold traffic customers so much is because it's risky when you have a strong organic brand or you already have advertising going on across Meta primarily. You can make paid results on Google look much better just by hoovering up all of that branded traffic. And there's another brand that we're working with right now where 95% of all their stuff is on Meta. And if you look into their Google account, there was so much overlap. There was like 50% overlap because everyone was just searching for their brand name based on an ad that they saw on Meta. Now that we segmented that out, you're able to see, okay, the actual overlap just from the branded campaigns is around 13% total, but 87% of all the purchases which are coming from Google, which is a massive amount, are now coming from people who weren't even aware of the brand in the first place. Now that brand has that information, they can email them, they can text them, they can get them to buy again because it's a good product. So, and that's what you always want to do when it comes to any sort of advertising and all, but specifically on Google, because it is so easy to claim branded conversions as cold traffic conversions. That's not what we do here. So the first step was to exclude all branded terms from all the relevant campaigns, which is just the PMax, and dig deep into how people are finding the store, what search terms are they using, how can we feed that back into Google signals to then go after more of those customers. And the reason why you want to do this is because Google is only as good as the data that you give it. If you give it shit data, if you give it no data, then it's only able to go on what it's got. But if you give it just a little bit of a nudge, you never want to like confine it too much, right? But if you just give it a little bit of a nudge, then you're able to give it all the information it needs to be able to bid correctly, show the ads correctly, that type of stuff. So we gave it the whole customer list as an observation. We built custom audiences based on search terms, cold search terms. We excluded all branded terms from the main PMax campaign and we just scaled from there. As you already saw, we started with one PMax, one branded shopping, one branded search. That's all you literally need to do. If it's just one SKU, or if it's just a hero product, then you can just run this. You could also replicate this in your own Google ad account if you have a multitude of products. However, you need to be wary of your COGS per product. You need to be wary of not getting branded conversions on your cold customer campaigns as well. And you just want to make sure that for each product, they are profitable on their own product sense. You can do this in multiple different ways. One way you can do this is having 2 different PMaxes. So you have the main bestseller PMax and you have a testing PMax. You can run feed only just on the testing products to see how they perform on shopping through PMax. But the main key point here is that if you've just got one good product and one good funnel, that's all you need. You don't need to split everything into multiple campaigns. You don't need one high shopping campaign here and then like one low shopping campaign here and then 2 search campaigns to get like interested stuff and then one for like product set. Like you can just do it all in one thing and it works. This gives Google clearer signals. This makes sure that your signal density is really high. It's not split across all these different campaigns and Google doesn't know how to convert on this channel versus this channel. Just have it all in one thing and it's really good because PMax isn't the black box that it used to be. And if you're spending enough, you'll get a Google rep on your account anyway, which is what we have for all of our accounts. And you should be using micro as a script to be able to see and really dig down into the effectiveness of your PMax campaigns so that then you can optimize them further. But 90% of the game is still clean setup, exclusions, and feeding Google the right data, optimizing this one SKU on a product feed, really pushing it and doing it there. Sound like, okay, anyone can do that. However, what makes us special in terms of getting this result? Because yes, everyone says segment brand and non-brand. Most brands don't do that, but even the good Google Ad agencies do. Here's where we come in terms of what actually made us get this result and why we're best fit to solve cold customer acquisition for any health brand, any supplement brand, any wellness brand. And this is about going all in on cold traffic. So the first thing that we did after we established this baseline is to rebuild a product page into a direct response sales page. So we swapped out the educational style. It was just a product and a couple of FAQs for a structured, persuasive flow focused on conversions, on cold traffic. Because we knew to be able to scale into new audiences, they're going to be way more unfamiliar with who we are. Therefore, they need to be more educated and more sold on the idea to buy from us as opposed to any competitors which are going to enter into the market. Like I could see it from like a mile away. I was like, this product's going to blow up. There's going to be loads of different competitors coming into this space. How do we make sure that we can maintain our position as number one on Google, which we were at the time, and now we just completely dominate anyone, and these are the things that we did. This is the main meat of it. We added objection handling, trust builders, proof elements, so test results, which is really important, reviews, FAQs, comparisons, and a strong subscriber first scene. The outcome was the conversion rate on cold traffic basically doubled overnight. People who were already familiar with us were going to buy from any page page that we put up in the first place. They found the image was strong, the product was strong, they were loyal to us, that's fine. Anyone coming in about, okay, what's methylene blue? They need to be sold on who they are. If you take a look at all the other competitor pages, they're all just dog shit. They have no education on there or no differentiation. They don't dimensionalize themselves at all. They don't tell the founder story. They don't really make it seem like it is a brand. Whereas for us, I knew we needed a conversion mechanism on top of the traffic, which is already going to be coming, on top of all the media that we're already buying. So we built this in-house. We don't just do Google ads. We do the full cold traffic conversion mechanism. So from the ads, that's YouTube scripts, that's the Google ads themselves, that's running them, that's media buying, the pre-sale pages, the actual product page itself, the order, the after sale, to increase AOV, to drop CAC, to acquire new customers, and to be aware of where that audience is, where the market is, how sophisticated the market is, to be able to position the ads in a way to be able to capitalize on that. This is where this came in. And that was lucky we did that, because by late 2024, competitors entered the space with figures like RFK using methylene blue, Chase Hughes talking about it on Joe Rogan. We can no longer rely on just like, we were here first, like we're just the only people in this space. We had to prove that we were the best, reworking the funnel with evidence, clarity, and differentiation baked into every step. And this was especially important. This is the story I want to tell. So I remember the time, it was February 2nd, and Joe Rogan podcast dropped featuring Chase Hughes, and they talked about methylene blue for like the first 10 minutes, right? I checked the ads that morning, because we're in the ad account every day, and if you weren't in the ad account every day, you wouldn't have seen this. It had already spent the $1,000 a day that we were already at, and it went up to like 2K, because Google will overspend if there's more traffic there, but it's still within the 30-day average, right? And I was like, oh, something's happened here. I checked, the Joe Rogan podcast happened 2 hours before, so there was a massive search spike in terms of methylene blue and product awareness. Raised it, so what we did was raise the budget to 20K a day. As you can see, it's still here, so we've not lowered that budget at all. And we basically dominated search share for those 2 days, so February 2nd, February 3rd, February 4th. We're at like 70% search impression share at one point, which means that for every 10 searches, we were eligible for 7 of them, and we're at the top for most of it. While the competitors just sat there and didn't increase their budgets, we completely gapped everyone, and now they've just turned their ads off because they aren't able to compete. And the outcome is, we were the most visible during the peak curiosity moments when people were searching for this product, and we had the conversion mechanism on the back end to be able to capitalize on that, which meant that they were buying from us because we position ourselves as the best, and we are the best, compared to everyone else who didn't raise their budgets, didn't capitalize on the moment, weren't aware of it, and didn't have the cold traffic focus in mind. Most brands will chase front-end profitability. They'll have a high ROAS and think, yeah, we need to be able to get as much profit out of it as possible. That's not the point. The point is to acquire customers by spending as much as you can to acquire that customer from that other competitor. The health space is incredibly competitive. There's so many different solutions, so many different people selling the same supplements. The barrier to entry is so low, but once you've acquired that customer and they're loyal to your brand, you can sell them again and again and again. And hopefully you're selling something which people can buy and use and consume again and again and again. So when you're buying that first customer, if you can get it below break even, you're good. Like, just run the numbers. Run the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day, 180, 365. Like, you can run that. The best part about this was that we never went below break even the whole point, because we were aware of our numbers and we were able just to make sure that we were skirting that line of break even that whole time. So even if it was a cent that we were paid to acquire that customer, we still got paid to acquire that customer. And that's the whole point. You want to spend as aggressively as you can to steal market share, knowing that we'd win in the long term in terms of retention, upsells, belief in the product, repurchasing the product, subscriptions, and new products that we'd be releasing at the same time. That's the whole point, right? And it takes someone just to understand when to go all in on opportunity. Don't hold back when metrics look good. We just spent more because the whole budget of when there was an opportunity to capitalize on, we peaked the budgets within 2 hours of it coming through. And because we were in the ad account every single day, we capitalized on that moment. If you're just leaving the ad account on a weekly basis, this would have just completely passed by you. It's been a little blip and you wouldn't have been able to pay attention to it. Whereas because I was in the ad account the whole time, we were able to raise the budgets and be able to capitalize on this to get this result that we have today. And this happened back in February, but our biggest month was in April. From the 2 months after that, we've still been able to dominate and increase and beat our record month after month after month. So it wasn't just because of this massive search trend, right? February, biggest month. March, our next biggest month. April, still our next biggest month. May, it's going to be even bigger because we've added YouTube into the play. You need to treat media buying like gambling. If there's a high effective value play there, you go for it instead of fearing about the short-term loss and having a media buying. And that's the mindset that we have, which was able to get this brand to this result, understanding the importance of our numbers, of our contribution margin, of our break-even CPA, of the effect of the different campaigns on the MER, on our COGS, on how much we can spend, on the CAC to LTV ratio on the back end, understanding the importance and value of that customer beyond what you're initially paying for it in the first place, because it's really down to you to make that customer worth more, right? If you can't spend that much to acquire a customer, that means that the customers that you're buying just aren't worth enough. And that's on you, because you can increase your AOV and you can sell them more stuff. You get them to buy again. And that's after you've acquired them. So if you make sure that your back end is really good, then you're able to scale this aggressively and get this result. And that's because our back end is really good compared to everyone else. And that's our moat. And we help you build that. There's a traffic mechanism with the Google and YouTube ads. There's a conversion mechanism with the actual page itself and the after sale to increase AOV and to increase conversions, we build that too. But there's also the retention side of things. We consult on that as well. We consulted here. We're consulting on product drops. We're consulting on all the different aspects of the business to make sure that we can sustain this amount of volume. Because when you're pushing this many purchases, your fulfillment's going to break. So we need to make sure that we're good on that. We're trying to run a proper business here, and that's where our head is essentially. So that's what we do when we run ads for supplement brands, health brands, wellness brands. And we transformed the PMAX campaign into an LTV engine. We built the front end to acquire and back end to retain. Shopping campaigns, the search campaigns, the display campaigns, they all worked in sync to deliver first touch points. And then the email, the SMS, and the upsell flows did the rest. We focus on full funnel value over vanity metrics in terms of our ROAS looks really good. You want low ROAS. Just newsflash, you do just want low ROAS. So that's where we're at now. I want to give you a little bonus into how we're thinking about scaling to, on average, about $6,500 per day with YouTube. YouTube is the scaling lever here, and it will be once you've been able to establish your dominance on Google compared to all the rest of your competition. Traditional search and shopping will get tapped out. We can't spend more than we are already spending because our tier ROAS is the lowest that we can have it, and our budget is the highest that we can have it. And we're capped at the amount of spending that we're able to do per day, around like 2, 3, maybe 4K per day on a high search volume day. But we're just acquiring all of that, right? So YouTube now is going to give us the top of funnel scale needed to push to 6.5K a day, back to our peak of 11K per day. And what we're currently focused on at the moment is creating compliant first creatives that pass Google's policy filters while still being highly converting. This is a problem when you have health, wellness, supplement brands. Google, you need to be more compliant. It's harder to run like grayish ad creatives on it compared to Meta, where you can just run like crazy stuff. Only one of the ads out of the whole batch that we have that we're running on Meta only works on Google right now. We're scaling that one, and that wasn't doing really well. But we as an agency are in the process of writing more ads to then be able to scale in Google further, and we also help on that end too. So we're building a creative machine to beat the compliance bottlenecks, and since methylene blue is not compliant on most platforms, we need the volume of creatives to pass review. So once the creatives clear policy, we can then test aggressively for conversions and scale potential. And the outcome, which we're looking for, is to hit 10K plus new customers per month, all retargetable with repeat LTV. So at the moment, creative is the bottleneck. It's not the fulfillment, it's not the product itself, it's not the back end. The back end's really good. It is just back to the front end now that we solved search, shopping, display. We've been able to scale into Google. We're now going into YouTube. And when you can acquire 6,000 plus new customers per month, creative fatigue is going to become the bottleneck. Less so on YouTube because of just the mass amount of inventory that there is. Like, you can't really tap out people in terms of frequency because there's just so many people aren't being advertised to on YouTube with these type of creatives. But once you're able to crack that, then we're able to crack that properly. Just for context, in terms of another brand that we're working with, they were running 90, again, this is the same brand I mentioned earlier, they were running 95% on Meta. We've now built a YouTube campaign funnel for them. Just the ads and media buying, we're already at 2 ROAS on YouTube, and their break even is like 1.2, 1.3. So we're able to scale that to the moon really aggressively. We're already spending like 300, 400, 500 a day on that one creative alone. Able to sustain that amount of spend is just incredible. And once you unlock that for your brand, it just changes the whole game, especially given that if you have a product which you care about your customers, you care about acquiring new customers, being above and beyond all the rest of your competitors and really beating them out, which is the main mindset that we have here, is the name of the game. So that's what we do. That's how we got this result. And if you want us to get a similar result for you, we're able to scale to 486K in 1 month and acquire 5.4K new customers like this, and this is the thought process behind it, then the first link in the description, book a call, we'll build up the whole cold customer traffic funnel for you, we'll run the ads, we'll write the ads, we'll build the pages, we will solve new customer cold acquisition for you if you are a supplement, health, or wellness brand. So click the link in the description, learn more about us, book a call if that interests you,